1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we're good. Hello. Yet again, another episode. I chose to omit it from the last episode because my man's dealing with some shit. I'm not gonna fucking break his balls too hard about stuff, but you know he was getting a little bit of fucking heat over on the old social medias today, and I was witnessing his. As he calls it, wife and sister-in-law breaking his balls about not being ready for things on time. And he told me between 11 and 12 today. It's right smack dab in the middle of that. It's 11:47, so I figured we'd get it rolling around 11:45. Gives him a good window to show up. The other thing too, I asked him yesterday. Do you want to record tomorrow? And he proceeded to send me like 9 just incoherent fucking voice memos while he's washing his kids in the bathtub. And that's fine. It's hilarious. Don't get me wrong, but it did not answer the question. So I didn't make plans, but I had other things to do if this episode fell through today, and I was getting ready to get ready for that. And yeah, so he was like, "We recording today?" I was like, "Well, it's Wednesday, yeah. We're always usually recording. You didn't answer the question yesterday." But such is life. He's the father. It's fatherhood. It is what it is. I'm trying to think if I had anything interesting to update the world with. I haven't seen any really good movies lately. That's been one. I am kind of excited about there's a Guy Ritchie movie. No, Guy Ritchie was the last one. There's an A24 movie coming out about the war in Iraq that looks pretty good. I could keep plugging for things. I forget who's directing it. Actually, I guess this is my moment where Jake and his get off my lawn-ness right now will not prevail. We're gonna have some down-home Joe rational sensibility. I don't think that's even remotely accurate, but the last couple of episodes of Jesus Christ, man, my equipment's all fucked. The last couple of episodes we haven't really broached on it, but I have been listening to the YouTube uploads of the WABC Anthony Cumia broadcast. Seems like it's fine listening. Seems like it's a fantastic program for terrestrial radio. And it's nice to hear him back on the airwaves, even though I know I can find it somewhere when I am around here. I just don't know where to look. I'm too lazy. But anyway, it's nice. It's nice having him back on there. But his takes that are getting I forget the name of the channel that's doing it. It is not his channel. It is a channel that is doing it on their own volition. There is a third-party channel that is uploading clips from Anthony's... my nuts is itchy. Hold tight. Just like terrestrial radio, we have technical difficulties over here once in a while, too. Sometimes it's the user error. But... anyway, I digress. It's nice. It's nice hearing him back on terrestrial radio because he's kind of forced to be sensible. He's forced to be both himself, but like a tamer, more agreeable, approachable would be the word, I guess, version of himself. And I think that it's not that he's wearing a dog collar or anything. I think he's very happy with what he's doing, and he's using it as a legitimate springboard for his platform personally, which I think it's brilliant, man. Like if you have that opportunity, fucking seize it. And, like I think he's doing a great job with it, but his ramblings have become a little more unhinged over on the compound since getting this, because I think he knows that his creative outlet is safe regardless of what he says or does. WABC will not be firing him based upon the content of his show, and obviously, he's made a small personal fortune off of being an unagreeable, unhinged, fucking right-wing lunatic. Like, and I get that that's a, character. It's shtick. It is what it is. It's not like Ant's really like he's not like I'm sure in real life he's very much like a diluted version of that person. Like, definitely probably walks around his house with a loaded firearm. I'll tell you that much. But as far as it being like who he is like this just bombastic fucking like yelling. I'm sure that happens in real life here and there, but like I saw the arrest video or the video that the chick took of him before he got arrested, and like even a drunk armed Anthony Cumia seemed like fairly rational in that situation. And like I mean, and for what it's worth, his firing I think is a complete fucking like the Sirius XM has all the fucking egg on their face in that situation. Like, as the man was just he was frustrated, and Norton makes the best point that a gentleman walking around Manhattan with a loaded gun that was taking photographs, got assaulted, and did not brandish, let alone use that firearm, illustrates like immense, if not like near superhuman, if you will, restraint for both yourself and the situation, and acknowledging that blasting probably like 45 off in Times Square is not a good idea. But regardless, like I mean, I've always found him to be like a pretty rational person. Like, even though he does play up and play into the character of himself, he always has come off as pretty sensible. His takes are wild, but at the same time, they come from they're not baseless. Even his more he really, during like the George Floyd stuff, and like I had my own experiences in that shit. So like I can understand where he's coming from. He's like a person that does it from clearly behind a desk and cameras and shit like that. He's not immersing himself in the experience of the zeitgeist, if you will, of everything. But that it's you could tell it's like a caricature of what his true intentions and opinions are. It's not who he is as a person. But as of late, like I said, it's like without criticism, he's a great person. But like the things that I like to nitpick him on, or sometimes he does get hung up on shit that's a little bit like. It's stuff that he would back in the day when you'd have like a Patrice or even like Jimmy to kind of bounce things off of and be that the angel and devil on his own shoulders. He would I feel like he would have like a more like rational take, more rational approach. Like, because I could see Patrice like completely like blowing this situation up and it just ending in fucking like 45 minutes of unhinged arguing from both parties between him, Ant, Norton fueling it, Voss in there slurring his way through something, Bob Kelly's in the corner eating fucking, trying to interject with full fucking mouth. Like, you could see this fucking play and this cast of characters enacting the reaction to this, what it is. But there's a new Denis Villeneuve. Lee was on an episode where we were discussing his work, and I like his. He did a movie called Blue Ruin. He did a movie called Green Room, and I saw those on my own volition. I thought they were pretty magnificent. I thought they were both in their own rights similar movies, but distinct from one another, and very good, very very entertaining, very compelling movies. This guy has a new movie. It's on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet. I actually just watched the trailer on Netflix because like the only way I've seen any kind of extrapolation on this aside from the trailer has been Anthony talking about it, and it's just him reacting to the trailer. But the movie is it's a directed Netflix film by the director Denis Villeneuve, who like I said, he's a Canadian guy, or French Canadian guy. He's pretty accomplished for what he's done. I'm actually gonna he just he's coming on. This is hot off the heels of him directing the Dunes. He did Blade Runner 2049, which is a fantastic movie. Arrival, Sicario, great film called Prisoners. There's one that's Enemy. There's one that he is it Denis Villeneuve? The hell's the guy that did this? It's that movie that's on Netflix. Something Ridge. Rebel Ridge. Is that him? Oh no, it's Jeremy Saulnier. That's I'm already off to a fucking great start today. I always talk shit on how Jake's got fucking stoner brain, but like, dude, I just give it the other fucking French Canadian guy that I like. It's not like I'm fucking confusing fucking Coppola with fucking Kubrick here. It's like, oh, their names sound the same. They're both French. Fuck off. Anyway, yeah, Rebel Ridge is the name of the movie. God, I got it like sort of right. Yeah, it's by Jeremy Saulnier, who did fucking Blue Ruin and fucking Green Room, and he's done a few odds and ends too. Did 2 episodes of True Detective according to this. Hold the Dark too, which Lee was the one that he was talking about. Murder Party too. Murder Party is a fantastic movie. If you have not seen that, that's a great one. But anyway, yeah, we're back on Rebel Ridge. We're gonna just smooth right over that. I'm looking forward to leaving that in too, because it'll actually force Jake to listen to this episode. But anyway, so yeah, Rebel Ridge. It's a movie. Former Marine grapples his way through a web of small town corruption when he attempts to post bail for his cousin. It escalates into a violent standoff with the local police. So. If you know anything about movies right now, they're just fucking packaging movies. And from everything I've seen, this is just Rambo or Walking Tall or like any of those fucking 70s, 80s movies that were the loner, the drifter walking through town. It's a take on spaghetti westerns, your Clint Eastwood movies of the 1950s, 60s, and early 70s. Your Sergio Leone movies. It's a reimagining of that kind of flavor of Western / Americana, self-reflexive filmmaking of a certain slice of life or time period piece, whatever you want to fucking call it. But yeah, like the 70s was kind of like this reimagining of like the Drifter. There's there's other movies too that kind of brush on it, but like it just kind of seems like a rip-off of an outright rip-off. But there's rip-offs where you have movies that are just repackaging, like your Ghostbusters with chicks, Chick Busters, Nutbusters, whatever you want to fucking refer to it as, the 2016, 2018 movie, whenever it came out, where they just are just shamelessly rebooting it with women because feminism, and they know that marketing will get a lot of attention, both positive and negative. But then there's a movie like this where it does seem like in capable hands. You could take a concept that has been tried and kind of done to a almost laughable cliche extent and make it fresh. But of course the aesthetics of it are very clear. First off, the protagonist is like a black guy, and he's it's clearly race is going to be some kind of facet in this, so you're already like, yeah, someone like Jake, it's like he sees it, he's gonna be like, yeah, what are we fucking doing here, boys? Like, what are we checking out? Like, it's someone like me too, where I'm like, yeah, like we're just gonna do Walking Tall but without the fucking Rock and Johnny Knox. I forget who the fuck was in the original one too. I could look that up right now, but I'm not. But I've seen both of them. They're both fucking great. I've seen all the fucking Rambos up until they started getting more recent. I've seen up till Rambo 3, the last one that was worth watching, because they give a shout out to the Mujahideen. And then had to change it. But yeah, it's a concept of here's a man walking through town. He doesn't want to be bothered. He just is there for his one thing. But Ant's stance on the whole thing was yeah, Rambo was an asshole. He was the protagonist because you identify with the loner or the drifter, and people picking on him but at the end of the day, Rambo chose to be confrontational, and you can make the argument with that movie that Rambo, although being the protagonist or the one that at least the narrative focuses on, he's sort of an anti-hero, which is a more complex issue when you have to elaborate on why he's an anti-hero, because the character of John Rambo is a Vietnam veteran. He's seen some shit. He had to do killing and the bidding of the government for years and years, and felt like he was betrayed, and has a certain distrust for both authorities and authority figures, and just maybe even societal normalcy to a certain extent, much like Clint Eastwood in I think it's High Plains Drifter, where he's your protagonist, but within 15 minutes of the movie starting, he rapes a chick, and it's okay, this is just the guy that we're with now, okay, this is fantastic. I love this. This is our man. But the anti-hero is it's a complex issue, and it's supposed to kind of put the ball back into the viewer's court and make you think okay, do I like this guy because he's doing things that are you know, abhorrent or like, you know, makes the character not have, you know, positive qualities, or do I like this because it's like they're kind of acting on impulse, or, you know, like what it makes you like identify like what about yourself you like in the character, which is what makes the character and the reason that you identify with them elevated. And it's like giving that is like so much easier, or excuse me, like so much more like difficult to pull off, but like it's like easy to see like why people like shit like that. Whereas like you just make the main character black, well, we already know why. It's like you don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to figure it out that it's like black dude, white fucking old boys. Like it's just a volatile concoction no matter how you fucking throw the thing. And it sucks, and it's like it doesn't have to be any deeper than that, because it's like the only self-reflexivity that you're feeling is like the same shit you feel with the Ghostbusters chicks, which is like the ball being back in your court is I like the original better, and chicks don't make this any better. Much like him being black and getting into it with the fucking white trash sheriffs is completely predictable, and all this is like me feeling like we're spinning our wheels here. And like, and I get that, and I get that argument, and especially in the current, like, you know, social climate and whatnot, it's like it's very easy to make a movie like this. But I haven't seen it, and I'm looking forward to watching it, because from what I've seen, it's the reviews haven't been too bad, and I think Denny is a very, or excuse me, not Denny, I'm already fucking doing it again. I think Jeremy Saulnier is a very capable filmmaker, and I think he's a brilliant, like he's like not, you know, like M. Night Shyamalan, like what a twist, but like the twist that he infuses into his work, always do have a very, easy and identifiable thing. Like my favorite personally, and like I don't give a shit about spoilers, so fuck off if you haven't seen Green Room yet. It's been on Netflix for like 5 years now. Like you should have seen it by now. But the beauty of that is that the twist keeps like building off of itself, and I really think that a twist where it's not just like one big pivotal moment where, you know, no, I am your father, like great in the context of Star Wars, but like every movie doesn't need that. Every movie is a thing, and it's supposed to be kind of subjective to the film as its own. So like not every movie needs to be a twist. You can watch a movie and it be very transparent, very straight up, and then you can watch like a fucking like Transformers and then like a fucking David Lynch movie, or two entirely different fucking beasts. So like you're going to watch those movies with different intentions is what I'm kind of getting at. I don't know why I'm getting off topic here, but the fucking Green Room, the twist is just like, okay, well, you know, they're in this situation, but they're not the ones that caused the situation, but the situation was caused by someone who needs to keep them in the situation, and then the situation builds and builds because it's like, well, why can't we? Okay, well, it's because of this, and then this ends up being like, well, we were planning on, you know, doing this, and like it's not that it's ever convoluted, but it builds upon itself, where it's like the twist just keeps getting more and more enriched by every point the plot takes, and I like that. So like if this movie, which from what I've seen, like, you know, it's getting decent reviews, like if it finds a way to be, you know, a nice reimagining of kind of a tried and true subject matter, I have no problem with that. But like Ant was slamming this movie, and he's like, we don't fucking need the remake, and it starts going off about how like Rambo's an asshole, and this does bring up like kind of a broader topic, which I mean, I was hoping Jake would be here by now. Let's see where he is at. But the fucking the current thing is like well, it's 12:05. He is not here. The current thing seems to be like taking old subject matter and it's been kind of done to death. It's like teetering on becoming like almost played out, but it has its moments, because I kind of personally like where they went with this one specifically. But it started with Cobra Kai. There was a joke that I forget who did it. I want to say it was a black comic, but it might have been Bobby Lee. I forget who exactly, but they had a joke where the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid, I keep wanting to call him Ray Liotta, Ralph Macchio, that Ralph Macchio's character in the Karate Kid is actually the antagonist, and the Cali Surfer guy that goes to the Cobra Kai gym is the protagonist. And that because it was like the 80s, there was this like inversion of like So it was like an extension of like the 50s where like you kind of had this like film scene that like was kind of like poking fun at traditional family values, and then like the 80s was kind of like the crashing and reforming of that wave, where like the traditional family values were just like cartoonish to a certain extent. So one of the ways that you can kind of do that is like single family mom, or single household mother, raising, a kid from New York. They moved to the other coast, and, it's like, it's identifiable, and it's like also it sets up a good story. It's compelling, I keep using that word now. That's probably gonna be the word of the day today, but it's relatable for many people. But at the end of the day, it does kind of blind you and jade you in a certain way, because you already feel that these people are at a disadvantage, and that the advantaged are picking on them. But if you break down the logic of the story, it does kind of come off more like Ralph Macchio is just antagonizing people that he knows are stronger than him, and using that to his advantage, because like they demonstrate restraint, at first, and then he keeps antagonizing them, and it's it's an interesting perspective, but it does kind of seem like the reimagining of shit is kind of like, well, were they the good guys or were they the bad guys? And it's like it throws this like whole wrench into like, try to like, you get it with the prequels for Star Wars as well, where you're like, this is Anakin's backstory. It's like I think George Lucas just like is kind of a fucking dipshit and thought and kind of has that Dan Aykroyd thing where you need someone like to come in and kind of sift through your madness to make sense of something, and they just let him, like, that was one where it was coherent, and then everything kind of beyond that became like you needed to rely on other writers. Lawrence Kasdan, I think, is the guy that he used. Before it becomes like just this like fucking insane mess, which the prequels were, and I unapologetically like a few of the offshoots I enjoyed, but Star Wars, as far as I am concerned, is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and very little more than that, very little further than that. But it is this thing where it's kind of, it wasn't the first, but it does, it always illustrates the dynamics of being able to like retcon or to just make like a character's entire fucking like the way that they've been seen and portrayed for years, gives them like a completely different and I don't even fucking think like I like unabashedly or shamelessly like you're just like doing something because that it's like, oh, if I make this bad guy a good guy now, I can make money, and it's like very transparent that that's what they're doing. That's all I'm trying to get at, is that like it seems like very much in the esteem of filmmaking right now that we can take like these characters that you have as the perceived hero, and just be like, well, let's scrutinize him a little bit, and I can make my own narrative fit in. And I'm not saying Anthony's like, he's not the worst at doing that. I just noticed that he's doing it more, and it's irritating because he's a smart guy, but it's like sometimes like people get hung up on surface level shit, and it's like, well, think about it. This fucking Jeremy Saulnier has been doing he's been doing these films through the Canadian Film Board. Like, he did one, I believe it was him, I'm gonna have to double check this, Polytechnique, I think, which is about a massacre that happened at a Canadian Polytechnic high school, and like it was like done very low budget and done like kind of Kevin Smith style, where it's like everything is just kind of happening when the store was closed for clerks, shit like that, which fine, total filmmaker's film, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to take some creative liberties and some artistic liberties in that fashion. But to get films made, from what I understand in Canada, there's a lot of funding, and they're very eager to work with people. Much like, if you have a brand or you have something, like marketing agencies are very eager to work with you, because it's like, oh, you're so and so, this is who this is who you are. This is what you bring to the table. You have a massive following of support and fans and the whole 9 yards, but like we want to use your image to do this, and it kind of seems like you can trace the Canadian Film Board doing certain things like that. Like, they infuse a lot of like racial diversity and a lot of like narratives that are pro certain agendas, and like make it very even even keel. Like you can kind of see it in the later seasons of Letterkenny, and that show was great. That show's fine. I got no problems with Letterkenny, but like there's the one that is like just clearly them trying to infuse propaganda into a comedy show is the Jay Baruchel episode. It's called Hard Right Jay. Where they're clearly just making fun of like 4chan people, and like like on the surface, yeah, it's funny. Like, you know, these are some pent up like aggressive nerds that you know, they think that like racism should be the conduit to, you know, solving their own personal issues instead of it, like, but like within that episode too, they criticize Native Americans like very like say like a lot of stuff that in the context of the show is like like taboo, but you know that because it's like coming from this guy, or it's like, okay, are you guys getting away with something here by like saying that, like getting away with some racism, or are you just like having fun? Like it walks the line, so it's like not like too egregious, I guess. But it yeah, like later seasons there's like a gay wedding, and like, you know, just there's like, you know, times where you gotta talk bad about people that beat animals and stuff like that. It's like just like all this stuff where it's like this is completely like it sort of makes sense in the context of the show, but you can tell there's like some producers, it's like, hey, they'll give us an extra $50,000 for the budget if we say this shit, like, you know, that's how things happen. So like I'm sure that Mr. Soliner, however you say his name, however he's getting the toss of it right now, it, like, I'm sure that for a fact he's most likely gotta like be fucking dealing with like some like, for all I know, like he just was like, I want to remake Rambo, but I want to do it my way. And the Canadian Film Board comes in and they're like, yeah, that's fine, just gotta let you know that Rambo's gonna be black, and the chick, there's gonna be a chick that's a strong female. She's not gonna be a damsel. She's gotta be a protagonist, and just that's like the only way we're gonna make this. And it's like probably like, okay, well, I can work with that. And like, hopefully that's what it is. I think that's what it is. It seems like a lot of shit's done. Like a lot of things about Hollywood is compromise, and compromise fucking sucks because it does like kind of degrade the integrity of your body of work. Like Michael Bay, for example, great fucking dude, made some really fucking good movies in the 90s, early 2000s. You know, Armageddon, I believe, is my favorite one. But yeah, like he just like, you know, big budget blockbuster summer movies like that. That was his shtick. And now it's like, just, you know, how much can we spend on a Michael Bay movie before it becomes like literally it's not going to turn a profit. I think they're trying, like, I don't even think they care about the movies anymore. They just want to see if they can reach that fucking margin of it being like the most expensive movie that still turned a profit. Like, I genuinely don't even think that man cares about like putting ink to paper on a script. It's just like, budget's $380 million. Gotta hit 400 at the box office. Let's fucking go, boys. Like, some shit like that. Like, that's got to be some line of the logic in there, because like it makes no fucking sense. But like, it's because he answers to producers, and there's advertisers, and studios own parts of corporations, and corporations own parts of studios, and like there's a reason that you when you watch every Adam Sandler movie, there's a literal unabashed product fucking advertisement like on every other shot. Like every scene transition, they're going to a Subway or a McDonald's or a Little Caesars or Dunkin' Donuts, like whatever the fuck. Like it's unapologetic with some, but like then you have like people that have like a mild amount of integrity, and it's like I think that the give and take there, like the compromise is a lot more reasonable for like you're not going to capture lightning in a bottle like you do with you know, like a Boondock Saints, because I think that was like that guy's whole fucking holdout was that he just was like trying to get like music licensing for his band, and then decided instead of making a music video he was going to make a movie. Duffy something, I think Matt Duffy, not Patrick Duffy, but anyway, the fucking, yeah, like he just wanted to like license music from his band to like make a movie or get funding for a movie. I don't even remember what exactly the story was, but yeah, like he made a movie that is a cult classic. Like it's not a great movie, and I've heard a lot of people, like, people seem to love, like they I love movies they hate movies I love. Like I hate Boogie Nights, and like every comedian with a podcast talks about how much they love fucking Boogie Nights, and I can't stand that movie. It's such a fucking pretentious fuck off of a movie. Like, but I love the Boondock Saints because it's like it's horrible great. Like just like The Departed is horrible fucking great, which is another Anthony Cumia thing about the Dropkick Murphys that I could go off on, but I'll wait till Jake gets here for that part. But like the Boondock Saints is a great movie. It's so bad that it's beautiful, and like everything about it is like cartoonish, and it's like me watching The Sopranos, but like I think it's just that The Sopranos was like a slow burn where it's like the Italianness is so fucking cartoonish that it's like walking into a cold pool where you're like little annoyed at first, but then it's like, all right, you know what, this is fun, I don't mind swimming around when it just feels refreshing. Where it's like it's so abrupt and like so heavy-handed in the Boondock Saints without like much explanation either. It's like, are they IRA, are they not IRA, are they working with the government, like what's going on here, like who are these guys, like, you know, they're just neighborhood townies that happen to have special forces training or something. Like it's so fucking like disjointed and like but it's bad in a good way. And every comic and like the people on like social media, it's just they just trash it. And I'm like, what movie do you have Willem Dafoe in drag making out with like some fucking Sopranos extra, like, and then he fucking shoots him in the dick and kicks him in the balls and shoots him in the face? Like that movie's once it goes off the rails, it goes unapologetically off the rails, and that I think is why I love it. And it just is like it's not making fun of anybody outright or being like, you know, a cartoon of like what it is, but you could tell that there was very minimal compromise in this movie. That fucking whatever the guy's name is, he just was like, this is what I want, we're doing this, all right, this guy's gonna get thrown off a roof and then beaten to death with a toilet lid cover. That's what we're working with here, fellas, and you get greatness out of that. And like I don't care who doesn't like that movie, like film people I respect, people whose opinions I respect in other facets. Like you can tell me anything you want about how that movie sucks, and I will fucking laugh in your face and be like, the movie's fucking awesome. The second one, you're more than welcome to say that movie fucking All Saints Day sucks. It's you know, but that's just it. It's fan funded cinema. You can't really put too much hope into something like that, where you're like, I don't know, you're hoping to you know figure out like, you know, like you're hoping that it's like, all right, the money's there, like now we'll write a script. Like that's really like what it comes down to. Like I don't think that it might be something that was on the back burner or something, like a couple of projects infused together, but it never really feels like it's as authentic as like what the source material was. And Boondock Saints, the original one, just 5 out of 5 stars, 10 tacos out of 10 tacos, whatever the fuck you need. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. But that is a film that has very minimal compromise, and you can see that it has very minimal compromise because there's parts where it is just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like nobody answered to anybody. It's great, and like I always reference it. I never gets any. Nobody knows because nobody's ever seen it. But Repo Man is like my favorite, and it's one of those movies where so many people were thrilled with the project that they just kept like doing what they needed to do. And it's like this was before like Miramax buyout, and Quentin Tarantino got a film company. Rolling Thunder, I believe, is what the name of it was. But there was like all these like distribution problems, and like, you know, there was like basically studio movies and then independent movies. Like for the bulk of the time that movies like existed, like studios all through like the teens, 20s, like well into the 70s and into today, were dominating. Like there's pretty much like you could not make a movie without in some facet having either the U.S. government or a foreign government or the Hollywood machine in some way touch and grace your fucking film. And it's just the way it was for like the bulk of film history. And then once cameras became like film became more like abundant and like cameras became a little bit more accessible, people started fucking around with the indie stuff. So you start seeing that, you know, in the 40s, but it really got prevalent in like the 60s with like the just drugs and culture kind of taking a right turn from like wherever the fuck it was coming from before that. Like it became like very visual and experimental, and like film was like a good vehicle to make that kind of expressionism happen. And then you get into like the 80s and indie film. It's like, well, now people are like, there's big studios that are throwing like, budgets, not large budgets, but budgets nonetheless, at projects that they think have potential. And then if the project shows and illustrates that it's as good or better than what they're expecting, the studio will come through and throw more money at them. And then this practice became really prevalent in like the late 80s and like really popular in the early 90s with the advent of Miramax and there's Columbia TriStar, Sony Picture Classics. There's like a handful of like all these like production houses that were just like a bigger motion picture house. There was like there's this guy named Robert Rodriguez. He's making a movie. Someone go down there and check out what it's got. It's like, well, it's got the potential to be good. It just needs like another like $2 million to make it happen. So boom, Miramax cuts a check. There you go. We got fucking Desperado. Same with Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith like maxed out all his credit cards making Clerks, and just basically Miramax stepped in at some point and was like, yeah, we'll give you everything you need to finish this. Just, give us a finished product and let us handle everything else. And such is life. But in the 80s, it was still like the independent film scene was like a lot more, it wasn't quite as like, it was established in the 90s, but it was like very fringe. It was like extremely fringe. Like if you ever have time, look up a Trauma Team. New Jersey's first superhero, the Toxic Avenger, was made by a film house called Troma. There's like a couple of other like one-off films they have. One's called Surf Nazis Must Die. It's fucking hilarious. But like they were just this like independent film company where they were getting funding and they had people like they had fans. Like my uncle was one of them. He was the one that introduced me to Troma. But the Mad Magazine or Garbage Pail Kids kind of demographic of people gravitated towards this film house. But they were so low budget that like they're completely under the radar of everything. And then like as time progressed, bigger picture houses bought and consolidated their works and made them accessible and got them distribution and shit. But in their inception, these are like the lowest of like low budget films is what I'm getting at. And with Alex Cox and Repo Man, from what I understand, it was a low budget film, but all along the way there was people like Michael Nesmith, even Jimmy Buffett at one point, like all these people that were associated with like kind of like music and like all the bands that perform and are featured in this movie, all had full cooperation from the studios and shit. Look at what the fucking cat dragged in. But I actually got you a comfy chair today too. It's got cushions on it, so if you don't want to wear your behind out right off the bat.
My butt doesn't hurt me, although my neck does. After like 2 hours, I don't know why. In theory,
My butt fell asleep.
it has back support and everything, but like after a while,
Give this one a try. This is what we usually would plop the grandparents in at fucking
this
holiday.
chair sucks, but I was just like,
Almost, you almost skirted. You had to walk back.
her.
Yeah.
I just want to get the chair out of frame. Yeah, this is nice. This
The-
is perfect.
I'm just gonna wrap something up though. I was talking about fucking Repo Man and independent filmmaking, and just anyway, there's a lot of people that when Repo Man was being made, this is this independent movie that I love. They didn't know if it was gonna get made or not, but like people kept throwing money at it, which is very uncommon for a movie being made in the 80s, especially an independent film being made in the 80s. That like people were so overwhelmingly like and bombastically supportive of this like really shitty movie that nobody has ever heard of.
A cult classic.
Like a real deep cut cult classic.
I've never heard of it.
Repo Man, yeah, it's like everybody that
I've
knows.
seen him in my driveway.
Yeah, basically. There's people think it's a knockoff of that movie, Repo the Genetic Opera, and I have to explain no, that's not what it is. And then there's also another one that just recently came out called like the Repo Man or something, Repo Men or something like that.
There was a TV show too. It was like they had
Repo games. I remember that one. That was
I
fun.
forgot about that
Yeah,
one.
that was a pretty fun
You're
one.
gonna do like a trivia game?
Yeah.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader for your Dodge
Are you-
Durango?
Are you smarter than the fucking dude at Busted Knuckle? Do you have more teeth than the guy that's gonna tow your car?
There was one in Florida. It was like there was this famous meme clip where it was totally staged.
Wait, the lot
like-
lizard. Yeah, the
Lot
lizard.
lizard towing or whatever.
Lizard lick towing. Yeah, lizard lick
Lot
towing.
lizard towing. We're
Lot
a little
lizard.
off there.
Yeah, it's
That
fucking-
sounded so right in my mind. I was like, yeah, that's what
Got
it's called.
Got the lizard part right. Got the amphibian
Hooker
segment.
towing, but yeah,
Hooker
the famous thing where like the big black lady like pushed some lady over a parking garage or something like that, and it was like clearly a dummy. It's the most staged show ever, but it's so bad that it's good.
They were the ones too that they drove they repoed a car and it was like on their winch, and then the winch like deactivated and went flying into like a residential family home or like their driveway or something and took out. And like that was like a season finale episode right there. And I was like, that's so
They got
clearly
the suspenseful music going to commercial. Like,
bro. It's 3 episodes out from the season finale. They're showing clips from that show. It's like, find out what happened.
Charisse rammed into an old lady's house. Are we going to pay for it? Probably not.
I forget the names on that show too. They were fucking hilarious. It was like
Like
Butch
Big
and
Reese or something.
yeah, like Rascal too. Was like there was like one where the dude that
Tickle.
like no Tickle was
I know,
from
Moonshiners.
Moonshiners. No, Moonshiners had some great names too. But no, Lizard Lick Towing had some fucking fantastic names. Even Dog the Bounty Hunter, fucking
Man, they're the OGs.
yeah, Bunny. or
They're
whatever.
like the inspiration for all of those style of shows. That show was something. I was 10 watching Dog the Bounty Hunter, and it was just like Hawaiian dudes on Scante and like a big blonde dude with a mullet like tackling them in a fucking field. And he's
Yeah.
in like biker attire for some reason, but they're rolling around in like a Tahoe.
Yeah, there's one where they're like a fucking. They're on like just like one of those fucking like golf carts on steroids.
They act like they're being heroes and
no,
like
they're bounty hunters.
yeah, they're like
It's-
not. They're like, yeah,
law
we got another bad guy off the streets. It's like, well, you extorted him for bail, kind of like he didn't like one hand washes the other. It wasn't extortion, but like I don't know.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, like he took the fucking bail bond, or but it's like you're not really like being a hero. Like you're just trying to collect your money. Is what I'm saying. It's like
no, you're doing something that's completely like you're,
This guy, like-
you're a loan shark.
it was a desperate situation for this guy. He took the fucking bail bond, got out, and he's like. Clearly, he's a shady character. Like, I don't know. That's a sus business to begin with.
I don't understand what gravitates people towards it, because it always seems to be people that get busted, like people that are bounty hunters get busted for human trafficking somehow.
Well,
Like,
you pick up some skills along the way.
it's
and
like,
then-
wait, what the fuck's going on here? Like, is this part of the one of the prerequisite classes, like kidnapping 101? Like, like I don't know.
I know how to track people down. I know how to.
That seems like a useful skill,
Secure
but so
them.
does a bloodhound. Like why are we bringing fucking dudes like Dog into the mix?
I feel like if you're in that line of work, you're kind of weird. It's like
Yeah.
it's like being a hard money lender, but just for like scumbags. Like you're not helping like fix and flippers. You're like, I'm gonna help fucking Jimmy get out of jail for the
Hard
weekend.
money lending is a fucking great way of putting it.
Lending money so this guy can sell hard
Yeah.
to pay you back.
Like,
And you know.
I'm hard. I'm hard. Like,
Fuck.
that's that's what I thought we were gonna get springboarded onto.
I wanted to go back to Repo Man, so I didn't fucking completely steamroll you. But
no, there was just like the point I was making. I was talking about Anthony Cumia being unhinged on tax, but then the WABC broadcasts are like it's kind of a pleasant departure. Because
I don't mind it.
I very much.
I listened to the first episode.
I listened to the first 3.
The only complaint I have is anytime he gets into a flow, he has to go to commercial.
Yeah,
Anytime
it does suck.
it was like a commercial every 10 minutes. YouTube, I didn't have to listen to the commercials, but,
But
it just
still-
stunk to like it seemed like it was cutting up his
mojo,
his
yeah.
rhythm.
His,
you know?
his flow was very good up until, but like, yeah, it would be like, yeah, we gotta go to a commercial, and it's like,
I do kind of like Anthony having to like not be formal, but like a less unhinged Anthony
That's-
isn't bad. It showcases his talent, in my opinion.
I talked for 38 minutes before you got here, and literally the whole first like 10 minutes was me being like, I love Anthony, love what he's doing. Actually, really, really refreshing.
It's a hard sell to normies, though. If
It's-
you show them, like, if I showed Tina a normal Anthony Cumia show, she'd be like, this guy's fucking nuts. But if I showed
Yes.
her the radio show, it might be a little more digestible for the average person. You know what I mean?
Which that was exactly what I was saying. I like it. I think it's refreshing that he's got to actually answer to somebody, even though it's someone where he can like still plug his show and shit. It's like he's still got to be like conversational.
He can get a little out in the weeds, left unchecked.
Well, that's just it. I'm like, yeah, because his YouTube is now like just everything is unhinged. And I'm
Black
like,
people.
Yeah, it's literally that. Like I was like the movie he was talking about was fucking. I'm leaving the whole preamble in because you should watch it just because it's funny. I got a director wrong, and I'm like, God damn it. Normally it's like.
I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
I just can't listen to the episodes listening to myself for 2 hours. But like,
No.
I'll totally go back and listen to you.
Rebel Ridge on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen the ads for this, but it's basically like just a reimagining of like the Rambo like story or like Walking
Never saw
Tall.
Rambo.
Like
I know it's a classic, but it's
it's
just
a
one
good-
of those.
yeah, it's
Doesn't it
good.
have like 6 of them or something? It's
Yeah,
one of those
there's
franchises I never-
now there's like 14. I honestly have no idea. I've lost track of Rambos and Aliens. Like, I like the first two Alien, great. Aliens, fucking amazing. Everything. Alien 3 is dog shit bad, and it's so fucking funny. But no, like, Rambo 1 through 3 are watchable. Very, not exquisite, but if you got, like,
That
7
late 80s,
hours.
early 90s, something like that.
I
Mid-90s.
think, like, the first one was, like, the late 70s or 1980.
Stallone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sylvester.
I think I might be imagining this, but I feel like I saw a movie that was like compared to Rambo by like family members or something, like in theaters when I was like a teenager, and it was, I think Stallone was in it, and it was like Stone Cold Steve Austin and like and fucking Rambo, and it was like this Hunger Games thing on like an island or something, and with like guns or something.
About. Yeah, I know what you're
Am I imagining that Stallone was in that, or was he in that?
No, I think it might not be Stallone, but I remember that movie. I think you're right though.
I know it was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone.
My dad or someone took me to see it and was like, "This is like Rambo," because it was like guns and action and the whole. It's like Thriller Island or something like that.
Tell me, brother.
There was a period where WWE guys were doing films. There was that Steve Austin one. Obviously, The Rock's been in a ton of stuff, but there was one with John Cena where it was called like The Marine or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that.
I saw that. I was a big Cena fan, dude.
Stone Cold. No, these are all like great. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was a movie where he's like on an island and he fights.
It was something for like it was like the cliche, like they're convicts, and in order to earn their freedom, they have to fight to the death. Whoever wins gets $1 million.
The Condemned, I think.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
I wonder if Stallone was in that, or from just Mandela.
Vinny Jones, Nathan.
Stallone would be up top.
Yeah, I think so. You never know. He might be the.
I think I just correlated it with Rambo in my mind because my dad kept mentioning Rambo.
That's
it's like Rambo, dude.
It's like Rambo. No, that's supposed to be like the Black Rambo movie, the whatever Rebel Ridge. And I'm like, okay, like because
I'm down with that. I like some Blade and
my thesis was that the
some
point
action
was like blaxploitation's fun. It's a great it's a great like Black Dynamite, not Black Dynamite. What the fuck was it?
Rush Hour, little Chinese,
no, that's not Black
soy sauce, little fried chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Rush Hour is fantastic. Those movies really hold up. No, blaxploitation's like Black Caesar and like Dolomite and like all the Rudy Ray Moore movies. Like all those fucking good shits, like dude. Pam Grier was in like a whole bunch of those fucking movies. There's like across 110th Street, I think.
Why is it called blaxploitation? Because they just take an old white theme and just inject it with black. Like
so it was like a real brief period of filmmaking where so like you got to think. Here, I'm gonna paint an aesthetic for you, and it's gonna be like the most retarded thing ever. But like, you're gonna get exactly where I'm coming from. You know the scene in Forrest Gump where he goes to the Black Panther party and ruins the Black Panther party. So the
didn't seem like much of a party.
The next generation of those Black Panthers were getting more into like filmmaking and stuff like that. So pre like Spike Lee, but like post. Like Black Panther, like as a revolutionary group. So there was like these both black and white, like old Jewish guys and like low level filmmakers that like, but kind of simultaneously were making the same style of movies where they were like comedy, kung fu, action, fucking horror, like literally just what the Indians call a masala film, where it's everything in one movie, like one. So like all of these companies were making these movies, like. What you trying to?
It started falling over. I just wanted to tighten it back up.
Tighten it back up.
Right, we're good. Sorry.
But no, there was like it was like maybe like 15 years where there were like the most prevalent was Rudy Ray Moore. Rudy Ray Moore made like a bunch of these fucking hilarious movies. Like Dolomite is my favorite one. There's another one called Petey Wheatstraw. It's pretty fucking funny.
Maurice Candelabra's Chicken Factory.
Yeah, exactly. Like just of that ilk. Yeah, exactly. But no, it was just a style of filmmaking where it was like for black audiences, mostly by black directors. Yeah, but they're like you could watch them as a white person and be like, these are fucking great. Like just because they're good movies, they're funny movies. Like they're really entertaining movies. But yeah, it was called blaxploitation because it was both like blacks exploit. Dude, you're a mess when you come over here.
I don't know how to fucking.
Here, I got you.
You tie my skates after this. Can't get them.
Want me to cut your steak and eat it for you too?
Yes.
But no, like just that's what blaxploitation was. It's just like a style of filmmaking that was
That phrase sounds now like it would be some woke like
the
Little Mermaid's blaxploitation because
they're exploiting black people.
something where
But-
it's like it's not. They're propping them up in that way.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not a good example, but
but
like
it's
just
like-
it sounds like it would be
It does kind
some
of have like
kind of buzzword on Twitter. Or
it sounds like a
something.
misnomer for
Yeah.
like like something negative when in fact it's like one of the greatest like American
Like
organic fucking
DJ
films.
Vlad commits blaxploitation by
It does sound like it could be-
painting black people in a bad light in his
It
interviews.
does. It does sound like it. You could also wager that it's exploitation. All these.
That's the best effect you've had.
I know this one's pretty good too.
Too long. It's a very
Slam.
slow burn.
I
We
know.
need like the O and A, like
Just a
boom, right to the punch.
Boring.
That does it. You mother.
This is going great.
So what you bring to what you got on the docket today, baby?
Really, a whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of-
Whole lot of business. Not yet, really nothing.
exploitation
I
films.
Didn't get a chance to do current events. I debated like faking the funk and just pulling up like NBC News and being like, yeah, so I looked up this one and just picking like the first article that comes
going
up.
right off the top.
Just totally mailing it in because it's basically what my prepared ones have been. I really left like cringing after the last. I read some article and I like read it way too long and it never. I was waiting for like a big payoff at the end and it was just like it didn't and I was like, oh fuck. Like
This
I was
looks
like
great.
sweating walking to the car. I'm like that was horrible. Cut that.
I have like 3 things. This is the shortest one, just so we could deflect off that. Jay did To Catch a Rising Star, and they fucking suck. I deliberately wanted to talk to you about this on here because
I
like
haven't gotten a breakdown yet. This is all new to me.
so. All right. First of all, shout out Autumn. I love you, Tommy. Shout out you guys. I had 2 weeks where I was supposed to spend time with them, and shit just went awry. One day was my birthday. It was kind of excusable. I snuck away for a stupid reason. I cannot say on mic, but anyway, it wasn't a hooker.
I guess.
Close enough.
This is literally where my brain went. I was like, do tell after we finish.
I would have loved. I should have just gotten a hooker. I should have just been like, fuck it. I don't care if this is a sting.
All right, I know
operation.
where this went then.
Yeah. So it wasn't the girl you think either. But anyway, so the fucking I was supposed to hang with them that night, and then I was like, it's my birthday. I kind of want to get my dick sucked. So I
Should have asked him. Hey guys, Tommy and Autumn, you guys want to get weird? It's my birthday. Little double beeger for old Papa Joe over here.
So
Sorry.
no, because it builds off that. No, like there was also like, just, like everybody's talking about getting one room, and I'm like, no, this is too much for me. But like, I like still at the same time was like, I'm horny. I want to go. Anyway,
I'm getting a room, but
Yeah,
you're not invited.
so the next week, Autumn's like, as I'm pulling out of the driveway to go film Jay at To Catch a Rising Star, Autumn's like, yo, I'm in AC with a bunch of chicks at a bachelorette party and they're all drunk. You want to come hang out? I'm like,
that is
fuck!
Talk about the assist.
Yeah, which is why I'm shouting Autumn out. Thank you very much for that. I wish I could have made it. Instead,
Talk
I had
about
to go.
fucking fishing with
Had,
dynamite,
had
Joey.
to fucking go to Princeton, which is nowhere near Atlantic City, to go to
Jay,
a fucking.
here's a camcorder. Just prop it up on a water bottle and fucking let me know how it goes.
Last time I didn't
FaceTime me.
I didn't even give him a fucking camcorder. I gave him a tripod and he broke it. So you can't be trusted.
Joe
with
takes
that
his equipment very seriously as well. So is that tripod new?
Oh no, I've had that. That was the one Rocky knocked over actually, so I stopped
cocksucker.
using it for a while. But so I have to go. I politely excuse myself. I have to go film Hollywood Jay Scrocca participating.
He
in
might be the next rising star that's caught.
It was a contest, so I'm like, it would be good if this is the first round of a contest. You're funny. I think that you could probably go at least to the next round in this. It would probably be good to have a basis for where you started. So first off, they have a host that's not the host. It's just this chick that is taking tickets that goes up and does 5 minutes, and she's this short little Indian chick named Jay. Very nice girl. Material was okay, is serviceable is what I'll say. Serviceable. she had a great joke about Muslim marrying like Muslim. She's Indian, so she's like got a joke about like she married a Muslim and then divorced him, but it was because she was expecting him to leave her for other women or something like that. But then she went to Saudi Arabia to Dubai, and saw how like actual like rich Muslim dudes do it. And, like they hire servants for all their wives, and then the wives are basically fucking the servants. Is what I'm not entirely sure what that was the premise. It was funny, but like not like ha ha ha. It was like
little bit of a niche market in her corner of the world.
Precisely. That would be like us talking.
She would crush at a fucking Indian cuisine comedy night at the fucking Nizams in the HT.
Everybody be rolling shit.
Welcome to Nizams. Tonight we have the comedic stylings of
doing the comedic
Big
style.
J.
Little J Brownerson. little
J Hummus.
One of my favorite jokes. This got Phil so bad at work. This is like so stupid, but there's these Indian guys. Here's me steamrolling you. So fuck, I'll take
by all means. I like when I get steamrolled.
So
I'm like
there's these 3 Indian guys that came into work. Sounds like a joke, but no, it's like these 3 Indian guys come in and they're asking what things are on the menu, and they don't understand what the concept of a po' boy is. So Phil's explaining it's just a hoagie.
What
it's
is po' boy?
Literally, they're like, yeah, what? Excuse me, we were looking for a fish sandwich. What is this a po' boy, a fish sandwich? And like, he's like, nah, it's not a fish sandwich, but it's like it's got shrimp and like the spicy sauce on it. So they're like, oh, that sounds
To be fair, I don't know what a po' boy is.
It's just a fucking baguette with stuffed with shrimp or fucking oysters or whatever. It's
I've heard of it, but I've not.
Louisiana hoagie. Like it's just
Nice.
you know how we say hoagie, but like everybody else says like hero or grinder or sub
That's
sandwich.
a terrible name for a hoagie.
A po' boy.
What do them poor boys eat? They eat fucking po' boy sandwiches.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
is that? Think that's where it derives from? Like,
What poor boy? Or oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like
no,
that's what they ate at the job site or something.
No, it's what like dock workers in New Orleans used to eat in like the 1700s.
Up here, they're like, yeah, we got heroes and fucking hoagies and submarines, fucking
grinders,
a po' boy, dude. That's fucking rough.
like torpedo.
Kind of cool, but like,
I mean, like I said, but it's like you even have.
I would read the description. I wouldn't ask.
Well, I think they couldn't read it. They got confused. Sorry.
There's menu items I've never heard of all the time, and I read that little blurb at the bottom, and I'm able to gather what I'm looking at.
What's one that you learned that you read on a menu?
That's a tough one to pull off the top of my head.
My long-standing one for the longest time is sandwich Monte Cristo style. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
It means that instead of regular toast, they cook it on French toast and run the whole. So it's like panini style, but instead of it being pressed, it's open face, and then you put it together and you dunk it in syrup. It's really fucking tasty.
Delicious.
It's really good. It's like my favorite way. But yeah, didn't know what that was. I asked for it Monte Cristo style, and the guy at the Point Diner was like, "If you say Monte Cristo one more fucking
You just
time,
pour a bunch of Crisco
I'm
on
coming
it."
out here with a ramekin of Crisco and slathering it on your fucking sandwich." And he said those exact words.
Jesus
too.
Christ.
Yeah, it was back when the fucking Point Diner was the Point.
It
you know?
was, dude. It was a
those
good
were
spot.
The most aggressive waiters and waitresses at any fucking diner I've ever seen. Back when you could smoke.
One
in
I
there.
could pull is disco fries, right?
Yeah,
I have
that's a
no
great
idea
one.
what that was.
Well, because you probably don't know what poutine is, but like
I do.
Oh, okay, so it's disco fries, but instead of cheese curds, you use cheese whiz.
I had poutine once. It was on a road trip in Toledo, Ohio.
Really?
The Vance, it was because of the Bullies. We were out in Toledo seeing the Bullies play the Toledo Storm. We were on an RV, parked at a Marriott, and the Vance were friends somehow with this couple from Brigantine that was from French Canada, and the wife made all this Montreal-style cuisine, one of which was poutine, and that shit was fire. And then when I had disco fries for the first time, I was like, oh, this is fucking poutine. Like, it's literally...
Exactly.
But poutine's fire. And she made quiche, too. I'd never had quiche.
Quiche is fucking
They were good.
Long-standing tradition
On an
in the
RV playing Halo, eating poutine and quiche, drinking cold Mountain Dews. I was living in Toledo, Ohio.
Sign me up.
I thought we were in downtown.
You're the king of Toledo, Ohio.
Bro, I was so retarded. Now knowing that Toledo's a complete shithole, but we were in downtown Toledo and there was like a couple. It was like kind of like rally-esque. Like there was like a Marriott, like
There's a few high-rises.
couple tall buildings, and I'm like, wow, we made it. We are in the big city. We're playing
big city.
It looked. literally the only thing that looked nice was the Marriott. But I'm like, this Marriott is nice, cuz. This shit is nice.
Cause I'm in New York.
I thought I made it in fucking Toledo, Ohio. Getting my ass kicked on Halo 2 by Timmy and Port in a fucking rented RV with a bunch of fat, drunk idiots called the Dog Pound fucking crushing Budweisers.
That's fantastic.
I also got lost in the Marriott and cried a bunch, and then Port had to be like, dude, we'll find him. Like, relax. And I was like, no, we're lost forever.
You're 23. Get it together.
I was like 9. He was like 10. He was like, I got you, dude. I'm a big dog. I'm like,
I got you. Yeah, I get it. That's fucking good. No, that's a great one. Like, there's been a couple of finds. Like, I guess I'd notice it more obviously with my fucking line of work and dumb shit like that. But, like a la mode, there's the joke in Little Miss
I don't know what that
Sunshine.
means. I've heard it, but like couldn't tell you if I was gun to my head.
So I knew it.
You order like, is that when you just kind of order like, I want eggs, bacon, like you just kind of make your own order?
No, that's a la carte.
Yes,
very
yes.
close. Very close. Still French. Yeah, but no. A la
Freedom
mode
fries.
means when you get like a waffle or you get some kind of like. I've seen it with Danishes too, but like some kind of pastry or like a waffle or something like that, and you want ice cream on it. It's a la mode.
I like a la mode.
Yeah, it's so
I'm a big a la mode guy.
big a la mode guy. A la
For
mode.
me, a waffle with some ice cream.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'll
Breakfast of
jizz in my
champions.
pants. As a man who's been trying to eat low carb since the new year, man, what I would do for a waffle and some ice cream.
So
Holy fuck.
I knew that from Little Miss Sunshine. Like
Little fried chicken, dude. Sweet and salty.
All right, I got
Is
a
it
fried
classy?
chicken. I got a fried chicken and waffles one for you too right after this. But there is the a la mode thing is from Little Miss Sunshine. Like I learned it from watching that movie in college, and I watched it in like September, and then I came home for like Christmas break, and my little cousins just happened to be in town from the West Coast. So they're like, we want to go to a diner, and I'm like, oh, like fuck yeah! Like I just learned this thing. It's called a la mode. Like we should do that because I've never done it before. So me, my cousin Emma, my cousin Grace, we all got
Dino's,
waffles. Dino's, we got waffles
I'm
a
gonna
la
scoop
mode.
ice cream on that.
And
Did they know what you wanted when you said a la
No,
mode?
they had no idea. It blew their mind. They were like, "What that?" They had
They're
no
like, I
idea.
don't know how to enter this into the fucking POS,
Dude.
dog. Like, I don't know.
Oh no! They knew what was going on. I'm talking the kids. The kids.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the workers.
Oh no, the
like,
waitress. What the fuck you
Cheryl being
asking
like,
for?
what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, Karen was not happy with that one. Yeah, it was not that chick. You actually would remember her. She was like a fixture at that fucking diner. Short, like probably like 5 foot even, with red hair, really stocky, and would always call you Toots. She used to pinch my cheek when I'd walk in there as a little chubby kid. I don't know, but it was her. And she was like, I was like, they don't know what a la mode is, but just bring it out. And she was like, I got you. And they came out. And my cousin's mind, they were like 9 and like, I don't know, 12 at the time. Their minds were like blown.
Hell
and,
yeah.
And like they were like, we knew diner food was good, but we didn't know you could do this. I was like, wait till you find
It's
a diner. you
Joyzy,
can-
baby.
I was like, wait till you
Welcome to Jersey.
We were
We
taking them
got
to-
the dine.
We were taking them up to New York. I was like, wait till we go further north and we can drink at the diner. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, they're not drinking at the diner. They thought like
They'll give you a beer if you fucking ask nice.
limoncello after dinner.
Duke 'em a fucking Abraham. They'll fucking hook you up.
Dude, the chicken and waffles though, I thought that was a joke. Like that was like a derogatory thing, like just saying black people like their favorite delicacies at one time. I'll be fucking damned. The best chicken and waffles place in New Orleans is called Chicken and Watermelon.
A little on the nose, but
You go on your Yelp real quick and look up or just Google real quick chicken and
give it a
watermelon.
good, J-Mo.
I'm telling you, the food there is phenomenal. My friend lived around the corner from there, and we would get the catering for football games from Chicken and Watermelon, and it was fucking phenomenal. But I was like, there is no way I am walking into a place called Chicken and Watermelon and ordering anything.
Just freshly shaved head.
Yeah, like, and I'll be damned. Like, dude, I thought Chicken and Waffles was a meme. It's
4.2 stars on the reviews.
read some of their reviews, man. They get fucking rave reviews, but it's also like chicken and fucking shit was fantastic. Someone got stabbed in the parking lot. Like,
I had one. I don't know if we talked about it last week. I don't know if we
You're
did.
stabbing someone in a parking lot.
It just reviews reminded me there was a big online kerfuffle about Shore Clean in Marmora.
Really? What
They
about?
fucked
Did
up this chick's car. She went back there. She's like a lifelong customer. Her dad has been like not buddies, but like they've been going there for 20 years or whatever. Like to have a rapport with the guy, and he was just like, "Nah, that wasn't us." And like it was a whole big stink. It was basically her
Really?
car went through the car wash. One of his brush thingies got caught on a panel and like pulled it out, and he's like
Oh.
claiming like, "Nah, definitely not," and like refusing to fix it. And
got
then like
cameras in that
it just led to this like bevy of horror stories of people being like, dude, they like just completely
Oil in my car was
literally
the one- was the
there
one
was
that
like
I- that was
dozens of them.
Yeah,
dude.
that was the one that was the running rumor.
The one was like
forever.
they put transmission fluid in instead of oil, or they put oil in my transmission fluid, or they didn't change the filter. Like, but there was multiple where like they didn't put the cap back on, and like my entire engine bay was just covered in hot oil, and like my car smelled like oil for months. And, like,
Yeah, so
it was literally probably 20 horror stories, and then. I never liked the guy. He's a bit of a scumbag. I had buddies that worked there back in the day. This guy was a hardcore drug addict, like piece of shit, like known.
it's kind of who he hires though. Like,
Yeah, so like it's known. I'm not really, but I kind of piss in a bee's nest. I don't remember my exact comment, but I was like, Chuck's a known scumbag. Like he's a fucking drug addict. Like I avoid shore clean like the plague. And then underneath it, I said, Chuck likes snorting pills in his upstairs office. And to which, I guess a buddy's dad of mine used to work there, and he started defending Chuck. And then me and this fucking 60-year-old dude are getting into it, and I'm telling him to take his Metamucil. It was ugly. It got bad. Then Chuck commented, and he said, "I snort pills off your wife's ass. See who believes that.
we're
Ha."
not married.
And I said, "Do you want a smack in the mouth?" And then things really escalated.
fuck.
And yeah, apparently Chuck is, according to a family friend of mine,
Sober living.
Chuck is mobbed up. And I was like, they're like, he's a dangerous man. Why would you do that? And I'm like, nah, he's gonna fucking kill me. Like I don't know. Like I mean, it makes sense. He owns a car wash and drives a fucking Audi A8 and owns a house in Ocean City. So like I don't know if fucking.
A lot of quarters in that.
But he doesn't scare me. Last time I saw him, he was like nodding out in front of fucking Wells Fargo Center. So like, it really doesn't. I'm not concerned.
For a second, you were gonna say the bank. And I'm
He's
like,
talking about my wife's ass. I will smack him in the mouth if he fucking comes down to it. But that was just the entertainment for the week. Was me arguing with a buddy's dad, and then he was like, "I found out that you and my son are friends," and blah blah blah, and he just made it real gay.
Sounds pretty gay.
I was being a cunt, but you ever just have those moments where you say something and you're like, why did I do that?
Oh, yeah.
It's especially bad on social media because it's just a literal paper trail where it's still getting likes and comments like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't delete it though. I gotta stand on what people who say off the wall shit and then delete it, you're a pussy. I said it. I gotta own it. You know?
I'll own one right now, and it's
Fuck
like
Shore Clean. That's the point of the story. They suck at working on cars. The owner's a fucking rude cocksucker. I'd gotten a gift card there to fucking get my oil changed, and he refused to honor it. He was like, "This is for the car wash only," and it was a whole thing. And me and him had words, and I haven't been back there in 10 fucking years. But that's it. I would have never said anything about it online, but when given the opportunity in the Upper Township group, I'm like, let me drop a fucking heater in here. This guy snorts pills, and everyone's like, oh! Got like 30 likes, dude. Yeah, it was good
boys
times.
are going crazy.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
boys
boys on
fucking
the boys on the
buzzing, dude.
bench.
And then I had his current workers, because I think what had happened was that he went to rehab, and I think he may be sober now.
Yeah.
So his current crop of workers is like defending him tooth
totally.
and nail, and I'm like, you're gay. I'm not even
You're
making.
gay.
I'm not even making good arguments. I'm like, you're gay and stupid. Like I'm just literally putting no effort into it. Yeah.
Strolling 101. Just be the.
It
Be
was
the
some
biggest-
Spanish student named Jesus Rodriguez, and he's like, "That's why you probably don't have teeth anymore," or something like that. And I was like, "You're gay." Like it was just, I had nothing for him. Like I don't even know what he was insinuating. If I poured dental hygiene, or if I
Yes.
fucking
Or
got my
something.
teeth knocked out by Chuck.
Okay.
I don't know what he was going for.
I
But
don't know either. Mexican inference.
whenever I just light fuses online, not even in local groups, but just random Twitter stuff. And then when people hit me back with like facts or like you're like, whenever there's always these pages that post like young hockey players that have died, and I always just post a vaccine emoji in there just to get the people going. I don't care if he died in a car accident. I'm putting the vaccine emoji, and it gets Canadian people really fired up. And then anytime they come at me hard, I just say, "You're gay." Like it's just, I don't even care. I don't know why. It just brings me.
You're not.
These people are like, "You don't even understand medical science. You're an idiot." And I just go, "You're gay." Like, what are you gonna say back to that?
I
Like,
need to start taking the low road like you are, because dude, it must have been like 400 comments, and they all hate me. Everybody in this thread hates me.
yeah, I think everyone in Upper Township hates me.
I got two. It was on YouTube, and I got two. I posted 2 comments and have received nothing. Like once a week, I get like 13 new comments on how I'm an asshole. But yeah, it was
fun.
it was a YouTube short where the short I had no
And
problem.
your podcast sucks.
I
You ever
love
start
that.
shit from the
No,
main?
never from there.
I used to do that on TikTok, and then they would be like, "Your podcast sucks. You're a fucking loser." And I'd be like, "Well, when you're right, you're right."
Make a valid point. You can argue.
Checkmate. See you later. Block. You win.
I'm not playing the easiest way to win the game is not to play it. Yeah, blocked. But yeah, so it was like I had no problem with the fucking video, but in the comments, people like, and it for all I know, I'm turning into a boomer. Like I'm just arguing with like some AI
Oh,
generated.
we for
fucking
sure
comment.
are.
But like it was like probably like because there was like one specific detail. The thing was about it was about post-war Germany or something like that, and like how like the Germans were getting the shit kicked out of them by the Soviets, like even after like well into like 1946 and beyond. But like, there was like all like, but what about the Jews? Like what? Like it was like the video had nothing to do with the Holocaust. It was just like where did these people go? Like it was just explaining. Oversimplifying, but like explaining in a digestible manner, like in 60 seconds, what these massive factions were doing, and like the people kind of caught in the middle, and it's like okay, that makes sense. But then like
where did they bail to?
so like there it was a lot. So
England
this was specifically like the Eastern Front, because like what was happening was the Soviets were stuck at Stalingrad for a really fucking long time, and other places along the Eastern Front, but they were basically stuck in Russia, getting pushed back by the Nazis, and then the Nazis overstepped their boundaries in the winter of 44, and just because they were fighting a war on two fronts now, because the U.S. invaded in 44, they just like overstepped their bounds, and the Russians started pushing them back. So while the Nazis were pushing through like Poland and Belarus and like Eastern Europe, they were just fucking everything up. That's where Derlewanger came in. That was like his
Cool
campaigns.
guy.
Yeah.
Got
so
the
like
guitar riff.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh,
You gotta hold him for see that. Derlewanger driving his tank drunk. But yeah, like they were fucking everything up. So when the Soviets like started their offensive into Germany, they were like, "Oh, you guys fucked with us pretty hard. We're gonna fuck with you like 5 times as bad." And then they were like, there's a lot of muddled stories about the Eastern concentration camps because the Soviets were using them as German concentration camps after the war because they had prisoners of war and civilians caught. So, but they were also abusing the shit out of the Germans as payback. So they like when the Red Cross came through, they were like, we don't want to show you any of these. Like it's like a whole thing. But basically, in the comments, all of this anecdotal evidence started like coming out, where it was like, my grandfather was in Poland in 1945, and blah 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 happened. And it's like, okay, whatever. I'll read a couple of these. But there was one that was just like so specifically, like it made no fucking sense. It was this guy that said in 1945, when the Soviets were in the offensive on the Eastern Front, his great grandfather or something was a Jew that was in Auschwitz, and when Auschwitz or Dachau or something like one of the big buzzword name that you would know off the top of your head. Yeah, he was at a camp, and the camp had a prison guard that had a U.S. grease gun that would specifically mow down prisoners with this grease gun for some reason. And it was like, I think he was alluding to that, oh, maybe it wouldn't look like a war crime if he was doing it with the, Allied ammo and weaponry or whatever, like, or they couldn't trace it back. I think that was what he was implying, but I'm not entirely sure. But I'm like, if he was on the Eastern Front and the U.S. was on the Western, how would he get a grease gun if there was
his
nowhere?
buddy shipped it over. Said, "Hey, man, I got you one."
It's
Get my kid brother a Luga.
It's such a lapse of logic, though. Like, I mean, realistically, in 44, like the U.S. was still in France. Like, they weren't even into like real. They were just Normandy happened to.
Is it a
June.
possibility that he? I don't know.
Well, the
was
only
like over there, got killed an American, got his gun, and then was transferred on camp duty because he was injured or something.
Probably not, because
I'm
it's
just
like
guessing
so
here.
like how like we sent the Marines to the Pacific, but then we sent like the Army like to it would be like sending a Marine from the Pacific to D-Day for some reason. It's like it's just like you probably have like some skills or what, like you're not gonna like you're gonna be beneficial to this
Were
fight.
there
but it's like,
Marines
why?
at all on D-Day?
No, it was all Army. Yeah, it was,
all Army.
It was all Army.
Navy?
Navy helped. Yeah, Navy helped with both of them. Navy is the transportation for the Marines and the Army, but the Navy has their own aircraft So this was before the Air Force too. So the Army and the Navy had their own respective Air Corps. So my grandfather was in the Army Air Corps. So he went to Europe when he was working on P-51 Mustangs during World War II. But
cool.
it's one of those things.
Badass
where it's like,
planes.
very cool planes, tank busters, man. They're fun. And on top of that, like he told me more. Like that was the most of what my grandfather told me about World War II was like how cool working on those fucking planes was.
Just stylistically, how they styled them with the cool fucking creepy shark mouth or whatever it is.
The
Badass,
P-38s I thought were the coolest because they had those. They would load them up with fucking like the Japanese had like torpedo bombs, but we had these like cluster bombs that you could like drop basically like anywhere, and they're not like a buzz bomb, but they were like a bomb that they would like go off, and then like a bunch of other little bombs would go up. So when they were like trying to clear out fucking islands and shit like that, you ever see those photos where they're like, yeah, Iwo Jima looked like the moon? It was because these P-38s were flying like days and days of just dropping these cluster bombs on the beach and just making it pockmarked like it was like.
It's somehow more scary than the current like drones or like our stealth bomber coming through or whatever.
Bomber sketchy.
That's scary, but old school like coming in like kind of slow, you're just like, oh fuck, like you have time to like process what's going on.
Yeah, but back to the YouTube comment. Yeah, so I just was like, I don't doubt that your grandfather was in a concentration camp, but I highly doubt that there was a guard with U.S. issue, a newer U.S. issue, like a Tommy gun, maybe, because that might have been left over from World War I. Grease gun was invented during World War II in like 42 or 43 or something like that. And it was such a recent development that it wasn't that popular except with like mechanics and engineers. Like it wasn't. It's
a very specific gun.
It's an oddly specific.
If it was M1 Garand or Tommy gun,
literally any other gun, I would have.
Colt.
A Japanese Arisaka. I don't even fucking know. But the fact he said a grease gun was where I'm like, I don't believe that, and I don't. It doesn't mean that the rest of your stories fake, but I'm discrediting that specific fact.
The only thing that's plausible deniability is if it was a gift from like
no, it's like that they would not have shipped you. So you can't, like, the thing about the Luger is like that's not something that happens. Like that's like he was doing that and he was gonna stuff that down his pants and ride home with it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna ship this to the other end of the war. Like they're not gonna let you do that.
I didn't know. Like, hey, this truck's going over there, fucking.
Like
give the driver a 20 and say, give this to my buddy Luke.
It would be so
to mow down some Jewish guys with it.
It would be so unlikely that they would not only have that specific gun, but not only that, but the ammunition for that gun, because it would have to be American-made 30 cal ammunition. Like it would, they didn't. use that.
So for him to be using it regularly doesn't even make
specifically
sense.
to execute prisoners.
2 fucking magazines worth or something like that. Something they took off a guy makes sense, but not like boxes of ammo.
There were no Americans in this offensive. Like there were no Americans at that. It's like it's just retarded.
I'm happily thinking of it as a gift. Like, hey, my buddy's over here. He's wanted a grease gun.
You want one of these?
He's bored at the camp. He used to be on the front lines, but I'm picturing like they just have like injured guys guarding the camp, which is not what happened.
No, it was like mostly like children in SS. Like,
oh my god, children! Didn't know that. I thought the SS was like some elite. Well, I thought they had like special forces.
Well, no, SS were like the
real mean ones.
Yeah. Well, goddamn, dude, this is going to turn into a history lesson. But anyway, the point I'm making is that the YouTube comment was like, "Hey, you're being an asshole," and I'm like, "How am I being an asshole?" When he just like said that I should take this with the sincere fact of the rest of the video. Like he's just lying, and then like 400 people behind that are like, "You're a fucking Holocaust denier."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah,
that's where it's gonna go."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, the SS were basically like the all right, so SS would get cropped out from like the Boy Scouts, so like the Hitler Youth and shit like that, and then there was also like German versions of that before. So like they were these people that would like go to officer school, similar to like you going to West Point or something like that, but they had to meet certain racial criteria, certain like height criteria, certain weight criteria.
Had to be fully Italian.
Yeah, like you had to be blonde hair, blue eyes, 6'1", whatever. Like you had to actually like bring something extra to the table for them to consider you for this. And like there was outliers that would get in, but like there was also
the blonde hair, blue eyes thing's real.
Yeah, I mean Aryans, like that was his shtick. Was like
so weird, dude. There's got to be brown haired Germans, right?
No, I mean there's a ton. Yeah, like
it's fucking bullshit.
Well, that's his thing was on eugenics. He thought that Aryans were more pure, but he himself had brown hair and brown eyes. So
But he's willing to die on the sword.
take one on the on the chin for the team.
He was
but
a selfless guy.
I don't know about that, but like, yeah, the SS was like towards the end of the war, like they were so spread out, and like you had idiots like Dirlewanger, and then like all the SS that was like fighting the Americans, because that's where they directed a lot of that manpower too, because they knew the Americans were the Soviets would just throw waves of people at you, so that was where the bulk of their ammunition and artillery was going. But like the US was like more cunning, so they were like, we need smarter people to like fight them, so like that was where a lot of the more tactically inclined divisions went. But there's also this thing about Fury that is accurate, and it's like it kind of makes me like rethink that Bill Burr thing where he's like, hey, you know, we had the Sherman tank, and it was like every time they could take 4 out, but there was always a 5th. It was like, actually they didn't really have Tiger tanks on the Western Front. Like the guy that's on some podcast with Brandon Herrera,
Panzers.
well, yeah, they had Panzers, but it's like a Panzer was like comparable to a Sherman tank, and like they
Tigers were demons.
The Tigers were like non-existent on the Western Front because they were just like bigger firepower to fight more people. So put it towards Soviet Union. The Panzers and like all the other goofy little offshoots, there's like a couple of them, but like they had all that was on the West. So the fact that like in Fury, there's a Tiger tank, that's like the most unbelievable aspect, and also then that kind of brings back to Saving Private Ryan, that's also pretty unbelievable. There's like a division
cool, though.
of like 4 of them. Yeah, I mean, it like after a certain
For
point,
film, we're bringing out the Tiger.
We're bringing out the big
fuck
guns. We're bringing
Panzer,
out the
dude.
big guns. The half tracks, we already blew those up.
All of my knowledge of this stuff comes from Band of Brothers, World War II stuff, like movies, and Call of Duty, like 100% video games.
But yeah, like the
Like,
S.
dude, I know about the Panzer and the Tiger, dude. Tiger was a motherfucker.
Was a motherfucker. I mean, it was big. Just
Tiger's scary, dude. See that big blocky motherfucker coming around the corner. I think there was a scene in Saving Private Ryan or Band of Brothers where there's a fucking Tiger tank. Might have been Band of Brothers. There's also a scene in Band of Brothers where they come upon an SS unit and just like unexpectedly have a firefight in like a field.
Yeah.
And they win and they're all like high-fiving afterwards and stuff.
I rember that. That's the one where the one guy like runs early and then
Bayonet
she
the
just
fuck out
fucking
of him, dude.
shoots the kid.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's
younger
just-
guy.
Yeah.
You see like blood coming out of his mouth or something.
No, who's the
Winters. He was one of my favorites. The redheaded.
The one dude, I think it's like during that battle too, when the Shermans show up, and the one dude, it's like he's just like hiding in a foxhole the whole time, and then he gets up and like
Lieutenant
shoots,
Dyke or something like
shoots
that.
some guy, and then like he's just
like,
wandering,
yeah.
just wandering around for
I
the
got
rest
some.
of the episode. Like, dude, that like show was like so great, and I'm like, that scene just makes no.
Tina
fucking
buzzed through it in
sense.
like 3 nights and like didn't make a single comment about it.
I
So it was good, but like
it's all right.
it like changed my life at
I mean,
age
yeah,
12.
it's-
Like I
it's-
was like, I'm joining the army.
I'm
I
going
wanna
to be a
die for my
paratrooper.
country.
I want to go
I'm
kick
scared
the
of
shit
heights.
out of these Germans.
I think I've told it on here. It's so retarded that I have to
He
tell it
bullied
again.
a German immigrant.
I didn't bully him. I just
bullied him.
I had like 10 foul balls. Like I literally was at the point.
10. Call a doctor.
I have 2 now. I actually showered today, but
Hell yeah.
no, I had it so down pat because I would just get literally like 10 foul balls a game. I was bringing a 5-gallon bucket to the games and like
At the surf, right?
yeah, and like collecting them. Like I would just have so many because I would go off first base. They would always land in this little volleyball court that was fenced in, and there would be no one over on that side. And I would just literally wait by the stairs, and it was a big sand trap, so the ball would just plop down and like
Yoink.
yeah, I would get a bunch. And there was this kid, he was like a J1 from Germany. I was big into Call of Duty and Band of Brothers at this point in time.
Nazi.
And yeah, no, legit, that's how fucking retarded I was. That's it, literally. I think I called him a kraut to my grandpa on the car ride home. I swear to God. My grandpa was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's a movie.
It's like 60 years
AJ,
ago.
it's a movie. You could have went to prison.
No fucking song. It's my firstborn ass.
Let's get some po' boys. What's up, chicken vindaloo?
I didn't mean to no disrespect back there. I didn't mean to bite down.
But yeah, there was a whole group of kids. They realized what I was doing, and then I literally had 10 or 15 foul balls. It was late in the game. Surfer winning. We're eating Dippin' Dots. Everyone's having a good time. They're like, he wants a souvenir to like bring home with him. He's going home. It was the end of summer or something. And I was like,
Giving no.
I literally was like, I can't do it.
Trade
I'm
you for
sorry.
a Luger.
I was like, this is America. I said something like so, and he was like, what are you talking about? With this stupid German accent? And I was like,
What are you talking about?
I was like, I'm an American, man. I haven't forgot. You know, I just,
forgot.
like I
He doesn't
was,
even know.
I went off the fucking charts. Retardation, autism, like Listen, man,
I'm loving this,
me and you, we're not friends. All right. I'm just saying.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Go home.
I know what your people did. Like I literally, and I was like, let's say 12, and he was like 16. He was like, "You're an asshole." He said he like cussed me out, and I was just like, "Hey, man,
real lickins and dickens.
I remember Sergeant Garnier." I just said some like real.
Bill Winters lives over there at Summers Point. You know, we could go get him, bring you over here, tell you about your grandfather.
I'm just, I can't do it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it to him, dude.
It's so retarded.
That night, literally, it was a day game, and like that night by like dinner time, I was like, I am retarded. Like I felt so horrible. That kept me up at night for like a week. I was just like, I can still picture the kid's face too. I can literally still picture it.
Blonde hair,
I don't feel
blue
bad
eyes.
now. I stand on it. Fuck that.
Fuck
His
you.
grandpa probably was fucking SS.
Did in the fucking Autobahn.
Fucking Sergeant Derlewanger. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Get your own foul ball. How about you race me down the stairs and steal one from me? Because I was on lock. And it was like 3 flights of concrete stairs. And I'm fat and hoofing it down these bitches. I'm risking my life. If I tumble, I could break my neck. But for the love of the game, I'm getting the foul balls. Pretty sure we sold them at a yard sale for like $5. I had. Remember how those are like souvenirs, and you'd put it up on a shelf, like a foul ball or a game puck or something. Like I wouldn't use a bully's game puck, but I had so many foul balls, like that we were just taking them to the elementary school and like doing batting practice with them. Like they just lost their. It was like, oh, this is just a baseball. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It does.
There's nothing significant.
AAA ball in Atlantic City. Like I wish I would have kept one of them, but like literally. We just started doing batting practice with them. And like,
thank you for reminding me though. You remember when we were at the Flyers game? How they have that thing where you can like go and buy the sack of like the game.
I can't believe you went and like chatted those guys up,
dude. Because I'm getting one for Jay. I'm
Okay.
going to not for the Flyers.
Is this real Game Ward gear?
Well, no. I was asking. Because I was asking because they have a thing at the baseball game now, and it's like I want to do it just because it seems kind of cool in concept where they have a pyramid of baseballs in white obscured boxes, kind of the way they had the pucks.
I did that. I always lost on those.
And they, it's not signed or anything.
Oh,
It's just a game used. And
That's
what you
cool.
do is you buy it, and it's like if it's a home run one, it's like $300. But like if it's just like a one-off, like they threw
How
two
do they get
pitches.
those back?
So what they'll do?
The ones that go into the BP or whatever, or the bullpen.
No. So what they'll do is if like a player if a player hits a home run, there's already authenticators from Fanatics out in the stands.
Damn.
And they have a little authentication sticker that
That's
they activate and slap on your baseball so you know exactly when it happened. But the ones that like people like that
That's
nobody
cool.
gets to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the ones that nobody. So that's what I'm saying.
That's
that was
awesome,
what I was
dude.
trying to
That's
figure out if
nuts.
they had at the fucking. So here, check it out. It gets cooler. That little thing that they authenticated has a QR code that they activate when they give it to you. You scan that QR code after the game's complete, and they have an archive of the exact play that your puck or ball went out of bounds. And there's a chance you could see the person that caught it too, or if you got it. Yeah, like it's so like I'm like I know it's not gonna be like if it's just one of the boxes. But like you never know what it could be.
My question is just like how is the team getting these home run balls to sell?
So
it's like, are they offering this fan $200?
Well,
and
these
like,
are
going to sell it for $3.
The ones that they're selling are the ones like you said that go into the bullpen or over the
Gotcha.
fence where nobody can get them. But there's what, but it's the same exact concept. Just those are the ones that the stadium just has to go and collect when they're landscaping. But like they'll
It's
do
hairy
this-
when it's a record breaking ball or something like that.
Saw that one with Shohei, right? The 55-50 or whatever. I don't know if you just
No, I don't
continue.
follow. There's just the one. It was like some famous story about the guy on the canoe or the kayak in the bay behind, and he got some record. I don't know if it was the Bonds ball or which one, but he like refused to give it to the team. He was like, "All I want is like free parking for a season or something like that." And they're yeah, and they were like, "No," and he was like, "Well, then I'm keeping the ball." I don't even think they should fucking be able to like if I catch a home run ball, don't even ask me. Like that's coming home with me. I don't care if it's fucking Jason Worth's 9,000th home run and it breaks the world record. I don't give a fuck. That's my ball. I paid $200 to be here.
So there's the Shohei Ohtani. He's the Japanese guy that everybody loves, and he's like basically he's made baseball, American baseball in Japan, huge to the point where it's like fucked up the market shares for some of the teams out on the West Coast. Like LA has 5 times the visibility. Normally like 2 million people watch their fucking games. It's like closer to 10, 11 million now because everyone in Japan watches for Shohei. And there's other players too. There's like I think the guy's name is like Mitsubishi Miyamoto or something like that. They all have hilarious names. There's the one dude,
Mitsubishi Miyamoto. Miyaka.
I think that's his fucking name.
Mitsubishi Miyamoto.
I'm fairly certain that's his fucking name.
That's an awesome name.
But no, there's like a ton of
Panasonic, Microwavo.
My personal favorite was
Samsung.
Hideo Nomo. Hideo Nomo, because he had a really weird pitch style.
No
play
hit
joke.
home run Nomo.
Yeah, it sounds like Jan. Hideo Nomo. But no,
Yan in Chinese means money. So I'm like, dude, you're Money Lee. That's
Money
fucking
Lee?
insane, dude.
Cash
that is
Jordan,
so white
baby.
trash. Like, that's like naming your kid Cash in fucking America, dude. Like, you're Money Lee, dude. That is off the charts, dude.
Shut up. But yeah, the authentication thing was fucking wild when Shohei hit that fucking. There's a record he broke. It's like something. It's not even like an interesting record. It's not even like an interesting record in regard to the annals of.
Is he a pitcher?
He's a pitcher, but he's a really good hitter too. So like they sometimes pitch him, sometimes he hits. Like because they change it up so you don't have designated hitters anymore. Anyway, he got some.
He'll play a field position.
No, he could be the designated hitter because now both National and American leagues have a designated hitter.
Oh, they both have. I thought you said they took the DH away.
So on his off days when he's not pitching, he's an eligible DH. Yeah, and so he ended up being eligible for this one record that's like it's never existed before, or like if it has existed in the National League, it's not something that people really like. Like Nolan Ryan might have been like one of the guys that came close to cracking it, or like Randy Johnson, but like it wasn't like. It's 55 hits and 55 strikeouts, and it was called like the 50-50, and then it turned into the 55-55 or something like that. But the ball, one of the noteworthy balls, like number 51 or whatever, goes over the fence, and it
it's not that noteworthy.
Little 12-year-old kid catches it. Yeah, it's pretty noteworthy. It's sold for $63,000.
51? I thought he had to get to 55.
He did, but every ball is so valued because of how $63,000 is what that ball is sold for. But yeah,
the kid sold it.
No, the kid caught it, and then some guy ripped it out of his hands.
Fuck that.
And the guy turned around and sold it, but the fucking team tried to mitigate and be like, if you bring us the ball back because Shohei wants it, we'll give you and the kid something. The guy's like, fuck you, but then the kid still gets nothing. So
that's stealing.
Yeah,
that's literally stealing. Can you imagine ripping a ball out of a child's hand?
It's a huge controversy right now. It's from last season, and people are still talking about it this year.
That guy is such a fucking loser.
Scumbag move.
Who can't use a spare $60,000? But that kid probably wasn't even going to sell it.
No, he was going to keep it. He was I think
probably
he said he was
a
going to
lifelong souvenir.
He was going to give it back to Shohei, and Shohei would have given him a bat or a glove or something like that, signed. Too.
And he get to meet him and shake his hand.
And you get to meet him, exactly.
Cool.
That's
fuck money. That's so fucking gay. Whoever bought that for that much money is also retarded.
I don't know
I get people are into sports. I might spend 60 bands on a Dale Earnhardt race car, so I get it. But that's a lot of money for a baseball.
I might be understating the number, and I'm not sure if it actually sold yet. I think he asked 100 something, 150 or something, and then 63. I just remember 63.
All right, I might rip a ball out of a kid's hand for 150 grand. I'll punch a kid in the head for 150 grand.
I think
Knock
that was
down my mortgage.
I think that was what he asked, and then I think 63. I just remember the number 63 grand being thrown around in regards to the story.
His firm, his reserve on eBay.
Something like that.
Buy it now.
It was fucking stupid though, man, because he ruined that kid's fucking life. That kid's
he'll be fine. No, that's a douche move.
The kid's 15, and he's now people don't like me because they're like, yo, what the fuck? He's in the middle of this, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel bad for that.
Why don't people like the kid?
Because he could take legal action because legally he caught it, and people are saying
for sure, fuck that guy, give me my ball back.
But now he's I don't know, just the last thing I remember about hearing it was that the kid was upset. And
did he have full possession of the ball? Was he making a football movement or whatever?
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it's the kid clearly had it's and the guy knew damn well what he was doing. This kid just sees, oh, Shohei's up to bat, oh, ball coming my way. I don't even know what this.
Did he have a glove or did he barehand it?
I think the ball bounced and the kid got to it first, but then the guy reached under a chair and ripped it out of his hands. He had full possession of it, and there's video evidence that this kid had.
I'd have to see.
You want to look it up real quick?
Just to be fair, but
unbiased. We
you said he was 12 in the beginning, and now you're saying he's 15. I would have no problem taking a ball from a 15-year-old. You're a man now, dog.
This is guy.
Probably got a nicer beard than me. Fuck you, kid. This is my ball. 12-year-old, you're a piece of shit.
Go.
Yeah,
ahead.
for 63K, I would punch a 15-year-old in the face and leave the stadium.
Kid. That's the kid that caught crying.
That's my son at the fucking game.
Hits kid in the stands.
That's fine.
I don't know who that kid is.
Yeah, I know that one.
There's a video of it. I'll find it. I'll post it. But yeah, like, I'm getting all these facts wrong. But yeah, it was like a huge controversy last year, specifically over that. And it was like because like there was also they need to authenticate it to know that it's the actual ball, and that's a problem.
Did the guy not stick around to
I think
authenticate
I think the guy
it?
like
Just
ran
pieced
out
the
of
fuck out?
I think the guy like
Well, then
ran
how
out.
can he even sell it?
That's
How
just that's part of the
Can there just
fucking.
be any schmuck with an MLB ball?
That's
The
just it.
Seattle Mariners or LA Dodgers logo?
Yeah, like, it's
Thinking of Ichiro.
I knew what you were doing.
Suzuki Dirt Bike
Hey,
Hero.
There's that guy.
I am a Mitsubishi Moto.
I think his name is Mitsubishi Miyamoto. I think that's his fucking name. But there's another guy.
Yamaha Jet Ski. It's just subtle marketing, dude. Mitsubishi Moto. Mitsubishi Lancer.
Player Blue Jays interview. This guy's fucking hilarious. He moved here without.
Are the Blue Jays still around?
Sort of. This Kawasaki is this guy. This guy's fucking hilarious. He moved to America before.
How does your leg feel today?
Oh, feeling good.
I've seen this, I think.
What happened to you?
Huh?
What happened?
Just crap.
Cramp.
Just crap.
You told me what can you eat to help you make you feel better?
Bananas.
Why bananas?
Monkeys never craps. Monkey never crap. Because a monkey every day bananas.
So how many did you have today?
3.
So you no more cramp for you.
I need 3 bananas because a monkey never craps.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's the best.
Dude, yeah,
I love a nice.
Kawasaki's fucking hilarious because he fucking moved to America without knowing how to speak
Sounds like
English.
a fucking Raul Ibanez interview or something. I love a nice foreigner trying to do an interview.
He didn't speak English when he got here. He moved here because he just liked Ichiro, took a huge pay cut, and then comes over here and then didn't tell the press that he didn't know how to speak English, so they would just interview him normal like that. And he has no idea what he's fucking saying. There's like
I think it's pretty apparent that you don't speak English.
Yeah, there's like one where he's talking about Big Poppy, and he's like, because he's on first base, and Poppy's like fucking with his batting gloves or whatever, and he's like, what happened there with Big Poppy? Because Poppy ended up giving him a big hug. He's like, oh, he Big Poppy, I Little Poppy, Big Poppy, Little Poppy, Big Poppy, Little Poppy, and it's like, what are you fucking talking about? Answer the damn question. But like, dude, he's so fucking funny.
I think he knows more than he leads on. He's just trolling.
No, he learned more as he got here, but he's been here for like 5 years now, I think.
That was fun in all sports. I remember there's some
occasional-
foreigners in
occasional
basketball.
foreign
The
kid.
Kembe Mutombo interviews were fucking lit. Russians in hockey, dude, are usually pretty good.
What's his name? Brizgalov. 1 plus
Rizzer, dude.
2 plus 2 multiplied by 2 equals.
It's funny in hindsight, but Brizgalov fucking fucked me. I loved the Flyers back then. I was so into it, and I couldn't stand that motherfucker. Just because of how much they were paying him, he kind of like sunk us. Like I was really like, I wasn't betting on it or anything, but I remember I fucking
he was
hated
an investment.
I couldn't enjoy all of those goofy interviews and stuff because I'd be like, this guy is tanking us. He's costing us $10 million a year. The salary cap, Joe. Like I was so invested. Like now it's hilarious. I don't give a fuck. But I saw him in the fucking concourse. He was walking around, and like me and Tyler went to a game or something, and it was like after we were literally paying him $10 million a year to not play.
Nice.
He had like a crowd around him, and like I wouldn't give one of my foul balls. I'm like, dude, you're fucking German. I can't. You're a fucking Russian, dude. I remember the '80s. But yeah, no, I really was like, I walked by. I didn't even want anything to do with him. I didn't, you know what I mean? He had like a crowd around him signing autographs and stuff, and I was like, fuck that guy.
Miss me with that shit.
Yeah,
comic
fuck
bullshit.
You, Brizzer, dude. You tanked us in 2012. You fucking killed us, dog.
Try to think of like.
I don't know why. No, I don't even know why they paid him that kind of money. Like I was really following hockey back then. He sucked 1,000 dicks in Phoenix. He lost in that series like handedly, and they're like, "This is our franchise goalie now." Like, who the fuck was at the wheel at that time? Holmgren or someone? Like, I don't know. You're watching it now. You're into it now, and apparently they're having a rough go now.
No, they're
so.
having a terrible season. Everybody's
I
like,
heard a Torts clip where he was like, I don't even know what to do. Like he was just like, I don't know how to coach a team like this. He's like, I'm not.
They
used to
put
this.
too much. They took way too long to get the players that they needed to coach to teach them how to play on this fucking team. With like, there's no chemistry there, and it's very apparent. And that's like what it is that they had visa issues. And it's like, yeah, it's
Really?
yeah, I'm dead serious. There was like 3 guys that they had that got tied up right around the
That's
All-Star
crazy.
break that they couldn't get over here to fucking coach and like teach them like the plays and shit.
We
Like,
also kind of got hosed on the cat a hat situation, dude.
yeah, I mean, he wasn't the greatest of
What-
goalies.
He petered out. I remember he was when I was still watching hockey.
He's a good rookie.
He was like God's gift.
He was a
Like,
good rookie.
They were talking about him on Chicklets all the time. Cat hat.
Good,
Like
good
he was
rookie. Yeah.
And then he kind of just petered out.
He hit the wall.
Must
he was
be
like,
hard to focus on hockey when you have looming rape charges coming in on you.
Diddling allegations.
It wasn't diddling. It was like
He was in college and they gangbanged a chick.
she wasn't a minor. But
that we know of.
diddling to me sounds like some molestation took place or something. But
It does,
yeah.
but you can also diddle your gal. Give her a little diddle.
I wonder what the story is there.
What on diddling?
I'm so like. This sounds horrible, but like I'm like, what's the real story, dude? I'm not like believe all women. Like, was she like down for it? Like, let me suck off the whole Canada
Naturally.
hockey team, and then
It's
like
always-
she saw a payday and she
It's
was like,
always that.
yeah. Like, maybe not in this scenario. I don't know the details. I don't want to say either way. But my initial instinct, I'm like, damn, 4 good men had their hockey careers ruined because of this broad. But it's like, maybe they raped her. Like, I don't know. You have to, like, I don't know. Innocent until proven guilty. But, like,
Well, they're Canadian too, so like, I don't know.
what happens there? They don't, none of those 4 guys go to the NHL? Like, aren't they playing in Russia or something?
I got no
That was going to be my question. What happened to Carter Hart?
I don't know. Fucking,
I had hope for the kid.
had a heart attack.
He's got a big hat.
He's got a lot of heart, a lot of cock too.
It's
apparently.
like, Google it.
But-
But carry on. Let me.
Well,
give
I
Carter Hart a
wanted,
goog.
I want to shift gears. I got 2 topics. Which do you want to talk? You want to talk comedy? Or you want to talk gambling? So we got one from last week we didn't get to, and then I got Bert this week. I got some Bert.
Let's start with Bert.
So there's these 3 YouTube channels that I used to like about a year ago. I would very much talk these guys up and say how I think that they're a healthy perspective on comedy, because comedy is like its own microcosm now, but then like with podcasts, that's like a supplementary viewing thing. So like comedians have specials that they put out, or they have like sets that they put out. What's he doing?
TheInquirer.com. So the other updates up top are all saying former Flyers goalie Carter Hart has trial set for early 2025. The most recent one I find below, January of 2025. The headline is, this is going to be my current event.
Okay.
Flyers don't rule out eventual return of Carter Hart.
It's Philly.
Look, we're struggling between the
We
pipes.
got no soul.
I don't give a fuck. Half our fucking team did that.
Michkov's good.
You think
fucking
Richards and Carter weren't fucking getting fucked?
Lindros?
Yeah, come
Lindros
on,
is
dude.
fucking primo.
Man, I
time.
can't read it. I'd have to fucking spend $1 here.
So it
Fuck
looks like
'em.
he's going to trial, I guess.
Yeah, I can't read the article about. That sucks. I hate that.
Well, the Bert news is that there was these 3 YouTube channels that I would say were kind of like a healthy balance to like comedy outside of comedy itself, like the supplements that you get, podcasts, shows, TV appearances, like
I wish I could read that fucking article.
all the
'cause
stuff that's
they
sort
let
of
him go in the summer of last year, and then the beginning of this year, they're like, we're not ruling out a comeback.
don't call it a comeback.
I'd support. Sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, so Too Lazy to Try is one of the channels. Comedy Enforcement and Podcast Cringe. Are you familiar with any of these channels?
I've listened to plenty of Too Lazy to Try, but like I don't like him. I don't know.
I agree.
Some of the stuff he complains about just seems kind of bitchy and like nitpicky. Which
So-
is my gripe with who are these podcasters who they constantly just pick on Opie, and I just want to be like, well, who the fuck are you guys?
Well,
Like,
they're on the compound.
They are?
They were ants. They were ants boys. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just
they-
thought they were just some random podcast, like
Well,
20K, and I'm like,
Yeah, they were. They were
they're just
associated-
like obsessive. Where it's like I've watched a few of them, and then it's just like, dude, all right, like Jesus Christ, like
the only reason.
what's this guy even doing in his life? Like, what are you fucking doing? This guy, like, I don't know.
The one that was the best was them finding Cumtown, and Cumtown basically breaking down like before they even found the episode of Cumtown. I think like Nick made the assumption, he's like, this one dude sounds like he can't wait. He's like jumping over everybody to make a fucking Stone Temple Pilots reference or something, and that is like a kill shot because it's like the epitome of their fucking podcast is just like, we're 90s dudes, we're Gen Xers, like we know better than everybody, and that's
They
like
suck.
They're really a hard
they
fucking
suck.
sell, but so. Too lazy to try.
They overanalyze. Sorry, they overanalyze every little thing that Opie says, like to a point where it's like it's ridiculous. Like it's like,
Well, they're like I said, they're Ants camp, so like I think
but
they
it's
were
like
at a certain
it's,
point paid.
that's
to do that.
fine. But like Ant berates Opie like
In his own.
tastefully, like not these guys like not tastefully, but like it just comes across better or whatever. These guys just come across like just some fucking hens where they're like, Opie, why don't you be a nice person? And they're like going over, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like the
No.
most. All right, whatever. Fuck it.
I'm trying to get you out of this.
No, I'm not in the weeds at all. What I'm saying makes sense. They analyze them to the point of like how your girlfriend would analyze like what you say, and it's just like some of the stuff Opie says is clearly just throwaway like bullshit, and they're just like, I don't know, they're being bitchy about it. Like
Well, that was what they were paid to do. You understand?
Yes.
Like that's like they were doing this because that was their show, and Ant was like, yeah, oh, you're doing my heavy lifting for me, like that. So now it's its own thing. That they're doing that as like.
they're taking a 10-minute Opie clip and turning it into a 30-minute podcast, and it's just there's not enough there to fucking be mean about. It's just
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like
I
it's,
can see that. Yeah. I get
and
what you mean.
so they're really digging by the end of it, and it's just like, you guys sound fucking gay by the end of it. You're like fucking grasping at straws a little bit. You know what I mean?
So that's
Just picking this guy apart. Like Jesus Christ. I don't know. I know it's their job, but
well,
they stink.
what I'm getting at here is that these guys, like a year ago, they were a nice counterbalance because I feel that they offered insight that people weren't really fairly being given, and it's like it's fair. Like I think that you need, like when you have a podcast or something like that where it's supposed to be an interactive medium where there's comment sections and like forums and Reddit and whatnot where you're like, this is what I want and this is what I'm gonna gravitate towards. These are the people that also want this, so I want to talk to them. Fucking great time talking with all the homies on War Mode's comment section, like all that. Like I have a group there that's fine, and like nothing about it where it's like podcasting and comedy need to be like explained to me. Like I know what comedy is. I know when Bert is on stage with his shirt off, that's a comedy show. When I know Bert's rambling in a studio at someone and trying to make it about himself, that's a podcast. Like I can identify the distinction that I feel like
quite very simply.
Too Lazy to Try, Comedy Enforcement, and Podcast Cringe have this like inability to understand and discern that. And that's like a year ago, I was like,
Are they taking like Bert's comedy clips and like ripping them on that, or
they're doing the same thing that Who Are These Podcasts are doing, where they will take an Andrew Tate clip or like a Patrick Bet David clip or like, you know, anybody, the Barack Obama,
and cut it so there's no context to what's being said?
Well, no, they give you context. They give you a good amount of context to what's being said, but they just infuse it like that their misunderstanding of what is happening is somehow the broader misunderstanding as a whole. And I'm like, that's not a good assessment. Because like a year ago, they were great at this. Like they were all giving poignant observations on like Bert and Tom. And it's kind of like reinforcing some of the drama of it too, where like, it's like, are Bert and Tom going to stop doing Two Bears together? And
I
like,
think that's, you put me on to Too Lazy to Try during all the Bert and Tom shit.
because like it wasn't that it was profound or anything you couldn't discern yourself, but it was like it was consolidating a 2-hour podcast into like 10 minutes and explaining the drama,
Making me hate it.
Yeah,
Literally like made it ruined fucking it ruined Two Bears for me.
Well, I like turned
It was like my favorite podcast, and then you're like, "Hey, watch this video." I'm like, "Well, I hate both of them now."
and like I turned a corner on it though, because like this I want to kind of like put the ball back into like Bert's court, honestly, and like
One of our peers.
One of our peers.
We're shouting you out, Bert. We love you.
I would say Tom's court too, but he injured himself pretty
Yeah,
fucking
no more courts, Tom.
Yeah, devastating. He looks great, you know. He's looking healthy, but no more basketball, Tommy. So like these 3 fucking channels, it's like I still follow them, but like I watch videos where I'm like, I genuinely don't think you guys understand what this is, and I think you're getting frustrated, and your frustration is becoming very funny to me, but I don't know if they realize why their inability to understand how comedy and like kind of the world surrounding it works. But I want to like, so the biggest criticism of Bert has been that Bert ruins podcasts, and it's like that is consistent through all 3 of these channels.
I disagree.
Well, that's just it. I disagree
I
too.
enjoy Bert on a podcast,
but
I think the people that bitch at him ruin it.
well, just
Kill Bert's flow.
killing the fucking joint apparently.
I also kind of identify with Bert about interrupting.
I didn't want to say it, but
I see a lot of Bert in myself.
I'm a
Fat,
machine.
alcoholic, fucking.
What?
I'm the machine.
I'm a machine.
I say when I sit down in the cockpit. They call me the racing machine.
Instead of performing without a shirt on, you just perform without pants on. Dick's hanging
More
out.
flattering to me.
Yeah.
Torso's not good.
But like the things that like they always get on Bert about these 3 channels are that he like ruins podcasts and that he's not funny because he's such a narcissist.
It's self-centered.
And-
Yeah.
And like
That's what
I've had to
narcissism means,
I've had to like fucking turn the corner on them because it's like I don't think they genuinely understand comedy, because it's like Bert is funny. He was raised, but like he came up in a pool of like really fucking funny comedians in Boston, and like everybody's like, oh, he just
Boston?
relies Boston, yeah.
He's from Florida, and then he moved to New York, I thought.
Yeah, he's from Boston. That's where we met Rogan and Bob Kelly and all those guys too, because he used to work at some club in
Bert's
Boston.
not from Boston.
No, he's from Florida. His
Yeah.
dad is a district.
I didn't know he did comedy in Boston. I thought he moved to New York.
I think he moved
when he
to
was young.
New York after Boston. But like that was he's got Bob Kelly and like Patrice stories from when they were all Boston
No
comics.
shit.
Yeah. But like like I said, he's had a comeuppance with these like really fucking good guys that are like integral to comedy, modern comedy as a whole. Like you cannot have modern comedy being what it is without Louis C.K., Patrice, fucking DePaulo, Bobby Kelly, fucking Voss, and like all those Northeast
Bill
guys. Burr's a great example too. Like there's all these like great guys that he came up just on the tail end of, that are like now he's ingratiated in because they knew he cut his teeth with them. They're all popular. He's getting more popular, but he's like kind of still that like ugly stepchild. He's still a little bit left behind with all of them. So like when you compare Bert to like Burr or like to fucking Rogan or something like that, obviously it's not.
It's not as heady.
Yeah, it's not going to.
But he's not trying to be.
That's just it. He's not those people, and I hate when
Bert
people.
is like a more raunchy, like sitcom dad or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
He's
it's
just
campy.
he's just a fucking moron, and
Yeah,
that's like really
lovable idiot.
He's
Like-
a lovable idiot, and that's fine. And if he thrives in that, and it's like if you're
Just
annoyed,
a drunk uncle.
if you're annoyed by the fact that that's who his persona is, that's fine. But there is like every single one of these people has a video now about that pod that he did with Tom, where they're in Arizona, like plugging their vodka at a pool party, and every single one of them says this exact same fucking
that
thing.
was pretty rough.
It wasn't the most entertaining of Who Bears.
Was that this season's, or that was last year during the Super Bowl, right?
No, it's this year, I think, because Bert fucking. I think they did the same thing last year too. Where they,
I remember the one where he went on the blonde punter. What the fuck's his name?
the fucking TJ Watt or whatever. Or
No,
not
no.
TJ Watt. He's got the morning
Pat
show.
McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
Yes, he went on his like Super Bowl show or
Yeah,
something.
made a huge ass out of himself.
like
and,
it was like some rookie they were highlighting who was like won Rookie of the Year. Some like notable NFL player was on there like doing an interview and like promoting like his energy drink or something, Celsius Energy or something like that. And then Bert comes on and he's like, "Have you had Dos Pesos vodka or something, whatever they're fucking
something.
fucking Mis Huevos vodka? I don't fucking know, but made a complete was clearly hammered and like
Just
trying to give like this like 19-year-old NFL player shots or something. Like it was just a bad look.
well, he does shit like that. But like no,
It's fun.
It's just it. It's like, what do you expect? He's America's party boy, and that's like what you're supposed to get out of him. But like their criticism of him being like unlikable or like whatever, it's like Bert's thing kind of comes back to these 3 topics: touring, personal therapy and growth, and then like his life and staying relevant and being relatable. And it's like those are the 3 things that he really like. His comedy doesn't really gravitate.
He's a
around-
multimillionaire, but at the end of the day, he does relate to the common
Fuck,
man.
I meant to have the caveat too of that I didn't want you to think of specific money numbers for this topic specifically.
It's hard for me not to.
I know,
Every time
it's-
I leave a comedy show, I'm like, you think he made like 50K? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
$50 a seat.
I
He
was
said
like-
there was 5,000 seats in that Tony Hinchcliffe show. I'm like, he probably made $100,000.
I was like, I was gonna say like try to distance yourself from like thinking about like specific numbers on this, just because like I know it's very excusable when you're like he's successful, like he doesn't have to say, he can just say fuck you to everybody, because that is definitely built into who he is and his persona, and he has the ability financially and
but Bert wants to be like.
but that's just it. Like, so like I think that these people don't get that we don't care that Bert is annoying, or that we don't care that Bert is self-centered, or we don't care that all he talks about is touring therapy and like staying relevant. It's that he's funny. It's that he is dumb and funny, and that the fucking at the end of the day, your criticism of picking him apart, much like the criticism. It's like I know this is what you guys do. This is like your thing. You know, overanalyzing and scrutinizing comics and like their appearances on podcasts or their specials or whatever. But like all three of these fucking channels, it's like there was a point to all this, and it was real baseline, like very easy to understand. They're plugging vodka, they're getting fucked up, they want it to look like they're at a party. This guy's like trying to figure out if they hired a modeling agency to like load the party with people, which who cares? It's a fucking party. It's
marketing.
It's a marketing aesthetic. Like, and then like he's like,
They call it
peop-
activation.
He's,
in the
there's
business.
people that are doing cannonballs off the roof behind them, and that's like just distracting them from the podcast. It's like that's part of the fucking thing. It's like they didn't understand. Like, why this is funny to me is because we're doing an audio medium outside. What fucking problem do you have with people taking this and doing it the way that they fucking want to present? Like, I don't get where they come with this authority on, like,
If
you
we
know,
ever
this,
get criticized by Too Lazy to Try, dude, we fucking made it.
I fucking want to. I love the George Costanza and the Summer of George. Like, I love that part of it. And and he makes some interesting.
Part of me loves / hates his voice and delivery. Like sometimes I'm like, it works, and then sometimes you're like, you're fucking annoying.
Podcast cringe too. He's a British guy. So, well, Comedy Enforcement's like a Hispanic guy from
What
LA.
about that super aggressive one? That was like,
red
he
Red
like
Bar,
went over
Red
the
Bar.
top, and like his channel it has like 10K or something. Like it's like,
Well, he
he
delivered.
literally just like nuked dozens of comedians' lives
But-
publicly, and then like didn't even really stand to gain that much from it. Like was just being a cunt for no reason. Had Uncle Joey on Joe Rogan like, if I see that motherfucker, I'm gonna hit him with a baseball bat. Motherfuckers don't know I'll stab a motherfucker. He was literally like
Threatening,
steam
yeah.
coming out of his ears. Like I'm gonna fucking baseball bat this guy.
Yeah, Red
To
Bar.
which that guy played that clip and was like, senior citizen Uncle Joey is going to strike me with a baseball bat. I'd like to see it. Like, just completely a fucking cunt, dude. That guy is such a fucking dickhead.
Someone he I don't know if he went off in the comments or if he just like it just like was like something on his show, but someone referred to him as like East Coast angry Mark Maron, and like, I was like, that's spot on. That's a kill shot right there as far as I'm
Is the guy a
concerned.
comic or like what is...
He's like related to comedy because apparently Big J knows him or something like that, and like he's like he did one on Big J and how Big J's like a phony and a sellout, and Big J just like laughed through the whole thing, which is like very on brand for Okerson. But like you're like,
I love Big J.
it's like
I've seen a lot. I've seen like 4 of his eps on Are You Garbage, and it's given me a new Big J appreciation.
He's a great guy.
Good.
He's a funny.
He's a
guy.
good egg.
He's a fucking good one. But yeah, so like with the Bert,
He's from like South Jersey zone.
yeah, he claims he's from South Jersey. He's from Philly.
He's from
but,
Philly, but he spent his teenage years
Yeah,
in
like
South
him,
Jersey.
he has Wildwood stories, which I enjoy.
Pretty cool.
Can relate to that. So the Bert thing though, like just like Red Bar is a great example.
But you
of
went on a during that time period, like a year or so ago. Like you were big on the fuck Bert train.
No, it wasn't fuck Bert. It was that like Bert.
You were fuck Tom and Bert.
I was like, Two Bears it just isn't quality anymore, and these
I would
dudes are
send
doing.
you episodes, and you were like,
And these
I
du-
tuned out after 10 minutes.
And these dudes would like fucking point it out that it's like, yeah, the whole thing is LA centric. It's like what really got me was that they made a compelling argument when Tom had his crash out with both the stop being
United
poor
Airlines or
and the
whatever.
airline. Like both of those things made
his
him really.
rant about like Just because I have nice things.
Yeah, stop being poor. That's
Yeah.
that was his whole disposition was like, stop being poor and I'm better than you. And I'm like, you've completely lost me. But then like he's kind of come around, like not in that he's apologetic for that, but it's like he's embraced that he's like, I'm kind of the bad guy, and like I know it, and like I enable Bert to make money off this podcast.
He refers to his fans as dumb pores.
Yeah, and like he's really like embraced it, and I'm like, that is honest. And Bert has fully embraced being this
And
like.
to be honest with you, if I don't know, you started off as some like he worked at like a spa in LA and lived some shithole apartment, and now you have like private jet money. Like I would be kind of cunty and snobby about it too, dude.
I mean,
I don't fault Tom for like falling into that trap. You know what I mean? It could happen to anyone.
well,
where like
okay, so
you're suddenly making $50 million a year. How am I not fucking wearing rollies and driving fucking Porsches,
try not to fixate on the specifics, but I do.
I can't not, dude.
I know. But like
My name's Jacob Seymour.
it's an-
Dude. I got a little Jew in me.
Your name's not Jan. Anyway,
Money Lee. Shout out.
but this does back in the question. I want to know your honest opinion on this, because we seem to have like fairly consistent agreement on like who's funny and who's not. But like the LA thing doesn't bother you as much as it bothers me.
I didn't love it, but like, there for a period of time when LA was the thing, like the store was going. I'm talking mid 2010s or whatever, like 2016. You know, when it was like Joe Rogan, Bert, D'Elia, all these like big guys going up like every night at the store.
Yeah.
It was kind of like they all were talking about LA. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
Because
after a while.
but yeah, but no, I mean like LA like more as like the scene as a whole, because those guys were like good and they were very easy, because they were all like for the most part from other places that just moved to LA to get, you know, the notoriety that they have now.
TV
gotten.
and fucking comedy.
Exactly, but like there's I just mean more like, okay, so you don't seem to think of LA like in the terms that I think of LA, where I think of like LA as like the industry. You think of LA as just like, oh, that's where like people who are famous live, or like people who have extravagant lifestyles or money or whatever.
I know the film industry is out there, but like I honestly don't really have an opinion on LA one way or the other. Recently it's changed. So younger me would say like it's this nice, you know, California, like the nicest city in Cali or whatever, like the beach, the whole nine. Like you picture it differently. Now with all the Skid Row shit and all the videos I've seen online of like how LA is post COVID, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't go there.
Yeah,
Basically.
I don't really mean that. I mean more like,
Sorry.
it's okay.
I meant like my literal view on the city of LA.
Well, like
Used to think it was fancy. Now I think it's a dump.
it's always been a dump.
Yeah.
So I think of it more as like industry. Like when you think of like New York, I think of New York as industry. Like, and you go, like when I see Jay going up to Gotham or something like that, the reason he wants to perform on that stage is because of industry. Much like LA, it's like you moved to LA because of industry.
Might get noticed.
Yeah,
You're not going to get noticed in Wichita.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Okay. So like, LA is kind of this like fucking anomaly where it's like LA and New York are both these bubbles where it's like if you don't exist in there, it's like all you hear is people talking about them. But when you do live there, you're like in it, and it's like a little more rationalized. So like I've lived in New York. You've never lived in New York. You've been in New York, but you've never expressed interest in living in New York, nor do you.
I hate
really,
New York.
I really don't like it either. So
Philly's like the biggest city I can tolerate.
So like New York and LA are like their own little bubbles, and it's like very frustrating for someone who doesn't live in either LA or New York to hear people talk about their bubble like it's normal. And I think that Bert became a victim of that, but I can't tell if it's because he got too big too fast or if he's starting to self-sabotage because he's burning out. And I know that it's like an LA and a New York thing where you see comics like Attell, where you remember like how me and you had this like built up notion of Attell, like he's so funny, he's a comics comedian, and then we just watched him fucking take a wet fart on stage and we still cling to this fucking thing, and we're like, okay, like that was because he was doing something clearly for not
I
us.
was never honestly a fan of Attell, but I respected him because of how other comics spoke of him, and I was
Yeah.
like, maybe if I see him live, because I'd only seen like some old Comedy Central set when I was younger, and I was like, this guy's not for me. But
Yeah.
like I was excited to go see him live, and that really was a wet fart. It like I was like, fuck Dave Attell for like a couple weeks after that. But no, I still respect him as a giant.
But that was like a thing for industry, so it didn't really make sense to us because we're
he
like
released that special. It's like a 30-minute special where like the last 20 minutes he's just playing the recorder and like it doesn't land. He admits to it not landing on some podcast where he was like, I was just kind of burned out doing stuff, so I just
but that's what I mean. Okay, so like, do you think that Bert got too big too fast to where he's like he just doesn't know what to do, or do you think that he knows where he's at and he's just tired? Like, because
as far as what, like referring to what behavior, like just because he's drinking a lot, or
no, like creatively, do you think that he has room to grow and he's just kind of like he's just burnt out, or do you think that he's done and that this is pretty much like all he brings to the table, and if he continues to do this, it's just going to be consistently more of the same?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of his recent stand-ups. I don't know how that
You
is
just
faring.
dropped one on Netflix. It wasn't that good.
Okay, I'll have to check it out to have an opinion. It is his shtick is kind of like, pretty, not one-trick pony, but like
predictable, consistent, like.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's, I don't really have an opinion. I'm not like, I don't view myself as like the comedy authority. So if he's able to like get paid and move tickets, like I don't know. Like, even if it is a tired and it's a tired shtick and it's hacky or whatever.
What do you think about like him? Do you think that he's gonna keep doing Birdie Boy tours, or do you think that he's gonna go through
money?
So
I feel like Bert is very money hungry, and like you can't pass up that type of money. Like, why would you? Like, why would you stop? But I don't think it's like, now that his kids are out of the house too, I don't think it's like as daunting of a task to be on the road. You know what I mean? Like, he's not missing out. You know what I mean? Whereas before it would weigh on him. He would talk about his kids on the podcast and start crying and shit. I'm getting a little deep here.
I want you to stop talking about money.
I don't know if Bert's burnt out or if that he got too famous too fast. There's really no way for me to say either or. It's probably a little bit of both, but I don't view Bert as being burnt out. He seems as lively as ever. Like, he still seems like he's just going to get old and it's going to end poorly, but like,
he's
going to die of fucking alcohol-related health consequences before he's 60.
Do you see him like dying on the road, or do you see him like dying in LA, like doing something weird, like trying to do open tabs again or something? Like, we're trying to reinvent
he
himself.
will for sure die on that tour bus.
Okay,
he's just not going to wake up.
That really was what I was trying to get.
He's going to be like 52, still doing blow, fucking a little toot. For sure, dying on the road. I think Bert is going to. Why? Like, Bert enjoys being famous, and I don't see him like just being like, I had a good run, I'm going to hang it up. Like, whereas some guys kind of fade off into the distance or whatever, like stop touring, shit like that.
Right.
Like, I don't see Bert just taking like a residency in Vegas or something. Bert is Bert is the Rolling Stones. He's going to be up there if he's fucking 70, like still like
Mick Jagger getting.
I'm only allowed to have one cocktail a day, but they gave me muscle relaxers or something, and he just pulls out his saggy balls or something. Like, I don't know. I don't view Bert as burnt out, but I do agree that he got too big too fast, because he had like this off of the Machine clip that went around Facebook and stuff. He had like a literal overnight meteoric rise, like to where he was like to me, I wasn't even really too familiar with him until that clip. Like, he was like a guy who was on Rogan sometimes, but I don't think I'd ever seen his stand up, and like he became like an overnight brief. I don't think he's an A-lister anymore, but for a moment Bert had a year or two run where he was like, doing like Kimmel and shit and like fucking.
Well, yeah, it was during the COVID years when it was like he was the only tour. He was the only touring comic during COVID because he would do those fucking.
I think the peak and the beginning, the denouement or whatever the fuck it's called, from English class. That cloud don't look too promising over there, Kippy.
Actually, yeah, that's why I put the umbrella up, even though it's not sunny, just in case it starts raining. Fuck 'em.
I know you're worried about your equipment. I didn't know if you'd be out here or not.
Nah, we're fine.
But yeah, he fucking blew up off that clip and was like, I was gonna say, with the peak and the downfalls of that got to be that movie, because I feel like
she was bad.
That shit tanked, and it's just like, yeah, we kind of know what you are now. He's also had a lot of accusations of like being full of shit, which kind of hurts his
credibility.
Yeah, where he's like, I fucking hung out with Kurt Cobain or whatever his one story was, or it was just like,
he saw Nirvana or something like that.
Yeah, like I saw them perform it live at a garage party, and it was just like it was like Grease Gun analogy, where like it wasn't even like they weren't in that city at that time.
They played FSU or something
in like touring Asia or something like.
Yeah,
something like that, where it was just like one of those podcasts that you mentioned like ripped it apart. So like, I don't know. I do like Bert though. I never fully turned on him. You for a minute there, you were like,
I didn't turn on him as much as I was just like, he's someone that I can't like, because the way I was ingratiated in, Bert was rather ingratiated into my life, was he was on Opie and Anthony back when it was Opie and Anthony. I was listening to this episode live.
Yeah, that was one of the first introductions to Bert I had.
Bert was with Bob Kelly, and they were talking about motorcycle gangs, and Bert talked about some hell gig he had to do where he was like, I was like in Indiana or Ohio or something like that, like, because he's from Florida, and his dad, and you got to think, bear in mind that I had a parent that was a lawyer too, and he tells this wild fucking story about being somewhere in the Midwest, and this biker gang shows up at one of his gigs, and they're pretty much the only people at the gig, and they have a prospect with them that's like in colors, but he doesn't have the patches and shit, so he knows, he's kind of piecing together what's up, and he's like, I better do good because they're going to get this prospect to kick the shit out of me if I don't make them laugh. So he goes up on stage, bombs, and then afterwards, like, people are like, "What the fuck was that?"
Start roasting the prospect or something.
The bikers like come up to him and are kind of like, "Hey, you tried or whatever, but
You're a good kid.
like you might not like comedy's not really your thing or whatever."
You ever ride a bike?
Like breaking his balls and whatnot, and he's like, "Hey, by the way, like, you're into the subculture of it, not into it, but I mean, like, you're aware of it. You have."
I followed a few YouTubers.
But like, you know how like in biker gangs everybody's got like a gang nickname like and whatnot, so
Most gangs.
Bert just starts spouting off like, he's like, hey, do you guys by any chance they're like chubby and stinky and like
tiny and fucking Bigfoot
and piney and like, and they're like, whoa, what the fuck, like, they're like, how the fuck do you
Those
know
guys are gods.
they're like how do you know them, but how do you know them by those names, because you're a civilian, you should only know them by like
Peter
John
and Mike,
like John Davis or whatever. And he's like, oh no, my dad represented the Hells Angels chapter out of like Sarasota, Florida, and then like one of the head guys comes up, she's like, you're Al Kreischer's kid? I remember you when you were a little kid. We would all go to his office and he'd be like running around. And I was like, dude, so many times in my life has that happened to me where it's like, oh, I met so and so because I just happened to be at my mom's
I was supposed
office.
to do a dime. Your mom got me down to 2 years. I got off in 1. I love you.
And like dumb
whatever you need, kid.
like dumb shit like that, where it's like, that's extremely relatable to me, and that's where I kind of became overjoyed and was like, Bert is like, I want to find out as much as I can about this guy. That I found out
2
Wilder,
autistic lawyers kids.
yeah, exactly.
2 peas in a pod.
Dude, and like, he has pressures that only I can identify with and understand, because it's like there's a huge demand as a lawyer's kid to be a lawyer, and like you've got, it's very, you become
How
a Bert.
stoked was your mom when you said, I want to go to film school?
Pissed. Miserable the whole fucking time. She's like,
Did you have the grades to go to a decent law school? Does Hofstra do
I
law?
minored in English just to keep her happy, because she's like, you can always go back.
That's
and
where you get all the words
your,
from.
Your
You eloquent
LCATs
prick.
or whatever.
Damn. Does Hofstra do law? Is that like a prestigious law school?
They have a good law school.
When did you go to Hofstra Law?
Now.
Where'd she want you to go if she had it pick?
Well, she said if I wanted to pursue law, I would go to Dickinson and then Emory like she did. So like I would go get the degree from Dickinson and then get my master's from Emory, and like I just, it never, like, I like language, but like law is just boring, and it's like you have to like it's so much
Ever
ass
been to
kissing.
court?
I've been to court.
Yeah, imagine going to court every day for work. Sounds
it
fucking
sucks.
terrible.
It's terrible, man. It's not Law
Just
and Order.
the tension in the air, dude. It's horrible.
It's every time I go in there too, I would try to like make the joke. I'm like, bum, like it was Law and Order, and she would be like, it gets so old. That's so hack. Like, knock it off.
Your mom comes in home from work. You're like, dun 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 dun.
And I get to do my Ice Cube impression.
So today I represented another.
Renee. Turns out that we found the woman's pussy thawed off.
I hate SVU, dude.
The dumpster behind Acme. You
Are
represent.
you Skip Lipari?
Wait, what?
The guy in Sopranos with the lisp who was like the FBI agent that had big puss ratting.
No, I'm doing. That was the fat guy. No, this is Ice Cube from.
Oh, he has a lisp too. I didn't know
You
you
didn't know Ice Cube has a lisp?
I didn't never notice it.
He's got that black guy lisp. He's
I
like,
got news for you. That means you're gay.
He's wired for sound. You know it's the wrong guy, but it's just both Italian meatballs.
Holy shit.
Zero.
Holy fuck.
Wired for sound.
My question for you as an
Sandwiches.
attorney's kid is, Did your mom ever do like defense attorney type shit? Where
That's all she was.
so she had people on trial and stuff where
Hell yeah.
like kind of she was.
She didn't argue open court too much. Like she was more like she was good at getting shit settled.
The question is, and you don't have to go into details or like.
Okay, everything's off the books now. Like I mean, she's been dead for a while, so I can talk about pretty much.
Just
everything.
basically, was there one that she felt like got away from her that she wanted back? Like where someone went to jail where she's like, I could have done a better job.
Nothing like of that. Like
Like
her,
one that, like the one that like kept her up at night or like bothered her or anything like that.
there was a lot that bothered her. There was one that really, it was a profound one, and the only reason I really remember it or it sticks out to me is because there was a photo taken of all the legal teams, like because it was multiple. She worked for an insurance company. She was a defense attorney for like. Litigators would basically outsource to her, and then she would figure out how the insurance company wanted shit handled, and was just really good at doing that. And like most of the time, like I said, she had like a 90% out of court settlement rate. So like, she's really good at it. And like what she was doing too is like people would be like, "Oh, she's a defense attorney. She's like the scummiest of the scumbags." I'm like, actually, what she's doing is making sure that people's insurance rates stay stable because she identifies fraud and has like a real preternatural ability to identify people that are fraudulently approaching the system, and has this like ability to see shit like I don't know, she was so good at what she did where like I can't think of one specifically off the top of my head, but like it would be like, how do you know that this guy's not got a back problem? And she'd be like, well, because we have a private investigator that
he was playing hoops.
that videotaped him mowing his lawn and playing basketball in his driveway.
Literally
and shit
just next to his trailer park.
yeah, and like my mom was just like really good at like getting hard. Like you wonder why I got so hung up on the thing with you getting pulled over. Like it's like about the facts of the like what you gave them versus what it was. So like she would one that got away from her that like it wasn't.
I'm picturing like she's defending someone on like just some criminal like theft or something or like
nothing like that.
Yeah, like picture like literally defending a plaintiff and like there's what she thought she could have got them off and they ended up doing 5 years or something where it's just like
yeah. So like this one was all the defense teams that she was on for this one photo that I'm gonna try to paint the picture for you. There was a girl that died in a car accident. There was like 5 people involved in the car accident, and they wanted to hold someone culpable. But I can't remember if either nobody got held accountable for the accident or the person just didn't get like an adequate sentence. It was just like a slap on the wrist probation or something like that. But they wanted somebody to like get jail time because a little girl died. And they were going over at the last day of the case, they were going over the facts of the case before it went to the jury decision. And while they were reading the facts of the case, my mom started crying like uncontrollably because of how horrific this girl died in a car accident and why they should prosecute this guy, but they didn't get the outcome they wanted. So all the photos from them afterwards, because all the lawyers, because it was a big team effort, took a photo together. My mom is just like sobbing.
Damn.
And it's like, oh, that's a rough one, but like that's like more what it was. Like she did pro bono work, because when you're on the bar you have to do a certain amount of pro bono hours every year or month or whatever, and she would have a couple of them from like Camden County Jail that were just real fucking morbid, or like and it was usually the people were in the right, but it's like they just witnessed something horrific. Like I don't remember.
I was gonna say, was there ever one where like, not that she's the bad guy, but she's representing someone that's like clearly guilty. Like, you know, they're like, how does, you know, Tumulty represent this rapist and like try and like this guy's guilty of sin, and like some, you know, hotshot defense attorney is just like, I'll take the fucking case.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, did she ever have one like that where she didn't really like the person she was representing or something like that?
Never her, because like I said, she
She's doing
dealt
insurance
with like insurance. So she was on the advocate on behalf of the insurance company or the person that would outsource to
Sure,
her.
she's got some
But
buddies with some
I was
stories.
gonna say, it was like she dealt, the running term was ambulance chasers. Before that became like a real popular term in pop culture. Like my mom would
That was a
refer,
big scam in the 90s and the early
huge.
2000s.
That was when she was cutting her teeth
Slip
in
and
this
fall
shit.
school.
Dude, fucking insurance scams at Walmart was like the biggest fucking one when they first opened
That's
that Walmart
garbage.
in fucking in Vineland. It was like 90 of those cases came through it. She's like,
Vineland
no,
is such a
we're
shithole,
not
dude.
doing this. Like,
Vineland and that whole area is
yeah,
fucking
Millville,
garbage.
that's where she worked too. So like you can only imagine.
Bridgeton, oh my god, dude.
She had this.
Sorry, Bisha.
Shout out Bryna.
Cumberland County can fucking get nuked.
Shout out Bryna, the lady that was the secretary at the law firm was this like old. She was like a go-go dancer in Vineland in the 60s, but she was a black woman. It was like she's a gorgeous black woman too. But yeah, she was like older, and like people would call up and be like, "Yo, I need to talk to so and so about my baby mama," and I would walk in and she would be like, "Joey, can you hang on 1 second? You mean the mother of your child? He'll be right with you." Click. I'm sorry about that. And like she's just like the mellowest old black lady ever, but like she would absolutely be like, these goddamn lawyers are driving me up the wall with the cases they're taking and shit. The clientele they're bringing into this establishment. It's a disgrace.
It's got to be a rough one. Like the guys get caught with the CP on their laptops, or like the stuff like the lawyer representing them.
Never
like,
really got anything like that.
I'm saying like there's got to be lawyers that represent them that are like,
I can
this
tell
is
you,
fucked up.
I can tell you one firsthand. I can't tell you the lawyer though. And I will,
it's fine. I don't need names. I just like stories.
I will conveniently omit like how I know this guy too. But there was a lawyer. Just leave it at that. He told me a story where he knew this guy was dead to rights wrong on whatever it was, and he had a warrant issued for his arrest, and the warrant was for drugs and gun. Or no, it was for guns and like I don't know,
stolen Xboxes.
Nah, like something more like felony than that. Not like CP or
ghost gun or something.
No, it was like bomb manufacturing or something like that. Something that's like something that like really raises your suspicion where you're like, okay, yeah, this is probably someone that needs a warrant. And like the guy
I'm 2A. I'm all for your guns, but you're making bombs, dude.
Terroristic threats or materials or something of that nature. Yeah. But it was like some white dude from like Millville or Bridgeton or whatever, and the cops got a warrant. They kick his door in and they have him like in cuffs, and he's like, I'm gonna call my lawyer. Calls the guy up. The guy comes down. He's like, all right, what's the nature of the warrant? And basically gets a little one-on-one time with the guy, and the guy was just like in cuffs in his garage, and they're all around him is like SWAT team going through his shit, and like records. They're talking about like, you know, FFL transfers and stuff like that, because I don't know how he was tied in, but he was in the gun trade and whatnot. But the TLDR of it is that this guy is in cuffs, and at one point all the cops like leave to go kind of figure out how they're gonna execute the warrant or whatever, how they're gonna process this, so that this guy stays in cuffs. And he just goes, don't let them look up. And he's like, okay, and then didn't even bother looking up himself. So they basically had to let the guy go, because what they were looking for they couldn't find on the warrant. They gave him a 30-day like till trial, and then they're gonna have to like basically like they gave him some leeway, so he got uncuffed and they let him go. They turned him loose, but then the lawyer stayed there with him, and he was like, what did you mean don't look up? So you know how in your shed you have those exposed beam rafters? All up there was all these illegal guns and
shit,
like
dude.
drugs and shit, like all like exactly what
bullets,
they were looking for. And it was just
when they left, he probably could not fucking believe himself. Like
he was like they were like tucked in a way where it didn't look suspicious. But if you
in like totes or something,
well, they were looking because there's like stuff that looks like it could match the criteria of what they're looking for in plain sight, but they would have just walked right over to it. They wouldn't have like looked, and it was like a tight little spot too, but like literally the guy was like in cuffs. He's just like, don't let him look up. And it was like, yeah, a couple keys, some fucking automatic
dude.
Machine gunnery, like, yeah,
he's a good lawyer.
Got him off. I think the guy ended up dying, if I'm not mistaken. I think he got mowed down by the cops, if I'm not mistaken.
Math checks out for sure. Good riddance.
But well, that was a different lawyer. Like I said, I've heard some horror stories. There's one I heard about a guy who rode a jet ski directly into another lady.
Oh,
and the way he hit
sounded
her,
fun when you said jet ski, but
he took her leg off above the knee. And the leg was still attached by like a couple tendons.
Propeller got her?
No, he ran it in like
just
nose
blunt
first.
force trauma.
Yeah, it like popped her femur in half, like it like above the knee. It ran into her so hard that it just chopped her leg off, and it was hanging by like a couple of tendons and some skin. So this guy has to like hop into the water and basically like hold her leg on and try and fashion a tourniquet out of like what was available, like some life vests and stuff. And the Coast Guard had to get called, and she got like air transferred like up to Philly and whatnot. It was a whole fucking mess. But I remember hearing about that one because they weren't sure if the guy should be tried for reckless endangerment or attempted involuntary manslaughter. And that's like a big, like, even though it's not murder or attempted murder or whatever, it's still a big jump between those two.
You take a leg, you got to do like 7 years.
That's what I'm like. Even
was he drunk?
No, he was just being reckless. Like I don't remember the outcome.
Swimming or like
no, they were on jet ski. They were both on jet skis, and he ran into her jet ski, and the
ouch. Ouch, dude. Oh my god.
And
You look down, your leg is just hanging off like
well, it
fucking
was
Joe Toy.
apparently,
My
like
leg!
it was pretty bloody, like instantaneously. And there
You
was
got sharks.
Nah, it wasn't like that wasn't a factor, but just more that they were like they weren't sure how to charge the guy, and it was like one is like 10 years with.
We
like,
got to take
no-
your leg off with a forklift.
Yeah,
And, now,
and then the other one
or you
is
can
like
do 5 in Bayside.
It's like 4 with the chance of probation. Like, yeah, they weren't sure how to throw that, but I remember that one stuck out to me. I told it on here the one.
That's a
When
tough
I took
one, man.
my driver's ed the 6 hours. My mom, we're having breakfast, and she just like slaps that fucking person that got split in two going over the Mays Landing intersection right there by Walmart and Popeyes yeah.
Pedestrian or
Yeah, we talked about this on here. The day I was so I was going out for my 6 hours. I'm in my underwear eating breakfast. My mom comes out with a big ass fucking manila folder and slaps it down on the kitchen table. And she's like, turn to page 41. And it's just this picture of like a torso that got dragged. And then like,
there's a reason you are the way that you
yeah.
are, Joseph.
And then like the next one is like
she just
legs.
best scores you while you're eating
And
fucking
she's
Lucky
like,
Charms.
she's like, are we gonna pay attention when we're out on the road today? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Like, yeah,
Fair
we
enough.
are. Yeah, but yeah. So like, I remember that one. There was the nearly headless Nick guy. I've told that on here too.
The what?
So they have little silly names, like nicknames for the cases, because it's like boring to just refer to it as like civil suit 1018256 or whatever. So they have little nicknames or the plaintiff's names or whatever. If the name is funny, they'll sometimes do that. So nearly headless Nick was a guy. He was trespassing, but he was running his ATV through someone's field, and there was chicken wire that wasn't a booby trap. It just was chicken wire that was there to prevent people from going through a trail. And he 3/4 of the way decapitated himself. Also had his head hung on by his spinal cord, not his neck, his spinal cord.
As someone who rides on random properties, that scares the shit out of me.
And he was one of like 8 people at the time in the entire world that had his head reattached and had full recovery. Like, was one of like 8 people that had that surgery. But yeah, they handled that case, and it was referred to as the nearly headless Nick case.
Probably rides with fucking that chain thing from the medieval times, dude.
Hans device.
Just a fucking race car seat on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's
Contact.
I've seen the posted signs, like the yellow posted signs, private property. Not during hunting season, usually in the off season, like summertime or something. But totally out, like off 49. There's all these random trails and like you get back there and it's like chained off. But you can go around on a dirt bike and like. I go slow because I'm literally like worried that I'm gonna fucking get decapitated and like I always go back for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes and I'm like, let me get the fuck off this property before I get like
shot.
You never know. I've stumbled upon some creepy shit out in the woods. Like this one was all these signs like out. It was out in like it's technically like Estelleville. It's like Mays Landing. But It's like there's a creepy old church back there, and then if you take that road back, there's a big old like a lake, and then there's another pit over there like you can ride in with like these steep hills. And I took this trail back behind the lake, and it looked like someone was just like living in this strange encampment back in the woods. Like
Nice.
it was weird. There's all these signs like keep out, like we'll shoot or something like that. And I never turned around so fast. It literally looked like something out of a horror movie, like this weird fucking encampment. Like, I don't know. I found some creepy shit too out by like Vineland area. There's this, it looked like an old hunting lodge, which was like, you stumble upon some shit like that sometimes, but like there was like this weird like seance-y looking like thing made out of wood. Like, I don't know.
An altar?
It looked like it was like meant to be burned, and it looked real witchcrafty and weird. And it's like I'm 10 miles out into the woods and I don't really know where I am. I'm just that one I fucking peeled the fuck out and bailed.
Later.
Yeah, that was off like Cape May Avenue or whatever. Like the kind of trails that led to it were off that dirt road that your dad got stalked off of.
Yeah.
So it was out that way.
Okay.
And I found this weird like creepy like witchcraft fucking altar thing in the fucking middle of the woods in front of this building with no windows, and I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here right now. More than likely there was a neighborhood near it, probably just some dumb fucking teenage girls doing like witchcraft.
Some big titty goth chicks.
Yeah, just some dumb shit. But when you stumble upon that, like you're all alone in the woods, it's like sunset, you're like, I'm fucking out of here, dog.
One of my
The
favorite.
woods are creepy.
One of my favorite things is I just watched the episode of Family Guy where Peter gets his back cracked, so he gets like a couple inches taller, and then he keeps like convincing girls to kill themselves online because he's claiming he's Slender Man. And like the Slender Man story is fucking hilariously fucking stupid, but like it does suck that it resulted in loss of life. But the weird New Jersey ones that are like of the same like kind of like, I don't know if you've thumbed through that book in a while, but there are some that are very funny. The ones that the Clifton time portal was my favorite because it's like clearly a guy that just like walked out in the woods, fell in a hole, and knocked himself out, but he claimed he time traveled. And I'm like,
I mean, who hasn't time traveled?
I mean, we call it to kill.
A couple Miller Lights. Might fucking fall down.
But yeah, it just was like the weird New Jersey article about this guy was like firmly convinced he found a time portal, and I was like, I think you just fell in a hole and hit your head. Like, it's not really that deep. What we got, the Tina segment?
No, I have to text my mom. You're good.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's okay. We could. I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
Right
and
on. Let's
then,
take an intermission.
intermission.
I can talk racing.
Racism.
Well, that Bubba Wallace almost won the race, but he came home in third. He really hit up.
Boring.
I'll leave you. I'll leave you to your devices.
Yeah. We can go into it now. Before NASCAR, your boy caught an indefinite ban on iRacing, which I reached out to them and apologized, and they bumped it down to 3 months. So I'm suspended from iRacing for 90 days, to which I have to reappeal and hope that they reinstate me. But they said you can. I was very candid in my apology. I laid it all out and admitted to all my wrongdoings and apologized for it.
That was a very sincere.
I was embarrassed because I was like, I just joined this team, like a little community of, they do setups and they have like group chats on Discord, and like, I'm like, now I'm gonna have to make an alt account and like lie about who I am, and like, I'm not going pro sim racing or anything, but it just felt like, I don't know, now I burned my name on iRacing, so I just wanted to like get in front of everything and admit to it and like try and get back in good standing.
I need to get these allegations addressed.
I just took a plea immediately. I was like guilty, like I'm sorry. But long and short, I ran a race one night. This guy ended up, he is better than me. He's like a 2000 iRacing. Apparently he's been on there like
How many
12
are you?
years. I'm around 1500. 2000's not anything great. The elite are like 10,000. Really good is like 4,000. 2000's like to the average Joe is respectable, but like nothing to write home about. I led 75 of 80 laps. I burned my shit up. He was faster than me. I was blocking the shit out of him. I will admit some fault, but I'm going for the win. He gets into me and turns me. I'm very upset. It's going to under caution in the series we're running, so there's no like green-white checker or anything like that. It's just like he won the race, and I finished 6th now, and I was pissed. So under caution, coming to the checkered, I just went and bumped him. Like nothing too crazy, but he like saw it coming, held the brake, and spun around. It gave him enough incident points to where he got disqualified, so he didn't win. Which literally what happened is I run into him and then his car just disappeared, and I started cracking up. It was like the funniest thing in the world to me, because when you get disqualified, you fucking disappear. Basically, you can get into like 4 accidents a race, and like that was, I hit him hard enough where it registered it as a 5th incident, and he got disqualified for fucking too many incidents.
Incident.
Yeah. So he was pissed and wrote this fucking book report to iRacing about it. I think I got a warning because it was a fresh alt account, and like it's kind of like a strike system. So like that was a fresh slate, so I got like a warning for it. But I fucking did it to myself, where I was so bothered by his like lengthy essay of a report about me, where he failed to mention that he wrecked me for the win, that I found him on the iRacing forum and messaged him and was like, "Nice book report, Cupcake." Like, and the head official on iRacing, his name is Nim Cross. And I said, why don't you send another essay to your daddy Nim or something like that? And he screenshotted that and sent it to iRacing. And then he did his research and figured out that I was clearly...
Multi-accounting.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Jake Seymour and Jake Seymour 2. One stopped racing the day of my suspension, and one made the account the day of my suspension. Because my old account was suspended for 1 month. So I just made a new account, which I'm banking tons of money in iRacing's pocket, buying all of the tracks. That was my 3rd account, by the way. I had one in Christina's name at one point. And when I caught the indefinite ban, I tried to make another account in Christina's name, which they let me do, but then it immediately banned my account. So they hardware ID banned me, IP banned me, whatever. So I could go one of two ways. I could have bought a new laptop, bought some new gear, but I just wanted to, I don't know, I just wanted to do my time because I didn't like, I didn't like being suspended and playing on another account. I felt like I was looking under my shoulder, like I'm fucking got a fake over my shoulder. Yeah, I want to just start new, do my 3 months, get back on there, a little reset for sure. I was really bummed the first night, but I've kind of just accepted defeat because I don't know. I've been a cunt. It's like in my head I'm right, but like you can't do that and not expect to get suspended. Like
it's
I'm
a video game. You should be able to do whatever you want. You should be able to put a GTA sim on there so you can fucking do drive-bys.
I agree.
Shit.
But I've been retaliated against and I didn't like it, so it's just like I get it and I admitted fault, and I honestly was relieved that it wasn't permanent, because that's when I was like legit upset, because it is, you know, pretty much my main hobby at this point, and it was like indefinite ban, and I was like, fuck. And I sent it to the group chat of the team I joined, Elite Performance Industries or something, fucking EPI, and
eat pie.
Normally on Facebook or Reddit and the iRacing stuff, if you mention that you got banned, you just get ratioed. Like, they're like, you're a fucking scumbag, like, good riddance, like, don't come back. Like, it's this real snobby, elitist, like, just douchey fucking, like, hive mind, like, culty bullshit of iRacing culture.
Sounds fun.
It's gay. It's, like, super gay. But I sent it to the late model group chat that I'm in, and the one guy who's, like, legit 5,000 level, he's, like, a pro. He builds setups, like, makes a living on iRacing. He was just like, hey, man, like, that indefinite ban isn't permanent. Like, if you apologize, they'll reduce it to 3 months. He's like, just learn from it. Like, he's like, I've been permabanned twice. Like, just fucking, and this guy's like a 5,000 iRating, legit, like, professional.
I trust his word.
He was like, it happens, homie. Like, don't get too messed up about it. Because I was panicking, like, oh, I'm going to be fucking, I've ruined my good name. But nah, I crashed out hard. And then, I don't know, for someone who was racing on an alt account, after like 2 weeks, I got it in my mind. I was like, iRacing's stupid. I can just keep buying accounts. Like, every time I catch a ban, just spend another $100, buy the tracks I need for that month, get the membership for $8 or whatever. Like, I was just like, whatever, dude. I'll just keep throwing money at this. And then hardware ID banned me, and it's just like, anytime I tried to log in, it was like error 500 or something, and it was like suspended account in all red letters. I was like, they got me. So
that's your red ring of death nowadays, when you're just like, it's just work, just do it.
It wouldn't. Yeah, it's fucked.
Load.
It's just. I played that day, and then I went out that night, and I was like all excited, and it was like, it's logged out. I'm like, that's weird. I try to log in, and it's just like error, like subscription is timed out, and I'm like, my subscription goes till the end of April. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then like, the alt account was set up with a different email, obviously, a Gmail account, and they emailed my main Yahoo email, and they were like, "Hey, bud," they're like, "Hey, you're permanently banned. All of your accounts are too." It's like, do not make another account.
Stop.
So I immediately went and made another account, and that got immediately banned.
How many times?
So then I was just like,
whack this dude for $100.
It's not 100, but it's literally like $8 to sign up for a month, and then probably like $50 in cards and tracks. Yeah, but you don't have to buy them. You can. There's free stuff on there.
It's free to play.
I just like to do NASCAR and late models and stuff like that. But yeah, I did it to myself. I'm a fucking idiot. I tend to fucking, I don't know. Tina like thought it was funny, which made me like more fucking pissed. Which like it is.
Nothing worse than that.
I get it.
Nothing worse than that.
This is my fucking passion.
You're my
You don't even care.
You're at your lowest, your moment of weakness, and your chick just
She's
comes
like
over,
giggling.
kicks
She's
you
like,
in the
why are
nuts.
you getting so mad? Like, it's just a game. It's just a game. I'm like, you don't fucking understand. I'm doing battle every night.
Yeah.
Heated competition. She's like, yeah, you're heated. That's why you keep getting banned. I'm like, oh. But no, it's most.
I'm getting steamy under the collar for you right now, dog.
All of my things. There was one in the beginning that's embarrassing. I drove backwards on the track. It's pretty tasteless. When it comes to iRacing, that's a pretty big no-no. All of my other ones were, I got wrecked by someone, I got angry, and I smashed him back. I got the third man in call. Like, it wasn't.
You driving backwards on the track.
I did that. I got reported like 100 times. Like, everyone in that race reported me. I got. Normally you get a warning for the first offense. I got a week for my first offense, which is rare. And it's because I drove backwards like 200 miles an hour. I took out the leaders.
Look at your fucking history in Mainland hockey.
Yeah, no, I'm at fault. I'm an idiot. And then Tina was like, "What's going to be different in 3 months?" And I like candidly was like, I said nothing. I'm for sure. I'm coming back in June. I said by July I'm going to be fucking banned again.
This is gonna be.
She's like, "So why even go back?" I'm like, "I'm trying to do better.
I'm working on
I
myself.
went all Bert. I'm like, "I'm trying to be a better person." But yeah,
This is my therapy.
I think what's different is I'm going to sit for 3 months. Every other band, I would just buy a new account. There was no accountability. I could
This
just
is a
throw
learning
money
curve.
at.
This is actually a learning
This is
curve.
like, I don't want to have to sit out. I enjoy doing this, so I'm going to have to behave myself. And it's like, if I lose a race because some guy wrecked me, like, that sucks. But, like, I can't tell him to go fuck himself, and I can't smash his video game car because in their fucking rules, you can't do that. And it's like, in that instance, I have to learn to just take the L because it's like now I can't race for 3 months because of one race that was just 1 hour. And it's like in the grand scheme, in 3 days I would have forgot about it and like I could still be racing right now. But it's like I can't let like it's like just disconnect and join another race. It's like just like, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
video game. I got to stop risking my video game freedom for fucking.
Well, it's funny you say this because I
It's
did.
very satisfying to fucking.
I want to do the NASCAR segment, but the crash out thing specifically, like doing your time. And whatnot. I watched a guy get a 24-hour ban from the poker room because he told a dealer to go fuck himself, and then was in full denial that he said I told it. He said no, I just said fuck yourself, and it's like no, and then it's like he was
Yeah.
like realizing in real time, like yeah, I fucked up, and like it was like watching like a little kid who's like, I know I'm getting grounded, but I don't know the sentencing yet, and the guy was like 24 hours, you come back later, and the guy was like fuck that, and he's like I can make it more, and then the kid's like going through the motions again of like I want to say my piece, but I can't because I can't
Yeah.
say it without saying fuck. And then like I saw him on the casino floor later. And I was like, "You good?" He's like, "I'll go back in there tomorrow. It'll be fine." I don't know what came over me. And he's like, "Maybe it was the 9 bourbons I was drinking." And I was like, "Yeah, that was probably what did it."
I did that where multiple guys in suits came up to me at Bally's at like 5 a.m. I was getting my dick kicked in. That was to date, I was like 21, and I think I lost 300, which was like all of my money, and then like overdrafted my account in fucking ATM fees because it was I didn't do the smart thing of just like I lost my first 100. Let me take out another 100 or whatever. I was taking it out in like $30 increments and like trying to like carve my way back. But every $30 was a $10 fucking fee. So I had like $10 ATM fees. So I donked $400, which was more than my weekly paycheck at that point. So I was really, really hurting. And we had fireball, airplane shots. We were getting after it. I'm wearing a suit. The dealer's name that we had the entire night, his name was Dung. So I just kept saying, like, your name means shit. Like, I just kept being a fucking dickhead. Some dealers, they take your money, but they do it with a smile. Like, this guy was, and it may have been the Hennessy and Red Bulls that I was drinking, but in my mind, this guy was getting some sick pleasure out of watching all of us lose our fucking minimum wage paychecks, because we were all, like, fresh 21, like, literally making $10 an hour, like, shit jobs. Like, it was me, Shep, Stu, someone else. But, like, I hated this fucking guy, and I was cussing him out, and, like, they threatened to like if we have to come back here, like you're out of here. Like they not empty threat, but like they threatened me with that like twice. And then at that point it was like 6 a.m. and I was like, I'm really sorry. Like I'm just gonna go. Like
I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, I'm being an asshole. I got my dick kicked in tonight. Like Dung, I love you, buddy. Like I'm sorry. Like,
Dung, you're a good guy.
but no, at one point it was because I said like fuck you, Dung, and he's like, he say fuck you, fuck
they
you, and like
flip out about
these
that,
dudes came flying over and like you can't fucking say that. I'm
they
like
flip
fuck
out.
him, like fuck you guys too. So we left in a huff, but
There's some times where you like I told this on here already, but I got in massive trouble for calling, not because it wasn't one of the casino employees, it was just a guy playing craps, but he was betting against me, and I told him just a big fat guy wearing a green hoodie, and I said he looked like a sea turtle. And the pit boss was like, "Whoa, you can't just insult people like that." I was like, "Watch me. What's that fucker gonna do about it?" And she's like, "You can't." Like I didn't say anything that was like too inflammatory, but like it was enough where they're like, "Yo, calm the fuck down."
that's not even that bad.
Fresh out of the fucking strip club, it's like I just saw like 60 boobs, and I'm like, "Fuck this guy! You bet against me. You don't even know where I've been tonight."
Like, sea turtle.
Yeah,
The-
fucking sea turtle.
I was reading all about iRacing bans, and the one that made me laugh, because you can get banned for like cursing and like shit like that on the chat or in the voice chat. And someone said, I got a month off for calling someone a sandwich. I was like, that's fucking brutal, dude.
Sand, all right. Which? That's just
I'm
a
like, I don't
tasty
even
treat.
get the insult, like unless it was a woman racing, but like it
Oh,
wasn't like I told her to make me a sandwich. He's like, I literally called someone a sandwich and like got a month off. I'm like, yeah, iRacing is like Nazi fucking communist Russia. Like it's, but I literally had to like bow down and like be like, I'm so sorry. My track record is embarrassing. Like I've just been displaying abhorrent behavior since my stint in iRacing. I'm ready to start fresh. Like, or I said something like, this isn't even appealable. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. And they were like, all right, we appreciate that. Like I had to literally hiss the ring and be like, I'm so sorry, guys. Please let me come play my racing game that I paid hundreds of fucking dollars for. That was what I was most upset about. Was I told you this? If I lost my main account, I'd probably literally lose like $400 worth of cars and tracks, because like
It's not an easy one to look. You know, that's like
it's not like life
getting your-
altering, but it's just like.
It's getting your Xbox repossessed. That's not. It's not a fun feeling.
But we've moved on. We're playing Assetto Corsa Competizione, so racing Lamborghinis around.
Operation Dynamite.
I suck at road courses, but it's fun. I downloaded one. It's called R Factor 2, and apparently it was like the most realistic feeling tire model or some bullshit. It was made in 2013, and it doesn't look like they've done any updates to it since. Like it's just, I don't know. I tried to play an online race. It was like competitors online, 0. It's just me by myself in some lobby.
Yeah.
The whole interface is super glitchy and laggy. Like it pissed me the fuck off. I spent over an hour trying to like just get a fucking race started. Like just like everything kept lagging and fucking fuck R Factor 2. So like the other big name sim is Assetto Corsa, but it's all road course. I only got R Factor because they have oval stuff on there, but I played Dover, and it, like I said to you, it felt like I was playing like
Cruising USA.
literally. It was so bad. It couldn't even be called a sim. Like NASCAR Heat 5 would be a better sim than this, whatever this was. And I was like, this is bullshit. So
Sim City.
I bought Assetto Corsa, and it's fun. I don't know. It scratched the itch for me last night. I'm sure I'll get fucking over it, but I'm like, I was saying to Tina, I'm like, am I going to become like a fan of like Porsche, like GT3 racing now? Like waking up at 7 a.m. to watch like, because that's what this is. It's like road courses, is like Lambos and like sports car racing on road courses in Europe.
Do they show that? Like, does it televise?
I'd have to watch it like on a stream or something. But I'm
Okay.
like, am I going to become like a fanboy of this now? Like I already kind of have like a new appreciation for it, but like, I'm like, I have too much stuff. I watch late models on Flow. I watch Xfinity trucks, Cup, ARCA. I'm like, now I'm going to be watching fucking Le Mans or something.
I was
Like
gonna say, yeah, I could see you being like one of those dudes where you're like a white cap and like a red and blue striped
become
shirt,
an F1 guy now.
fucking socks, no socks, in a leather loafers and like short white shorts with like a big brown belt, and like you're just wandering around like aimlessly, like it just. Excuse me, do you know what time the Ferraris?
I'm going to the paddock.
Yeah, I could see you being that guy.
I like, don't like that.
I don't like it either, but I mean,
It's all I got right now, and I'm not. I thought I wouldn't be into it, but let me tell you, man, ripping a Lamborghini around a fucking road course, dude.
Yeah.
Paddle shifters on the wheel. That's good times. It's fun. It's much better looking and feeling than the R Factor sim. There's a bunch of sims, and I was like, iRacing's off the table for 3 months unless I want to buy a new computer. And like, my issue with trying to get around it again is like, if they find out that I'm like doing it, like if it somehow goes off my IP, or like they have the hardware for my steering wheel or something like that, like if it somehow flags in their system again, like then it's like definitely gonna get like fully permabanned, where it's like, if I do my time now, I can get back in good standing.
Thinking about you doing this though is funny, because if it wasn't for Poker Stars and me getting into that spat, I probably wouldn't be playing live poker as much as I am lately. But that is really
My
fun.
mom literally was like, "Oh, it looks like some more trips to the go-kart track," and I was like, "Fuck that!" I was so angry the first night.
Well, I just meant that like you were like, I'm gonna do the apology, whereas they were like, you can apologize. So it was like, put me upstairs. I want to talk to the HNIC, and they're like, wow, you can't say that. I'm like, yes, I can. I'm the customer, and I am always right. And they're like,
Part of me wanted to crash out.
Yeah.
There was a fleeting
It's
moment where I was
fun.
like, I'm gonna call Nim a faggot and say fuck iRacing forever, and then I was like, but I do love racing fucking late models. I don't know. Like it was.
no.
It was kind of a pathetic reply. Like I was just like, well, I'm sorry to you all at iRacing. I've been an embarrassment to the
I've been
craft.
an
Like,
embarrassment to the craft.
I wasn't raised this way. Like, yeah, no, I literally like fucking bent the knee and just like, I was like, I've been outed as running an alternate account.
Sometimes you
And
gotta.
quite frankly, my behavior from top to bottom has been abhorrent. I have an embarrassing track record. And I just want to say I'm sorry to you all at iRacing. to my competitors that I've retaliated against, and to Sam, who I pestered in the forums after a heated race. Thank you for your time, Jake. And they were like,
Whatever.
all right, come back in 90 days. We'll fucking...
Who are you?
No, they know me. I couldn't protest it like 100 times.
You're the kid that's
There's 2 officials. That's it, reviewing all the protests, and I've probably been protested like 25 times. I'm sure I'm a frequent flyer.
You're the kid that's in the vice principal's office for no reason whatsoever every day.
I'm not allowed to go to recess for 3 months. Yeah, dog. I'm in school right now. I'm only allowed to play European games.
Yeah.
Across the pond, I'm watching videos now. It's some German guy like how to get faster in your BMW M3 at Le Mans. Fucking
that's a
be
German
real smooth on the brake. That's British. It's
that's
not German,
guy.
but yeah, I don't know. It's European trash. I fucking hate it. Like every video that I look up, it's always a British guy fucking in some super
Top
fancy.
of the morning to you,
the
governor.
tires. Got to do the tire balance.
You know
And
they spell
fucking
tires with a Y over there.
Yeah.
It's so gay.
Yeah.
And I got it fucking ratioed on Facebook when I was still on
I
Facebook.
got the bonnet. Plant the bonnet in the corner.
I didn't even say the tires spelling it that way is stupid. I said that I just found out that you guys spell tires with a Y, and I think that's cool. And somebody was like, "Look at the little brained American figuring out how the world works."
Spells tires.
Tires. It's like fuck you. You guys got kicked out of every country you colonized. You fucking
Tires with a Y
bad-teeth
is not
faggots.
it. It's
Yeah,
not-
exactly.
it's
You're
not
not fucking
it.
dominating fucking Africa again.
That's not how you spell
on
it.
fucking Y's. You fucking faggots.
What,
You
name a bigger fall off than Great Britain.
Roma, the Rome's.
But they, the Brits used to be cool, and now
Khan.
they're Canada of Europe. How woke they are! They're like putting
Yeah, it's
people in
pretty
jail
sad.
for memes.
Pretty
like,
sad. They got Tommy Robinson. They got
insane.
fucking Eddie Hall. Like, man, everybody's doing time. There's like people that you see are like doing like 8 months because they're like insulted
Called
the
someone a
local
fag
magistrate
on Twitter.
Like literally called like the local magistrate an idiot, and it's like that's not really a fucking. That's not a crime. That's just an
You're
opinion.
a wanker.
Yeah, lock him up. Guillotine. Throw him in the brig.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a pretty good over here with the freedom of speech shit. I do enjoy that. I like that it's coming back around too. It's like we had that little woke experiment. Now it's like I don't know. It feels pretty normal again. I don't feel like I'm looking like verbally looking over my shoulder, looking under my shoulder, as you said. But I don't feel like I have to like say something and explain myself. I can just be like,
No,
"That's
it's
gay."
come back around for sure.
Like that's gay. He's a faggot.
Faggot and retard are back.
Yes, the good old days.
I mean, are back.
Yes.
You can also say.
And don't forget. And
Dog's gonna go nuts. But I got a fucking user.
gonna use her.
Did you watch the race or did you go to a gun show halfway through or something?
No, I didn't go to a gun show this weekend. I was
fall asleep?
Yeah, I fell
I
asleep.
fell asleep for all of stage 2.
Stage 2, I fell asleep. Stage 1, I watched all of, and then stage 3, I don't even think I told you about this. It's a good little lead into the NASCAR segment, to be completely honest. So, my dog, I was in the middle of watching, so I woke up, it was stage 3, it was like maybe like less than that, like 48 laps to go, something like that. Dog decides she wants to go to the park. And I'm like, all right, we can go to the park real quick, we'll run around, we'll do our business. We'll go back, watch the last like 5-6 laps, whatever. Hopefully it gets a nice caution in there somewhere, break it up. So on the way to the park, the dog rolled the window to my fucking truck down and jumped out while we were going 15 miles per hour to go play with another dog. And she's a big dog. If you see that dog barreling down on you, it's pretty fucking terrifying. And it's hard to explain that, yes, she's big and loud and she jumps and bites, but she's not doing it because she wants to hurt you. She just wants to play, and not even with you, with your dog. So this lady just walking her dog sees my dog running, bleeding from the mouth, mind you, because she smacked her fucking nose on the ground, and just doing the full fucking send. Hey, knock it off. Yo, stop. So I didn't get to see the exciting conclusion of the NASCAR race. I didn't get to see any of the last like 40 odd laps. I would love to know how it finished. I deliberately waited till you were here because I know you would give me a nice summation of it.
So did you go to the vet or something, or what made you not able to see the
No,
race?
it's just she jumped out of the fucking car window, so I'm explaining. It took me like a half
talking to this
hour to
lady?
explain this lady. Like, yeah, like she's
Damn.
not violent or whatever. Our dogs ended up being friends, but my dog's bleeding from the mouth. I didn't get to see the end of the
It
race.
tied you, jammed you up. I didn't know if I just was wondering if you had to do like an emergency vet run or something.
No, I came back here, cleaned her up pretty quickly. She didn't like the rubbing alcohol on her face, but serves her fucking right.
The last stage, I never even went back and rewatched the second stage yet, so I don't know Apparently it went green. The last stage went, I think.
There's only like 5 cautions.
I think there might have been 1 caution in the last stage or something that fucked up the pit cycle, but I enjoyed it. I love the high and the low line there. I started off the week on iRacing loving Homestead. I liked the challenge of trying to run the boards. And then once I didn't get better at it at all throughout the week and I just kept smashing into the wall, like by Sunday night, I was like, I'm so fucking over Homestead, Miami. I hate this track again. But riding the fence like that is so hard to do based off my simulator fucking knowledge. Like, I don't know how these guys are doing that in a real car, like an inch off the wall doing 190 miles an hour. Like, I don't know. But Larson is fucking incredible at doing it. He wins the truck race. Should have won the Xfinity race. Kind of got hosed on the final restart there, and then won the Cup race. And he would have been the second driver ever to do the triple. But there's a caveat there. He would not have won the truck race had Corey Heim's truck not completely failed him at the end. Corey Heim drove to the lead with like 20 to go and was like set and sail, past like opening up a gap in front of second and third place, and then randomly his truck just started shutting off, so he'd have to like refire it, and it would take a second, and then the 2 trucks would go zooming back by him, and then again he would get it fired up again. 2 laps later he'd pass those guys back for first. He passed for the lead like 3 times, and his truck just kept shutting off.
Nice.
And that allowed Kyle Larson to catch up. Kyle Larson doesn't win that race though if Corey Heim doesn't have truck issues, but had he won the Xfinity race, would have been a triple regardless. Would have been the second time ever. I'm not even a Kyle Larson fan, but I don't know. I was excited at the possibility that it could happen. I was like, it doesn't really happen very often.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's too upset he won the Cup race Sunday. The final stage, Hamlin was up there at one point. I think he finished 5th. Bubba Wallace was the surprising dominated the third stage.
Surprising.
Yeah, which I'm not even a really big Bubba fan, and I did watch that Ugansky video, like just completely shitting on Bubba and like bringing up every bad thing he's done throughout his career.
That's
but like,
fun.
Yeah, he had a cool paint scheme, and I was like, I'm glad he's running well.
I didn't like that. Was
I
my
liked
only
both of their
that was
all the Miami colors.
My only
the
complaint was
teal
I
and the pink.
could not find any of the fucking drivers I had money on because all the paint.
Well, they
schemes are
change
different.
them every week now.
But no, but like
it's tough.
Stenhouse is always on the fucking pole. He's orange, and he was fucking neon purple, and I'm like, where the fuck is Stenhouse? He was in the back the whole time, so it was even harder to
He had
find
a rough day.
He didn't have a good qualifier either.
It's not really a Ricky Stenhouse style track.
No, that's
Super Speedway
I don't
Ace.
think NASCAR's a Ricky Stenhouse
No,
style
it's
sport.
not.
Should try volleyball, brother. Boxing.
No, Bubba had a great run. I was rooting for him. Behind him was like Larson and Bowman, 2 Hendrick guys. So, but I was like not surprised Larson won. Bowman gets around Bubba Wallace to go to the lead. Bubba Wallace is now in second. Kyle Larson gets around Bubba Wallace, and now Bubba Wallace is in third. Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman, 1-2. Bowman in front. They're teammates. Timing and scoring, Larson should catch Bowman with about 2 laps to go, and then they're going to battle it out. With about 8 to go, Bowman's only defense against Larson was trying to run the wall like he was, and he smashed into the wall, and Larson went around him with ease. So he was saying himself that he choked it away, but Larson's the best in the world at running the wall like that, so it's like he was probably going to get to him either way. But it was one of those ones where I said it last year too. I was like a big Larson hater, and now I'm at the point where it's like seeing Tom Brady win a Super Bowl with the Bucks or something, where it's like you just kind of gotta
accept it.
Kind of got to appreciate great talent when you see it, even if he's on. Like, I don't like Team Hendrick, so that's why I don't like Larson. If Larson was racing for literally any other team, I'd be like, Kyle Larson's the man. It's just the team that he races for. So it's like, I don't like the Patriots, I don't like Tom Brady, but like, yeah, he's a great quarterback. Like, it didn't upset me or anything. It didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth. It was like, well, yeah, he is the best at doing this style of like high line along the fence. So
he had a good race. It was fun. It was fun.
He fucking won.
It was fun to watch him like go back 4 positions and then just
come steamrolling on the top. It's fun to see him go around on the outside. Because at most tracks that doesn't really work.
Yeah,
like, usually the bottom's king.
It was very compelling because I don't know what exactly the final position was, but I think it was Allen versus Hocevar, and I had Hocevar, I think, for the
his motor blew up. Yeah. He was like running top 10, man. That kid has had a hell of a year.
Yeah.
And That one stunk. I root for him.
And
He's funny.
I was very upset when I that was the only one that I was like more bummed about that than Stenhouse, because I was like, God damn it, like he actually was doing really good. Like he was up there for most of the fucking race, and then it's like,
I think
well,
Hosefar is going to be like one of those
gonna be an Earnhardt. Like it's
Not
gonna be a household name at least.
nowhere near the level of Earnhardt. Let's get that straight. But people have compared him to like a young Earnhardt, like a very aggressive style.
He's no Earnhardt, but he's kind of like Earnhardt.
No, not like literally, just like that kind of not give a fuck attitude. I don't know. I think he's going to be a future Cup champion.
Yeah.
He's got incredible speed. I like Carson Hosefar, but a lot of the other drivers do not. They're all calling him like fucking douchebags and shit
They
on
don't
the radio.
they don't like him. They don't like. I don't like the one I don't really like is Ty Gibbs. Whenever he doesn't have a good day, that makes me happy because
He's been all over all the different NASCAR YouTubers of being like, is Ty Gibbs on the hot seat? Because like his average finish this year is like 30th or something. Like he's not finished better than like 23rd or something like that.
Joe, get
having
your
a
shit.
rough start.
Joe, get your kids' shit together.
Yeah, Gibbs. I mean, Christopher Bell won 3 in a row, so I was gonna say Gibbs hasn't been doing well, but Ty Gibbs hasn't been doing well. Denny Hamlin hasn't had a great run. He finished 5th. I was happy with that. I wanted Hamlin to win. His new paint scheme's cool, progressive. It's like this light blue-ish color.
Yeah.
But he's finally got a sponsor again because FedEx just fucking left him high and dry.
Damn.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Bowman flubs it. Larson goes by with ease. But to me, I wasn't surprised that Larson won. I'm not going to give him like super props. It's kind of like expected that he wins that. The one I want to give props to is Bubba Wallace. That was the best race I've seen him run in the 3 years I've been watching. So
Nice.
he looked like a real race car driver for once. So
I'm
and
telling
he
you,
wasn't
looked like a.
and he
It's just every time.
and he wasn't a weird robotic douchebag in his interview. He was actually like it was
real?
a fun. Yeah, he was being a real NIGG.
what's the one in space that you sent me?
I wanted to bring that up earlier. I forgot. It was fat in space.
You just
Welcome to the
let's see-
fat.
Let me see if we could actually match the bleeps on that, because that would be.
You don't have to bleep it if you play the video.
It's just.
It's so good, dude.
I sent it to Allison. She still hasn't
Holy
even
fuck!
fucking.
I was like crying on the toilet watching that. The video itself was so visually appealing. I wanted this to be our intro.
The fat niggas just landed on the moon. These skinny ass NASA crackers really said we was too fat for space. So the fat niggas linked with SpaceX and built a team of the highest IQ fat niggas on the planet. Introducing Fat Nigga Tech. This right here is the apex of black excellence. The Fat Nigga Mothership, aka the Big Dipper. While the crackers at NASA stress about efficiency and weight, we built the heaviest, most luxurious spacecraft in the galaxy. These big body V8000 rocket thrusters run on Henny Plasma and Fat Nigga coin liquidity. This $10 trillion machine is operated by Fat Nigga Hal, a personal onboard AI supercomputer. These niggas always move in style, and it ain't no different in space. We got the Fat Nigga Suit Pro Max, gold-plated, bulletproof, and designed to withstand a 300-pound nigga smashing snow bunny coochie in zero gravity. We floating through this shit like we built this bitch. All this tech, all this innovation, all this big body science. And now we finally here. The moon belongs to the fat niggas now. And this is just the beginning. What do you think the fat niggas got planned for the moon? Let us know in the comments.
You want let's
I don't care what they say about AI. If it's gonna bring me more of that.
I gotta log in to see what the comments say, but I do want to see what them guys are
Oh
doing.
my god, dude.
Yeah.
That is like a genre of content on Twitter, because there's always the George Droid.
Yeah.
And it's George Floyd as a robot or something, and he's like, I need more Fenn. And they're like,
Bro.
it's like rich people like employing him like to do things or something. Like it's just this weird like
Did you?
it's dude, it's so funny.
Did you? Did you actually watch the podcast the Come Town reunion on Stavi's show?
Yeah, I watched the full thing.
Okay.
For like 90% of it. I can't remember the ending, but
the Jordy LaFloyd joke got me. I was going into ShopRite, and I'm not.
That took me a second.
I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, and like I know TOS more than I know like DS9 or fucking TNG or anything, but I know who Jordy LaForge is, as I think most people do.
I have no idea.
He's the black dude on TNG that has the visor. The Next Generation.
I was like Jordy LaFloyd.
Yeah, Jordy LaFloyd. And like, it's like,
I knew it was a George
and
Floyd
he-
joke, so I
and he
chuckled.
said-
But
And the joke was, I can't see shit. I can't can't see. And like, I hear this and I'm like, oh no, because I'm gonna have to go into public, and I'm still laughing about that. I'm in the fucking produce. Like, I heard this, pulled into ShopRite, laughed for 5 minutes, and like over by the fucking eggs and the produce, just like fucking like biting my knuckles, like trying not to make eye contact with people. I'm like, Joey, you can't see.
What got me on that was the keep it twisted
Yeah, it was
part
pretty
when
good.
Nick started riffing and it just he would be go into a sentence and it would just be like keep it twisted. Like couldn't. I was like, damn, I really want to know what he said, dude.
all this making everybody
Notes.
boo Adam every time Adam starts talking. He just like got a button that's like baboons
Yeah.
and like it's like it was so fucking good. It was perfect. It was
It was a little weird.
It was awkward.
It was like seeing like it was like when my grandparents separated for a year and then they were holding hands again. I'm like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like,
You guys-
when Tony moved back into the house and they're eating
After,
dinner
yeah,
and AJ
yeah.
goes, this is fucking weird. Like,
Yeah.
come town back together, and it was like kind of.
awkward.
But I think Nick and Stavros were still friends though,
Yeah, they're all buddies.
because
still.
Nick said on some other podcast, like last time you saw Stav, it was that weird one with that fake Israeli kid or whatever from LA.
Yeah. Matan.
And
yeah.
they were like, when's the last time you saw this fat, disgusting pig bastard? Like, he's kept just being really weird about Stavi. But he was like, yeah, we hung out like 2 months ago. So, like, they were still apparently, like, buddies. But
I liked his answer of buying 2.5 houses in Maryland. it's like Adam's just like,
I
what
pictured
did
you, like,
you bought a cardboard box for your dad
no,
to live in out
Nick was
back.
like, I'm picturing, like, the 90s sitcom, like, you going with, like, tape. Like, this half is mine.
Yeah.
You're not allowed over here.
It was good. There, someone's comment of it's like the boys are like the duck to water. It's like, yeah, that was refreshing. I needed that. Even the Drew Montana, when I was talking to him, I told him, I was like, I feel like that last Come Town episode that they released as Come Town, that was like a month or so ago. I was like, I feel like I need to savor this. Like I need to like roll myself.
Wait. They released a Come Town episode a month ago?
Yeah,
Was
with-
it just an unreleased one? Or
No. It was Aldous produced it. It was in Stavi Studio, but they just produced it and
I didn't know that.
It was
I
just
haven't heard
one.
that.
It was one 30-minute one-off.
it was like a farewell tour or
Yeah,
something?
it was like a farewell to the fans and whatnot. And it was like the day or two
I haven't seen
before
that.
I left Vegas. I was out in Vegas when I got it. I'm talking to Drew, and I'm like, yeah, man, like I was such a, like the whole reason I even do a podcast is because of this podcast, Come Town. He's like, I know Come Town. I know those guys. I was like, yeah, like they were like such a big influence on us during like the fucking COVID, like where it's just like laughing about absolute nonsense that like it was like we made our own shit kind of like centric to what they do.
It was like
but-
millennial O&A, just
Yeah.
edgelord. It was like shock
It was
potting.
perfect, and
Like,
but he was like, "Yeah, like I haven't listened to the new one." I was like, "I just got the update. I saw that they dropped like a 35-minute episode or whatever." He's like, "I feel like I need to savor this though, because this is like, you know, the reunion of like, you know, like this is like such a monumental
gotta
thing. Like I
actually
need to,
sit down
I
and
need
listen to this.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm gonna get in the bathtub and like roll a joint and like really appreciate it. He's like, that sounds perfect actually. I was like, yeah, like genuinely like enjoy this. Like it's starting to rain.
how was it though? The episode.
The episode's
35
fucking hilarious. Yeah, it was fucking great. All this is making fun
Did
of
they
them.
go ham? Did
Oh,
Savi
yeah, they
open
did.
up, let loose?
They did.
Do a
No,
little
they-
racism.
They did the usual thing. It's just it's weird without like the ad reads because especially on Stavi's where Stavi like stops the show because they're not gonna. He's not even gonna humor the idea of trying to do a live ad read with Nick like gonna be like the Mac.
He's like in an
Weldon.
RV or something.
Yeah,
in a-
he's
on
like
a tour bus.
He wants nothing to do with his
He
money.
did do a twist. Try to do
the twist.
the
Yeah.
twisted T read, and Nick just kept saying apparently like
Twisted.
terrible things. And then,
Yeah. Keep it twisted.
it twisted.
twisted.
That's so weird that they sponsor him. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I love Stavi's hard stance on no free ads.
What's that all about? Like, where did
He
you come
wants to get paid.
Yeah,
I just think it's
it's-
funny because even on other podcasts and stuff, he's like, I don't want to say the brand. They're not paying me. Like,
Yeah, okay.
no free ads. That's just like one of his catchphrases. Like, no free ads, baby.
from? No free rides.
I kind of like it.
I like
I'm
it
like, I
too.
respect it, and I think it's hilarious because all that we do is literally free ads.
We plug people. Well, the other guy I was on the plane with, the Two in the Stink podcast guy, I don't know if I actually addressed that. I walked up to them cold in the airport because I was talking to Drew, and I saw Drew, and I was like, hey, that guy looks familiar. That's the guy from the Two in the Stink podcast. I walk up, I just go, hey, I listen to your podcast, Two in the Stink, and he just looked at me like, why
This
would you
has
say
never
that?
happened
Why,
before.
well, no, like, why would you say the name of my podcast in public, like out loud? Like, it was like that's
I'm a
the-
huge Come Town fan.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like I don't even know where I was going with fucking that, but they're like, oh yeah, their thing is anti-ad reads, where they like pick a product they don't like and do an ad read for why it sucks.
I enjoy that a lot.
I thought that was funny. I think that's a
should
clever.
do that.
It's just ripping their bit off. But yeah, like
Yeah, that's all
Wawa
we do.
hoagies.
We normally do Are You Garbage? So
You want
my
to do?
anti-ad read. Don't buy iRacing. You're going to spend a ton of money. You're going to play bumper cars with someone and you're going to spend months off.
Do you want me to do you have anything else that you brought to the table, or you want me to do the Mickey Mace thing from last week? Because that's all I got. But I did a lot
I
of.
literally brought nothing to the table. I just wanted to kvetch about getting banned from iRacing and then a little NASCAR segment. Yeah, it was pretty much a Kyle Larson show this weekend.
Pie
yeah,
gal.
on to Martinsville this week.
Where's
little
Martins?
I
Oh
think
yeah, that's
it's
the
in
one I
Virginia.
don't. That's the one I don't like. It's like you
watch
said.
Trucks and Xfinity. I know you don't like short tracks, but like the Cup cars ain't been great on short tracks, but the real stock cars, Trucks and Xfinity, they put on a good show. So
I probably will be ducking out for this one because there will be baseball on this weekend.
that's all good, dude.
Phillies are on tomorrow.
I'll be watching all of it, and I'll be bummed because I was supposed to race Martinsville. When I got suspended, I tested Martinsville for like an hour, just practice doing laps there, and I was going to join a race that night at 8:45 after the kids go to bed. I go out there, and it was like,
Nope.
banned forever. I was like, what the fuck? I'm definitely going to be. I'm not watching NASCAR anymore. I'm watching
iRacing.
GT3.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna watch the Ferraris.
Yeah, literally.
Porsches. Okay.
Mickey Mace.
Mickey Mace. First off, name is funny because it does sound like Mickey Mouse, which 2 + 2. Everybody's pointing that out. How am I
I
supposed
think
to
that's
think?
on purpose. Some
Hey,
weird marketing.
I think I forget. I looked up his
It
real
looks
name.
like Mickey Mouse.
It does look like Mickey Mouse, but I looked up his real last name. It's like something Jewish, but yeah, like so. Just your thoughts, your opening impressions. What do you think of him? Do you think he's real? You think he's fake? You think his like gambling degen stories have any weight to him?
Tough to read fully to say one way or the other. I think he embellishes. Do I think he's gambled millions of dollars? Probably, but
Okay.
first impressions, kind of a douchebag.
Yeah, I get that.
Looks like Lil Xan with all these doofy fucking tattoos.
I don't know who Lil Xan is.
SoundCloud rapper from
Okay,
10 years
You
ago.
just said SoundCloud rap.
Face tattoos,
Yeah, there you go.
douchebag. Like Post Malone.
On drugs.
Yes, his name was Lil Xan. So.
Yeah.
Actually overdosed on hot Cheetos and was hospitalized. It was a big story.
That's funny as fuck.
Everyone's like, "Damn, dude, he died from Xanax," and he's like,
No, he
"Ate
died
too
from
many hot
Cheetos."
He didn't die, but anyway, yeah, kind of douchey, but probably is a halfway decent game. Like, I feel like you know how movies take liberty where it's like based on a true story.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how his shtick
It
is, where it's
is.
like
Yeah.
he probably does earn a living gambling, and he probably is worth 7 figures. But like, I just think it's dolled up as a character, or played up as a character, just to get views, and it worked because we're talking about him, and he's got millions of followers, and he makes a living probably just doing content now, and probably doesn't even really have to gamble. He just sells a lifestyle. So which begs the question: is he employed by the casino industry to promote this dream to like dickhead incels like us, being like,
Hey.
I'm gonna go make millions and
Whoa.
fucking, all right, like me, and like,
There you go.
yeah, it's just like that's the conspiracy mind where I went with you with it when we talked about it before. Where it's like, is this guy just like an industry
A plant,
plant?
yeah.
Which it's not out of the realm of possibility, but
Do you think he's actually trespassed from all the properties that he claims? He's like banned. He says he's banned from properties.
Yeah.
And you think he actually is? Okay.
for sure, because they are so dude, if you they banned Dana White from all of them too. Like, it's like, from what I've known and what I've seen of casinos, just on random YouTube videos of like no name slot fucking aces, or like no guys like pretending to count cards at a fucking, like, casinos are very quick to be like, we don't want your action. So if you're coming in there and like, you know, you win like $1 million from them once, like, they're probably like, all right, man, like, take care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like casinos are very quick to ban people that they deem are too good, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So if he's had any modicum of success at any of those casinos, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you know what I mean? Because of casinos' track records of like banning people for winning, pretty much. Like, I don't know. How, does he claim he's banned at like all of them or something?
Like his personal claim, and I quote me on this, but I think it might have gone up or down since the claim itself was made. But his personal claim was 90% of the casinos in the world.
All right, might be a little much. But I mean, it could also be that thing that he hasn't even played at these casinos, but they've just been like, we don't want your action. Like, I'm sure, like, if you get banned at Borgata, I'm sure, like, every MGM property in the country is like, yeah, no thanks, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably like he got banned from 20, but all of their properties in the world equals 90.
And then I have one other. Do you think that his winning, he claims he's consistently winning, which is why he got banned. Do you think that is why he was banned, or do you think that he was banned for other reasons? Like, do you think?
They totally ban people for winning. So if he is banned, I don't think it was because he was cheating or anything like that. I think it's just
okay.
Because he was winning. I don't know. I've not been a very successful gambler, so I can't really relate or fathom being like so good at gambling at the casino is like, you can't come back here anymore. Yeah. No more betting on black for you, fatso. You're killing it. You figured it out, dude. Black don't crack.
Black doesn't crack. Get out of my house.
He owns the oceans.
Doesn't own Mr. Oceans. No, all right, so I asked you those three things because those are the three things that I think are the most credible, that he's done a good job, like a good enough job, like at least painting the picture of himself being like what, like
I've
having
seen way
authentic
people with way lesser claims getting banned from casinos for like way lesser dollar amounts. So it's like, if he is coming in there heavy with six figures, like I could totally see a casino being like, we don't want your action. So that's plausible to me.
So here's the thing about that. He went on Spencer Cornelia, and we've talked about this, I think, 3 years ago, because that was when he did it. It was like right after the COVID time. So like Vegas was open, AC was open, but a lot of other places weren't. And a lot of the social media gamblers, like people that were
betting on Russian ping pong.
Nah, more like whatchamacallit? Like the people that were like not high stakes or like high profile, but they were like, yo, we get a lot of comps through the casinos and whatnot. That was who was like going, like there was a big period of time where one of the reasons I would gamble exclusively at fucking Harrah's was because you get a free room there if you play poker for 4 hours.
I love a free room.
You pay the resort fee on it, $35.
$30.
You get a fucking free room, man. Like, it's not bad. So, like, they did away with that during COVID, and I was paying for some of my rooms, not all of my rooms, but some of my rooms that way. And
it feels like paying for a room's nice, but something feels so classy, classy about comping me a room. Yeah. Like, this is
sounds
I'm VIP.
Nice.
You feel like a fucking gentleman. Like,
sounds nice. Too.
It's the shit.
It does feel very.
I don't think I've ever earned enough. Or no, I did at one point, but I never took advantage of it. But we used to get rooms through Johnny, and it was just like, dude, Tropicana on a Wednesday night.
Let's go.
$30. I got $15. Let's get a room. Let's split it.
Tonight's fucking Wednesday.
Hooters and fucking roulette.
I might go over there and just do that myself.
I envy your lifestyle.
I know, right?
I will be fishing turds out of a bathtub while you're playing video poker, smacking asses at Hooters.
Fucking yeah, dude. Well, there was a time where there was a lot of people that were gravitating towards it. When Mickey's like rise was kind of like on, and like the trajectory of him getting popular, and all of these like comp players and like actually like people that would go there for the, like, I'm going to drop $12,000 into a slot machine, but only because I know I'm going to be getting on the back end, like, 2 weeks paid vacation through you guys, like at Caesars or whatever. Like, there was a lot, that was the esteem, it was like very much that. So his height comes in right around the time where they're trying to get people to spend as much as they can to keep the fucking casino gravy train rolling. So that was something where I was like, okay, like, is this guy actually betting, or is like this guy just like kind of the fate, like a host or whatever that's like giving the illusion, like that D Lucky guy? No, he went on Spencer Cornelia, and they went through his accounts that he was both banned on and active on. And believe it or not, the action that he claims was all backed up by casino receipts and online. It was like his accounts all matched the claims he was making.
But just to play devil's advocate,
you're fine. Please do. I insist.
I mean, the casinos own these apps. Wouldn't it be very easy for them
to fudge the numbers?
Isn't a court of law. This is a podcast.
Right.
This could be cinema. This is just, it wouldn't be illegal for them to fudge numbers on a mock app that looks just like a BetMGM app. Like,
not even disputing that, or just print them out receipts from the sports book that look real, that are voided secretly. They have a little V somewhere in there that's like that only the person at the sports book knows that that's what they're looking for. Something like that.
To create, and it doesn't I mean, I guess it would technically fall back on them, but he's the one like posting it, so it's kind of like it's just gonna make him look
well,
like
what
a
Spencer
fugazi.
what Spencer Cornelia did was he went and he like went up to the dude's penthouse. So he went to a penthouse in a casino that the casino was putting him up in, and then he was like, "Show me something that will give what your claims credibility." He goes and produces like a couple of these apps, a couple of these receipts, all of which are casino,
And they're all
based.
what, millions?
Like one, he was like, I bet $25,000 on this, and he has a receipt for it. He's like, I got $300,000 in this account that I can't pull out of from the Bellagio. Has a receipt for it. He has pictures of how much he won at doing this or that, and like I got receipts and photos and video and like all this. And he did enough where Spencer Cornelia, who does his due diligence, was like, okay, your numbers are adding up. That being said, though, I'm right there with you where I don't believe the casinos wouldn't have it in their best interest to fudge these numbers. So where I have that as
It
a
would be
pro,
so easy for them to
yeah,
do.
it's like
dude.
where I have that as a pro, I kind of actually see that as a con because it's like it's a very easy thing for you to fabricate. And not only is it a very easy thing for you to fabricate, you're rolling around with millions and millions of dollars in all these photos and all this stuff. But like I've never really seen you anywhere outside of like LA, New York, or Vegas, and it's like, well, like it might be that like, hey, your homie is in town and he's got a bag that he's gonna go drop on the fucking roulette table. Hey, let me just for Instagram like take a couple of those bundles and make it seem like I want them. Like it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to fake. You know what I mean? And
it
like
doesn't even have to be that elaborate. I mean,
yeah.
you know how easy motion picture money is to get?
Well, they have them in like I mean, you're right. You're absolutely
If he
right.
wants to pose a bunch of bundles, it's like
It's not hard.
You can buy stacks of that shit for like $10 on Amazon. Like
Yeah. So
it looks real as hell. Like especially in a photo. Like it looks.
Yeah, like the other thing, the authenticity thing of him being banned, or he was elaborating that I've been banned from 90% of casinos. Banned does not mean trespassed. Trespass means you are physically not allowed on the property, which from what I understand, he is not anywhere in Vegas trespassed. He is banned, meaning that they won't handle your action on certain games, which it's
like Baccarat.
Baccarat, Blackjack, Pai Gow, and
I saw a video where they're
and a
like,
couple
he was
of-
like, you don't want my blackjack or something? They're like, yeah, we don't want your action on blackjack. He's like, can I play other games? They're like, you can play anything. You can't play blackjack.
Yeah.
He was like, all right. He was cool about it. He was just like,
And
all right.
they're probably paying for him to stay in the casino that night too. So he's like, I'll just leave and go to another casino.
What makes them do that? Is he just on a run? He's up 50K or something?
It's
And
that
they're
they
like,
probably
let's
don't
pull
want-
the ripcord now?
They probably don't want to leverage the action against what they have in house because they only have X amount of money in house. And if this guy goes on a heater for like 2 times their take, then like they're going to be cash poor for until.
I've seen it before too.
reciprocates.
Well, where they won't make a guy walk, but they'll lower his max bet to like 1,000.
Yeah, that's what they do with card counters.
Yeah, it's just like
they'll do that.
You can play, but it's like you can't
no max
do
betting,
25K.
no max betting, no adjusting your bet size too for each shit. Like once you bet 25, you're locked in at 25 for the entire show. Shit like that. That's like it is part of it, but it's not trespass. That is banned. Banned is different than trespass. So when he says I'm banned from 90% of the casinos, something tells me that he's not trespassed from any, and there's no real records of him being trespassed from the property. Like in the LA, like people on 2+2 did some due diligence, and they're like, yeah, he doesn't have any like trespassing or like forcible eviction records. It just kind of seems like he plays so much that they're like, if you go on like a 3-hand winning streak, that could actually affect our bottom line just purely on the amount of action you're trying to offer to like our casino. So that's probably like, and that's also plausible as to like why they could be banning him or shutting him down, is just because most places are only capable of handling the action of like a one at a time, like a millionaire coming in and trying to play like $1 million blackjack, $1 million a hand or whatever. Like there's not too many places that can physically handle that like money amount. Like there's not enough cash on hand, there's not enough credit for them to like wire it to make it work if you go on a swing one way or another way. Like it's just too much liability. So it's like it kind of does make sense. I'm not saying that that's why he's banned, but I am saying that like if he gets banned, then he's not trespassed. That just probably means that he's giving too much action and they don't want to work with him in that facet. And that makes a lot of sense as opposed to like, I'm so good I get kicked out of all these casinos, like.
Well, could he gamble by proxy through other people or something?
So that leads to another thing.
How does that work with being banned versus trespass? Because couldn't he just be sitting in a cocktail bar like, I guess I don't know.
He is. There's a whole series he has on YouTube where he goes and coaches people, and they wear the glasses I have, the Ray-Bans with the camera in them, and he's got an earwig, and he tells them how to bet, and he has a whole series doing that, and I'm like, this seems sus because
Wouldn't that get caught?
yeah, exactly. Like so, he does.
You can't wear like AirPods at the table, right? Like
Yeah. So well, you can when you play poker, but not at.
Not at blackjack.
40,000 a
I
hand
used to
playing
be
blackjack.
when I
yeah.
was Mushroom Seymour and drinking a lot, and I'd be trying to listen to fucking rap music at the blackjack table, trying to hype myself up.
Jesus.
And the Chinese lady would be like, "No headphone, no headphone." And I'm like, "I'm just trying to listen to Biggie, yo, chill.
Trying to get myself myself
Party
back.
bullshit, yo. Try
Get
some
back-
fun."
Been
I
a
was being
terror
so
since the public
retarded.
school era.
I've been a douche since fucking.
92. So the other like the compliments that is that his action is in Baccarat, which is consistent with his winnings, meaning that like he's playing a game that doesn't really, it's not a skill based game. It's just I'm gonna make a huge fucking haymaker bet. You're gonna have to pay me out if that bet hits, and that's really like it's as and he's
That's the
dialed
thing with those high rollers is like they'll go and play like 10 hands. It's like if
Yeah,
they get
that's-
up, and it's like the same as us going $100 and getting up $60 profit. It's just like they're going and betting 50K a hand, getting up 250K because they won 4 or 5 hands, and then they just dip out.
Yep.
The casino's like, fuck that, you got to sit for an hour.
I've told this on here, but not on the most recent iteration of this podcast. It was back when I was putting them on SoundCloud. So if you're really a hardcore fan, it's back on there. But my grandmother witnessed a dude lose $1 million in 2 hands. He lost $1 million clean in 2 hands. She was playing over at Trump Castle, I believe, was where she used to go, and she said that it was one of the Trump properties. It was one of the Trump properties that had a helipad because this guy, his name was something Wang, Stephen Wang or something, and the computer company that he owned was called Wang Computers. And my
It's an
grandmother,
unfortunate
my
fucking name.
my grandmother witnessed this man bankrupt the company. He
Holy shit.
flew in on a helicopter. She was in the high limit room.
He was trying to save the company. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. So she's in the high limit room and she's playing like, you know, 2-3 grand a hand. But like this guy comes in, they shut everything on the floor down. He has a police escort from the helipad to the room that he's going to, like the high limit room. Police leave, security comes in, he gets like patted down, given like cocktails, gets a massage, waitress, whatever comes around, sits down, puts suitcase full of cash on there, calls upstairs okays it. They give him 2 stacks of chips. First stack puts on, gets dealt a hand, loses. Takes a drink, takes a little smoke.
This is
Second-
what game is this? Blackjack.
Blackjack. Second
21?
hand, second hand, loses. Doesn't even finish his cigarette, just puts it out, gets up. The whole rigmarole again goes. Security hands him off to the police. He left. He lost $1 million. But that dealer rotated to my grandmother's table and was like, that dude is a computer mogul, and I think he just bankrupted his company. And sure enough, that computer company does not exist anymore. He didn't just lose it all in one fell swoop.
That's the thing.
But
It's like these people. I don't know.
like
Like the Mickey Mazes of the world. I feel like it's the old, they only tell you about the wins. Like I feel like there are professional gamblers that earn a living, but I feel like that's a real grind, and it's like it's far less common than you would think. You know what I mean?
yes, I genuinely agree with that, and it raises my
And it's
next
like
point.
even if Mickey loses $10 million a year trying to sell this dream, if he makes $20 million a year on YouTube ad revenue, then it's like
it's a wash.
he made 10 million profit. It's just
Yeah.
like, so these people who like the Aiden Ross who pump the gambling, those weird third party gambling companies or whatever, that
Yeah.
weird, you know what I'm talking about? He got in trouble for that, for promoting gambling on stream. It was like one of those like Jamaican companies where like you didn't even have to show ID to gamble or something.
Bet
It was like,
DSI.
It was like
Yeah.
gambling for kids or something. It was like
Yeah.
weird, but those people, like, they're not like even losing real money. It's just like they're just, you know what I mean? Like, so like even the casino could just be handing him $500K to come in and donk or like, you know what I mean?
Well, this is all going to get explained in the cons, because those are all the pros, and like how like the pros of this guy, they have explainability or at least plausible deniability, and this is the cons where this is kind of where we get into treacherous water, and you're going to be like, yeah, this guy's full of shit.
That's the way I lean. That
yeah.
he's kind of a
So,
douchebag, and he kind of seems like he's
He
full of shit.
comes from a family that's similar to the Sackler family, where they're like all intertwined with like pharmaceuticals and pharmacies and stuff like that. And his
He's an industry plant.
his grandfather was apparently like not
Wrap it
only
up.
some kind of like fucking pharmaceutical mogul, but he was like also one of like during the mob days, one of the dudes that got like some real estate built in Vegas during like the 60s and 70s. So
Yeah,
like
he's an industry plant.
just that
A
alone.
fucking 1,000,000%.
Everybody says he's a like, and I take this personally because I don't like the expression, but trustafarian. You know, he's a trustafarian that has connections through his grandparents and parents. So that one
Probably
is,
not wrong though.
no, that's absolutely right. Like, no, it's been there's all this is vetted. Like all the 2+2 guys have like evidence of like when his grandfather dies, all of a sudden his bankroll went up like $2 million, and it's like, oh well, he just paid everything else off, and then this is his gambling money. So yeah, that makes sense. He changes hobbies every few years. Like, did you know, for example, that he used to be a professional dirt bike rider?
No.
He was doing what Shep was doing, the circuit. I don't know.
Professional?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. Like, but it was one of those.
I've never heard him talk about that at all. Like
There's
pro am or like he was
look up
like a minor league or
you
something.
Look up the league, just Mickey Mace dirt bike, and it's
No
like there's a
shit.
bunch of pictures of him where he was riding in like what to me at least looks like official ass fucking. Like he apparently was like trying to be like a dirt bike rider for like 5 years before he got really into the degenerate gambling shit.
He was like he raced as a kid too.
Yeah, like so, but like he changes hobbies every few years is one of the is like one of the points is that like this is probably just like a fad for him, and now that like he built himself up so much with like all these lavish stories and like elaborate kind of like explanations as to where he accrued his wealth and like where he cut his teeth and shit, you know, like it doesn't really seem like.
Pro dirt biker Mickey Mace at Dirty Goth Boy showcased his expert skills on the trails this weekend.
Yeah, like I said, it's like he just kind of. It seems like he's like a hobbyist, and he's got
What
like
does
higher.
pro mean though? Like he's sponsored by Honda or something.
Higher end hobbies, like, you know, gambling or dirt bikes, because that's a fucking expensive. He's probably gonna
Racing's
get.
expensive as fuck,
He's gonna
dude.
have a NASCAR like next fucking
Him
5
and
years.
Cletus will be doing Arca again.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's just kind of like on brand that it's like, okay, this is the next like lavish fucking fancy thing.
I
that
kind
you
of like
can-
him more now, dude.
So-
Racing dirt bikes is
He also
nuts.
building off of that, one of his family members is a silent backer for the casino, and they're not sure if he's related or if it's
What are we
just
even talking about?
if
It's
it's just no. So check this out. So like I thought it was like, okay, he's a trustafarian, whatever. He's got all this pharmaceutical money that he made like when he was working with his family or whatever. I thought he was like just comes from money, has money, you know, and is like someone who has been a perpetuation of that cycle of like, well, now my kid's fucking rich and he doesn't know whatever. Like I thought he was just like spoiled brat, whatever. No. Like it turns out that like he gambles with some of his own money, but he also has like some dude that he's either related to or friends with that is a silent backer for the casino, but gets bankrolled by this guy in order to write the guy. So this guy gives Mickey money so that Mickey will play irresponsibly, most likely lose, so that the guy that gave him the money can write his staking off in Mickey as a tax loss and then also a net loss off. So he's making double the tax write-off ability of staking Mickey by him being a kind of like the facade of everything. So like win or lose, this guy's not really taking too much risk on giving this tattooed.
But does
guy.
he get the money back through the casino because he's a backer in the casino or something?
See, that's just it. That's also murky waters because if this guy's a part of the
it's
casino,
a write-off, and he's not really losing money because he has a vested interest in the casino.
And
so
also,
it's
I don't
like
know- I don't
he's
know
just
if-
running money through his business.
and I don't know if this dude is like a third party, like he's like one of those people where like, you know, a casino will bring in like a
Did
fixer.
Mickey talk about this?
No, this was a guy on 2+2 that's he was the guy I said sent you the thing where you saw him playing.
It sounds kind of incriminating.
Well, he was the guy that was saying that he had the Netflix crew with him at Horseshoe. But yeah, like so what you can see is that casinos hire third party like a independent contractor. Like let's say you have a club promoter, but you can't sell the guy that's DJing your club drugs, so you hire like an entertainment professional or something, or like a handler or someone that's like a third party that the culpability falls on them, not the casino. So this guy could, for all I know, being paid by the casino, having Mickey donk off to the casino, and then the money just getting washed and put back in the first guy's pocket. Or it could just be like a genuine, this guy's a fucking rich asshole and has like some tax scheme rigged up where like Mickey's the fall guy, or you know, whatever it is. Though there's been confirmation that there is this guy that is like
Mickey
silent.
probably just gets to keep a cut of the winnings or something if
Yeah,
he wins.
and he gets to keep being Instagram famous and like all the fucking money he makes off his socials, probably, you know. So
That's the thing. A lot of those big gamblers who are selling picks or selling this, they're not really gambling with their own money.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, even if they're making money selling picks, it's like they're not like.
And that leads me to the last 2 points of that the free publicity is really what they're making the money off of, not really the intelligence of him as a gambler or the savviness
No,
of
he
him.
makes it plausible to be
He sells a dream, like you said.
that me or you are going to go in there and have a very high success rate at the casino if you just like play baccarat, and it's just like it's not.
Well,
I know that like people go on runs. I'm not saying that you're going to lose every time, but I feel like over time it's just not a viable career choice that like he's making it out to be. Like he's like, yeah, I brought my dad here. I had the casino executive come up to our penthouse and tell him how much I made this quarter, and it was $47 million. And my dad was like, what's going on here? And then there was 50 porn stars in the penthouse. There's some off the wall story, and I'm like,
yeah. Which, like, by the way, how does somebody who's fucking 90 women a week not have a single rape allegation too? Like, how does that work? That's my biggest one of like it's the last 2 points. Like I said,
it'd be tough for
it's
him in the courtroom.
It's free.
He looks kind of rapey.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also something too about him being linked to Charles Manson, which is like even weirder. But that's like complete tinfoil hat shit. Like I
don't know enough about him at all.
I don't either.
There was one like that about Mac Miller where somehow his grandpa was in with like the Clinton Foundation or something to do with 9/11. His grandpa was
Clinton
like
Foundation, 9/11 are independent of one another. But the
No,
Clinton
it was one of those two.
Clinton Foundation was the Finders cult. They were the ones that were kidnapping kids from Haiti, and
it wasn't that. It was something to do with 9/11. His grandpa was like a something. I forget his name. Mickey Weiss. If you look him up,
Mickey
he was
Mace.
like
Grandpa Mickey Mace.
no. Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
It was around the time he died. I read some dumb shit on Reddit. It was like his grandpa's actually this guy who was involved with the Clinton and then involved with something to do with 9/11. Where I don't remember the specifics, so I sound like a dumbass. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was something similar with this guy.
Yeah, where he's so like the win-loss can be explained by if the house or a private backer is like so. All of these points
How is he
basically
related to Manson? Sorry,
yeah, I know you're doing your thing.
Sorry, I blurted out, but
it's not that there's anything really tangible like relating to him, but he
looks
made
like him.
No, he made a music video with some fucking SoundCloud tier rapper that he was like gambling with or something, and in the Instagram comments or something, his thing was like popping off fireworks with my boys in the desert like I'm Charles Manson, and then someone like was like, what does that even mean? And he just had no explanation for what it meant, which like you could just argue he's drunk or on drugs and like babbling.
Bar.
Yeah, just babbling and like, or he like,
you mean gunfire, like when they murdered those people?
but like they're like, yeah, like what's the connection here to Manson? And they're like looking like they're like looking at him like, oh, you think you're like some kind of cult leader or something? Is that like what you're amping yourself up to be like that?
The occult, dude.
Well, because like think about that too. Like Manson thought that he was gonna create a revolution of white people killing black people with Helter Skelter.
What?
Yeah, that's what the whole point of Helter Skelter was. He was trying to.
I thought he was just some weird hippie guy that like killed some actors in L.A.
Well, yeah.
I had no idea.
Why do you think he killed?
I had no idea he also hated.
Yeah, he wanted to kill Sharon Tate, and he's trying to break into that house to kill those people because he wanted to frame it to make it look like black people did it because it would incite a race war. That was like the whole reason. That was his whole motive for having.
I thought he was a Nazi after prison. I didn't know he hated black people before.
He was never a Nazi. He's just a lunatic. I think the swastika thing was just a show of like craziness, whatnot. But no, he much like Manson, Mickey wants people to cripple the casinos, and there is something very culty about that because like a lot of dumb people, not present company excluded, because I know you have your qualms with the casinos. Like I know that you think that they are just a tax on poor people, which they are. Like it's
just slightly predatory and like
I think very predatory is a good way
I
of
was
putting it.
being nice. I don't know why, but
no, like they're a predatory industry, much like tobacco or fucking narcotics, like anything. It's a predatory industry. You're preying off of people's weakness, and he's got this philosophy like if you follow him and you take his advice, he's gonna help.
His advice though he starts with is always don't gamble.
Yeah,
so he gives himself that out. I always tell everyone not to gamble.
But there's like always this like
but gambling's really fun and cool, and I make $1 million.
But he has this like caveat of it like being like I have this like thing that's gonna bring the casinos to their knees, like, and it's like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, follow me for more advice, and it's like, well, what you're doing is just giving people
follow my Patreon.
Yeah, like I don't know, that shit is like so fucking whack to me that like it does
He's
seem
the
like
Ty Lopez of gambling.
But it
where
does
it's just
seem-
like he's saying words and like showing a lifestyle, but there's really nothing behind it. It's just like
come off culty though, where like like what do they promise you? Enlightenment. They promise you riches. You're gonna bang a bunch of hot broads, and then at the end of the day, like it's just some fucking weird anorexic dude with a ponytail stealing your girlfriend. That's, really
that's
every
oddly
cult.
specific.
Like, every cult that's ever existed.
Yeah, I don't think he's a cult, but I think
But like the Manson, the self-reflection of that is like kind of like what are your?
I think that's just a bar. One of the hippiest, like black hippies, dudes who rap about acid. These guys called the Underachievers. They're from like Flatbush, Queens. They're boys with the Flatbush Zombies. That whole type of, I don't know, like black spirituality, hippie-ish like type stuff. They have a bar. I think it was Issa. One of his bars was like something misunderstood, like fucking Nazis. And like they got asked about that in an interview, man. He's like, I don't know, man. Like I don't want to talk about that. Like, and I'm like, years later, I'm watching Europa. I'm like, I get the bar. No, I'm just kidding.
These guys were onto something.
That always
These
struck
Negroes are intelligent.
that bar always struck me as so weird. But it's something that, I don't know.
There's always weird fucking shit in
I think
rap.
they believe that like the Nazis were in communication with the aliens or something, some
Probably.
shit like that. Like it,
Vril society.
yeah, it went into some shit like that, like some. But I don't fucking know. Like
All my due diligence on Mickey Mason led me to believe exactly pretty much where we started this, which is that the casinos have planted him, and it's like he is like an extension of, fucking Shaq has scratch-offs now. It's like he's just that's the guy for that. It's like, do you think you're slightly more degenerate than the people around you? This is look at you, your tattooed fucking avatar over here doing
that's
the thing.
the new thing that the elites, the Illuminati, is pushing. These weird Lil Xan, Post Malone, Mickey Mays face tattoo fucking weirdos. It's not for me. I like a tattoo. I wouldn't say I would never get a tattoo on my arm or something. I think tattoos
Tattoo on
are
my
cool.
dick.
When people get a little excessive with it, and it's like, all right, chill the fuck out.
Stop tattooing sheep on you.
I have
dumbass.
a buddy who's like head to toe, whole chest, back to everything. He doesn't do above the collar line or whatever, but like, yeah, face.
Yakuza style.
He wanted like his whole scalp tatted, and it's just like, I get it, it's fun, but like you have a tasteful amount of tattoos. It's nothing.
They're all trash.
But that's fine. It's not like the face tattoo thing is just insane to me. It's even, remember when like people first started doing the teardrop, like early 2000s? I remember I saw this is when it first started, like rappers were doing it and shit, like Lil Wayne had teardrops. There was a white dude in the Marmora Wawa back before it even had a gas station, and he had a fucking teardrop, and one of my cousins, like Brittany or Ryan or one of them, was like, that means he killed someone, and I was terrified. Like that, and that was insane to have just a teardrop on your face. Now people have, I sound like old man yells at sky, but it's like these people have like face sleeves, like it's just like their entire face is tatted up. Like
The one
what
that-
the fuck are you doing?
The
Like,
one that really bothered me was where the military out of nowhere just reappropriated the spiderweb tattoo, because that has
that's
like
a prison tat.
prison and biker gang for the longest fucking time. It was the philosophy was if and I'm quoting a History Channel documentary from like 2004 on this, so if I'm inaccurate on this, please forgive me. But the philosophy was that it's about time served, and
Yes.
that it's like
Add a
thing, it's
ring to the
thing.
web or something.
Yeah,
that
it's like
means-
a part of your life that you can no longer escape from, but it's a part of you. So it's like a spider web where it's like it grows the longer you're in there. It was like somehow the
Apparently, it's very bad. Like if you go into prison and you haven't served time
And you
to
have
have that tattoo, it's like highly frowned upon.
and the only excuse was the military sees like serving in the military is like serving time and like a part of who you are and what. So like their whole thing is we co-opted it for our reasons or whatever, and therefore it's like we're valid in that too. And I'm like, this is like
let
low IQ.
let the boys have spider webs,
Like,
bro.
just but like now I'm seeing like strippers that are like clearly they've never done anything. But like I know one off the top of my head that she has never been locked
I
up.
just like spiders.
yeah,
Charlotte's Web was my favorite book.
yeah, like literally that's like the
My
logic.
mom used to read to me because my dad wasn't around.
Which is why I work here. Do you want to get a private dance? My boyfriend's black. He hates my kids. He's out front. Do you want to meet him?
He hates my kids. Oh,
A little too specific there. Listen, Skrock has lived, man. I've met some people in my day, and oh boy, have I met that guy a few times.
He hates my kids is diabolical.
It's hilarious though.
Holy shit.
He's a little fucking out of here. I'm trying to fuck your mom. Get the fuck.
Oh my god, dude. Oh god, line of the day.
Line of the day. Yeah,
Holy
all right.
shit.
We could wrap on this because I'm freezing and we're almost
It
like.
is cold as a bitch out here. The sun came out for a second. I was getting hopeful. But
It was like 50 when I set everything up. I was like, we're gonna be sweating out here. I don't even think I need to put the
I
umbrella.
literally
up
was
there.
gonna come in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And
Ew. Hey, great. Some own spider webs.
can't light my fucking joint.
Oh, let's combine efforts.
It's just windy, dog. What the heck? Are you cooking that?
You're not even lighting the wick. Science. Well, yeah. I could do a one-off. We can end on this. You want to end on a hypothetical question that I had?
Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Rain, wind, fire, and like earth. I get like of the four.
The band.
Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire. But, like of the four primary elements or whatever.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Yes, Airbender.
Whichever bender you want to be. If you could get rid of one of those four things, which would it be? And I mean, Earth is obviously a hard sell because that's what we live on.
Rain, earth, wind, or fire.
Yeah. So like, I was mad at the
I guess
wind the other.
wind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was mad
Fire,
at
you gotta keep warm. Rain, you gotta grow the fucking corn. Corn makes whiskey. Whiskey makes my baby feel a little frisky.
Well, I was
You
like,
need rain.
But no, I don't mean like rain. Like, so there'll still be like earth and like water, but like let's say like you're not gonna have like mudslides anymore. You're not gonna have like typhoons anymore, or you're not gonna have like wildfires anymore. Like they still exist. Like you could still get like, but just
Fires
like when,
don't scare me too much here, so fire's out. Rain, whatever. Yeah, definitely wind. Tornadoes are scary. Dude.
yeah, wind. I think because like, I was like stuck in the wind the other day, and I was like, this is just oppressive. And it's like we have the means to just like put walls up. Or
Yeah,
something.
you drive across the Parkway Bridge when it was
Oh
super windy
yeah,
last
it's
week.
white knuckler, man. Like
With my little light Toyota Corolla,
Bro.
just fucking getting moved around on that son of a
I
bitch.
forget there's a few inches.
Sketchy. I'm doing 80, just like,
Dude, I forget there's like a few inches of clearance. There's like a big heavy front plate on the skid plate on my fucking 4Runner. So like that thing's heavy and it keeps the fucking front. Like when you bounce nose down, which is you drove the Larry. I'm sure it was like not that it had a skid plate, but it's like all the engine, all the weight is distributed to like the front
oh, the
of
back
it.
end is
So
light.
yeah, you're just like your nose is down, but you're kicking out. So like when you go over
The
the
thing was
top,
a sailboat.
when you go over the top of that, when the wind's like 30 miles per hour, the fucking 4Runner's like, because you could hear the air getting between the tire and the asphalt, and it's like,
Let's go to the Toyota 4Runner cutaway car. My name is Larry Mack Reynolds. I'm America's crew chief. Got the front skid plate.
Who was the other guy? The guy with the
Got the toe link.
who's the other America's crew chief? The one that I mentioned last year. The guy that killed the guy, and he's real depressed about Earnhardt.
What?
Larry something.
He killed the guy. Larry Mack Reynolds.
No, there's another one. America's crew chief.
Killed the guy.
He was like bummed about Earnhardt or something. I don't know.
Mike Waltrip?
Mike Waltrip. Yeah, that
He
one.
didn't kill anyone.
Oh, I thought you said he killed someone. I don't know. I'm misremembering.
That's Tony Stewart.
Okay, whatever. But yeah, Michael Waltrip because he looks crazy. I want to be that guy. If I ever get associated,
He's like the Burt of NASCAR.
Yeah,
He's just a lovable idiot.
NASCAR. If you guys need another Burt, like Jake and I are hiring or looking for work, you could let me.
Me and Joe doing the grid
You-
walk. Like,
you-
hey,
you-
Denny Hamlin, you want a taco?
You
He just throws a
explain
taco on his car.
You explaining to me what NASCAR is while we're at NASCAR, and then me not giving
Me
a
being
shit.
a 3-year casual fan.
Well, you were just like, well, Joe, what do you think of
I
this?
grew up watching NASCAR in the 90s.
Well, what do you think of this on the Gen 5 cars? They were saying the rear end was adjustable. You could put the thing in, and it makes the rear end go up and down because that way you go high to low faster depending on your tire quality and the whatever. And I would just be there like, this rope is very nice and pretty. Bobby.
I like this color.
Yeah. Why are you guys gonna go so fast? We just all get there in one piece.
Jesus. Yeah, I was getting dressed. The one I saw was that poker room shirt you got me. It was collared, and I was like, I'm feeling a t-shirt today. And
I like that. I like that shirt on you though. I think that's I know you have like when it gets warmer and we're not in like hoodie weather so much. I know you bust out a nice Eagles collared once in a while.
Oh yeah, I'll be rocking that.
And yeah, I know you gravitate towards the classier affair.
Classy.
Because
That's going to the casino. Nice polo. Make it look like I play poker. Pretend I'm Mickey Mays.
yeah.
Show up with like $300.
Just get a Sharpie and just like put it on.
I'm risking it all tonight.
Put
Put
a
the
Sharp-
Comcast bill, and I'm gonna blow it.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of blowing Comcast bill, I don't know who Comcast bill is, but I blew it. Some guy that works for Comcast.
I gotta go. Take it easy, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Go fuck yourselves.